Once a cherished daughter, 𝓍's world shattered when her parents died. Now a mere servant to her cruel uncle, a nightmare marriage looms. Her kin plots a dark fate, selling her to a beastman tribe feared for devouring human flesh. Bound by duty, 𝓍 must scrub the entire massive estate alone today. Fainting from weakness, she's cruelly revived by her aunt's bucket of freezing water. Hating this failed niece, the woman brands her lazy, determined to exploit 𝓍 like a tool. Chiyo approaches, using fake concern to mock 𝓍's tragic downfall. Chiyo tells 𝓍 this is her fate for shaming the 𝓍𝓸𝓵𝓭 name, warning 𝓍 to stay away. Maids trade whispers regarding the 𝓍𝓸𝓵𝓮's divided daughters. One maid questions the eldest's brutal labor, only to learn 𝓍 is merely a lowly niece. Just like the family, she scorns this disgraced, divorced niece. Gossip halts as 𝓍 suddenly appears. Unfazed, she lets the terrified maids escape. Our heroine's life is a symphony of tragedy. At 15, a hellish blaze stole her parents and her future. Thrust into her uncle's house, she hoped for love. Instead, she found only venomous hatred and cold-blooded malice. Her uncle wasted no time crushing her spirit. She was merely a pawn who shared the family's prestigious name. They enslaved her like a common servant. Every day, they reminded her that she was an unwanted, broken stray. At 16, she was bartered away for greed. Discarded and alone, 𝓍 was soon sold to a terrifying beast. Desperate for work, 𝓍 faced only cold rejections. No household would hire a maid with such a youthful face. With no escape, she crawled back to her uncle's house of cruelty. She swallowed her tears, trading her dignity for a roof over her head. Endless labor ravaged her small frame. Her once soft hands were now raw and peeling, scarred by a life of constant servitude. Maru was her only beacon of hope. As the final gift from her parents, the loyal dog's warmth chased away 𝓍's deepest sorrows. As long as Maru was there, 𝓍 could endure. He was her last remaining family, but a new nightmare was about to begin. Behind closed doors, the treacherous uncle plots 𝓍's fate, unaware that Chiyo overhears their dark family secret. Her family hungers for a connection to the elite 𝓑𝓭𝓪𝓼𝓽 bloodline. Their price? Selling 𝓍 to the rumored man-eating beastmen. Consumed by terror, Chiyo thrusts the burden onto 𝓍. Their father cold-heartedly seals her dark fate. Despair shatters 𝓍's heart. Everyone fears the 𝓑𝓭𝓪𝓼𝓽, a clan of white wolves who ruthlessly devour anyone in their path. Rumors whisper that their leader is a bloodthirsty criminal from the underworld. This is the monster 𝓍 is forced to wed. To her uncle, she is just a disposable pawn. Driven by ancient spite, he drags 𝓍 by her hair. He snarls a warning. Never reveal her past failed marriage. This time, she must be useful. 𝓍 begins her lonely journey toward the den of the wolves. Abandoning her dog, Maru is pure agony. Her aunt's shallow promises of care taste like poison and lies. Tears fall as she faces the unknown. Resolving her heart, she vows to survive as the perfect bride. Duty demands she serve the beast. Meanwhile, the 𝓑𝓭𝓪𝓼 clan waits for their new human prey. Deep within the shadows, he waits. A creature of myth, the golden-eyed wolfman. The Lord's aura is chillingly cold. 𝓍 steps into the massive estate, trembling with every single heartbeat. This is the fortress of legendary healers, home to her new master, Lord Suhaku 𝓑𝓭𝓪. There is no celebration in her soul. Only the terrifying whispers of his legendary cruelty haunt her mind. The warnings were grim. Chiyo's voice echoes, claiming these monsters feasted on human flesh just last week. Behind Chiyo's fake smiles lay a death sentence. 𝓍 carries that suffocating dread into her new life. But the moment their paths finally cross, 𝓍 is struck silent by the vision before her. Could this ethereal man with snow-white hair be the legendary monster? The answer is a terrifying yes. Upon learning her identity, his fury ignites. He despises the very thought of bonding with a weak human. His hatred runs bone deep. He would see his lineage perish before marrying a mortal girl like her. Only his mother's stubborn will forced this union. Now, he is determined to drive 𝓍 away forever. The transformation begins. He will unleash the beast to strike paralyzing terror into her very soul. Terror paralyzes 𝓍. Facing this legendary white wolf, death feels inevitable. One snap of those jaws ends everything. Masking her trembling heart, 𝓍 faces Lord Suhaku. When he questions her fear, she breathes a desperate lie. He sees through her facade instantly. With a predatory growl, he warns her to flee or be devoured right now. In a rare moment of mercy, the Beast Lord has granted her a final path to escape. 𝓍 yearns to run, but a fate far more treacherous than this mansion awaits her beyond these gates. Returning to her uncle is a death sentence. To survive, she will steel her resolve and become Suaku's bride. He sets an impossible trial to prove her worth to the clan, certain the fragile human will eventually crumble. As the door shuts, Sei collapses in a cold sweat. The rumors were true. Lord Xiu'aku is terrifyingly powerful. Her struggle for survival begins. But the sheer weight of this task quickly begins to crush her spirits. Hostility lurks in every corner. Servants sneer while the beastmen whisper venomous rumors about the intruder in their midst. She is an unwanted guest here. They all wait for the moment Lord Xiu'aku discards his human toy. Despair sinks in. Since her parents' passing, Sei has wandered through life, never finding a place to truly call home. First her uncle, then her former husband, and now the entire Kamashiro estate. The world continues to reject her. But our heroine's fire hasn't died out yet. She'll carve out her own destiny, no matter what it takes. With no allies, she turns to the only weapon she possesses: relentless, back-breaking labor. She throws herself into the chores to prove her utility. Little does she know, golden eyes are tracking her. Lord Xiu'aku is haunted by a growing curiosity. There is something about this human and her sweet, intoxicating scent. A faint memory stirs within him. Meanwhile, 10 days have vanished, yet Sei remains a ghost within these walls. The atmosphere remains frigid. Every hallway echoes with the biting whispers of those who wish for her downfall. They dismiss her kindness as a pathetic act, convinced this human noble secretly views them as nothing but beasts. They count the seconds until her departure. Centuries of blood and hatred have built a wall no human can scale. History is written in scars and animosity. Sei knew that winning their hearts would be a battle against fate. She holds no illusions of love. She simply works to pass the time until the engagement inevitably shatters. In this sea of cold faces, Sei's heart aches for the only warmth she ever knew: Maru. Lost in thought, a sudden collision jolts her back to reality. A trembling maid stands before her, paralyzed with fear. Fresh laundry lies scattered in the dirt. Without a second thought, our female lead kneels to help the girl. The servant is stunned that a future lady would soil her hands, but Sei only offers a reassuring smile. Noticing a bloody scrape on the girl's wrist, she carefully tends to the wound with maternal grace. A genuine thank you brings a radiant smile to the girl, causing Sei's own cheeks to flush with warmth. Just as a spark of friendship ignites, a towering shadow looms over them. Lord Xiu'aku has arrived. His expression is thunderous. He drags her away, spitting venomous words at her supposed act of false humility. He sees only a master manipulator. When she confronts his prejudice, he confirms his deep-seated loathing for her kind. To him, humans are arrogant tyrants who have always treated his tribe like nothing more than filthy animals. He projects his hatred onto her, but Sei realizes his heart is blinded by the heavy scars of the past. She harbors no malice toward the beast tribe, but Xiu'aku is obsessed with driving his human intruder away. He paints a grim picture of her future, describing a life of isolation among monsters and harsh social demands. Then comes the ultimate warning. She must satisfy his primal instincts during the ferocity of his rutting period. Mating season, a time of raw desire. Sei's heart thunders against her ribs, but it isn't from passion. The mention of children strikes a nerve, dragging her back into the dark abyss of her traumatic past marriage. The walls close in as the ghost of her ex-husband reappears, plunging her into a suffocating panic attack. In a shocking twist, the beast becomes her anchor. He pulls her into a firm embrace until she calms. He immediately retreats back into his icy shell, but Sei has glimpsed the hidden warmth within his soul. Enveloped by his strength and his low, steady voice, Sei experiences a sensation she thought was lost. Safety. Her past was a living hell. She was never a wife, but a bargaining chip sold by her uncle. For the sake of a few connections, she was shackled to the son of a wealthy kimono merchant. Behind a mask of cheerful charm, her ex-husband fooled the world. In private, however, he was a true monster. He'd lash out with cruel, venomous insults and cold disdain. He would heartlessly cast her out, offering empty apologies before repeating the cycle tomorrow. As she quietly washed her clothes, the whispers of malicious rumors began again. Scornful beastmen watched, mocking her efforts. To them, a human could never earn trust. Hearing her fiancé's family call her useless fueled Sei's determination to prove them wrong. She threw herself into endless chores, sewing, sweeping, and scrubbing, desperate to be of use. Sei whispered she must work harder, though she feared it wouldn't be enough. If her own betrothed rejected her, winning over his tribe seemed impossible, yet she persevered. She pushed her frail body past its limits, fueled by Xiu'aku's fleeting moment of warmth. As a human among beastmen, her fragile body buckled, until she collapsed alone. Lord Saku masked his concern, yet Sei's absence didn't escape his sharp gaze. He assumed he'd frightened her away, until a maid revealed Sei had collapsed from fever. Death was knocking. Ssŭaku loathed humans, yet fate was forcing his hand once again. To humans, his noble blood meant nothing. They saw only a beast with constant disdain. It infuriated Ssŭaku how humans acted so arrogant despite being such pathetically weak creatures. He viewed humans as wicked, yet Sei stirred strange emotions. Deep in sleep, nightmares returned. She was bound and cast into a dark, subterranean prison by her aunt. Ignoring her pleas, her aunt left her trapped while Chiyo savored Seiya's visible agony. Then her uncle appeared, shaming her for the divorce and her humiliating return. He wished she'd perished with her parents. Sei whimpered for mercy, sensing someone nearby. Sei awoke to find Lord Ssŭaku watching over her, personally tending to his fiancée. After checking her fever, he administered the Kamashiro family's legendary sacred medicine. This priceless remedy was reserved for elites. Sei couldn't fathom receiving such a gift. This panacea could cure any ailment. Why would he waste such treasure on her? Watching her sleep, Ssŭaku noticed her skeletal frame. She was thin, her ribs visible. Her tearful pleas for death proved she wasn't spoiled, but a soul shattered by suffering. Curiosity bloomed in Ssŭaku. He'd expected a vain girl, not this tragic, broken figure. It was clear now that her past was a nightmare of unimaginable cruelty. Guilt gnawed at Ssŭaku, knowing his people and servants had treated her with suspicion. The maid confirmed it. Despite Sei's devotion, the servants continued their cruel, backstabbing insults. Haku realized the bitter truth. His own cold hostility had signaled others to hate her. He'd terrorized her to break the marriage, yet she still met him with smiles. Despite his malice, she offered only gratitude. Why did she refuse to run away? Ssŭaku struggled with a strange ache. By dawn, Sei finally awoke, her strength returning. Grateful for the medicine, she realized for once her sleep was free from nightmares. Ready to work, she couldn't bear being a burden within the great Kamashi estate. Fearing their judgment, she hurried out, only to be stopped by a shocking sight. An unexpected figure sat by her door. Lord Ssŭaku was outside, patiently waiting. He'd come to check on Sei's recovery, though his pride made him too shy. As Sei began a tearful apology, Ssŭaku cut her off, confessing he caused her misery. Sei was stunned to hear him genuinely asking about her fragile health. Seeing her up early, he knew she intended to resume her backbreaking servant duties. He forbade her from working. Sei braced for impact, certain Ssŭaku was ending their engagement. But nothing prepared her for his truly shocking and unexpected revelation. As Ssŭaku transformed into his wolf form, Sei felt no fear. She knew the truth. He stood as her shield during her darkest hour. For Sei, who knew only cold neglect, his sudden warmth felt like a miracle. Ssŭaku's kindness finally shattered her walls. Then, he spoke the words she never dared to dream of hearing. "I despise humans, yet I choose to trust you." Ssŭaku couldn't understand this sudden, overwhelming change of heart. Her scent was the first lure, a hauntingly familiar fragrance, though he is certain they were complete strangers until now. Driven by curiosity, he watched her closely, only to be captivated by her pure, innocent gaze. He is opening his heart. Sei is overwhelmed with joy as Saku finally utters her name with true trust. But bliss turns to dread. She remembers the dark secret her uncle forced her to bury deep within. The truth of her first marriage haunts her. To honor Ssŭaku's trust, she must reveal her hidden past. Trembling, our heroine confesses the unthinkable truth she has already been a bride once before. Paralyzed by the memory, Sei struggles to speak, her entire body shaking from the trauma of her past life. Ssŭaku silences her gently. He refuses to let her suffer through those agonizing memories any longer. Only her present matters to him. Now, the male lead finally understands the source of her deep-seated fear. He realizes why her family shunned her. Yet one fact remains: there is another unmarried 𝓠 daughter. To sacrifice a divorced niece means the other daughter was too afraid to marry a beastman. Sei was just a disposable shield for her family. Yet, the Great Wolf Lord remains utterly unfazed. Her past changes nothing. She is his chosen fiancée, and he intends to keep it that way. His words are a balm, yet Sei can only weep. The mighty Wolf Lord panics before her tears. He worries she is suffering. Does she truly wish to stay, or is she longing to escape him? Amidst his panic, Sei whispers her joy. She was simply terrified that this beautiful dream would vanish. She feared being cast out of the Kamashiro estate just like every other place she called home. Orphaned by fire and unwanted by all, Sei finally found sanctuary when Lord Saku reached for her hand. She is ready to trust him. Meanwhile, across town, the spiteful Chiyo is throwing a vicious temper tantrum. Enraged by the subpar suitors offered to her, Chio finds every marriage proposal utterly beneath her. She craves a trophy husband, someone perfect to flaunt in Sei's face and incite bitter, burning jealousy. The mere image of Sei trembling among monsters fills Chio with a sick sense of satisfaction. She assumes Sei is drowning in misery, but she could not be further from the shocking truth. Obsessed with comparison, Chio prides herself on being younger, cuter, and far superior to her cousin. She is determined to land a prince just to flaunt her luck and crush Sei's spirit further. A total sociopath. But fate rarely grants favors to those as cold-hearted and vile as Chio. A letter awaits her. Expecting a wealthy suitor, she is disgusted to find it is from a social nobody. Bored without her punching bag, Chio actually finds herself craving the sight of Sei's fearful, crying face. Her mood sours further when Sei's dog suddenly barks at her. Hating all things Sei, Chio tries to exile the dog, but her mother swiftly shuts her down. The beast is a pawn. They will keep it to extort even more wealth from the Kamashiro family. Chio runs to her father, only to be barked at for wasting his time with meaningless trifles. Then, a messenger arrives. Chio smirks, certain the Kamashiros are finally dumping the unwanted niece. She reaches for the letter, but her father's roar sends her scurrying away in humiliated fury. Once the center of the world, Chio is now eclipsed by Sei's marriage, fueling her venomous spite. To her, Sei has stolen her throne. She vows to make her cousin pay for this betrayal. Unaware of the brewing storm, Sei feels like she is in a dream as Suaku's official fiancé. She vows to be the perfect bride. Soon, the young maid she once protected pays her a visit. The girl arrives to ensure Sei is finally recovering. Sei recalls that this very maid saved her life after she collapsed in her lonely room. Overwhelmed with gratitude and guilt, Sei offers a sincere apology for causing the young girl such trouble. The maid flinches, hiding a dark secret that proves she is no saint in this house. Despite Sei's genuine warmth, Riri kept her distance, terrified of the scathing judgments from the other beastmen. Drowning in guilt, the maid pleads for mercy, yet Sei simply beams, grateful for a single friendly soul. A bond forms. The tiny maid introduces herself as Riri, a nervous but sweet squirrel beast woman. Riri reveals the scars of the past, where humans ruthlessly oppressed their kind based on nothing but whispers. Their tranquility was shattered by human greed, yet Riri senses a rare, gentle spirit within Sei. Determined to fix the injustice, Riri vows to champion Sei's kindness to everyone, especially the Lord himself. Suddenly, Lord Suaku appears. He claims to have urgent business, but his cool facade crumbles into adorable stammers. Before Sei can react, a mysterious figure looms behind Suaku, exposing the Lord's true, clumsy intentions. There was no important matter. Suhaku simply couldn't resist coming just to catch a glimpse of her. Exposed and annoyed, Suaku masks his shyness with bravado, but his aide ruthlessly points out his trembling nerves. Their bickering is so intense, one might mistake them for an old married couple rather than master and servant. Meet the newcomer, Tadamasa, the Lord's blunt aide, who still can't fathom Suaku choosing a human bride. Tadamasa drops the act, telling her she can stop the humble servant charade and embrace her true power. He urges her to flaunt her status as Suaku's future wife before the servants who dared to mock her. The room falls silent, but Sei firmly refuses. Arrogance was never part of her plan for survival. As the lone human in a beast's world, she knows that petty revenge will never earn her true respect. She must bridge the divide through grace. Sei vows to earn her place as Suaku's fiancé through genuine connection. Her maturity leaves them stunned. Respect blossoms in their eyes, and even the stoic Tadamasa finds himself utterly flustered for the first time. Instead of taking offense at his bluntness, Sei offers a gentle smile, sensing his words were meant to help. Tadamasa is dazed. Why isn't she furious? Her kindness is a weapon he has no defense against. Watching his composed assistant unravel, Lord Suaku can't help but burst into a rare, genuine fit of laughter. He beams with pride, impressed that Sei could finally break through his assistant's icy professional mask. Sei's face burns crimson. Suaku's smile is breathtaking, and knowing it's just for her makes her heart race. The banter continues as Tadamasa marvels at the sight of his master actually looking truly happy. His usual cold mask has melted. Sei realizes their bond transcends hierarchy. They are more like brothers than master and servant. As they walk, the Lord tasks Riri with a grand mission: announce Sei's official status as his future wife. With a shy glance, he reveals his true intent. He whisks her away to his private sanctuary, the medicine room, for their very first, unconventional date. It's not your typical romantic spot, but this sacred garden is Suaku's heart, where he creates legendary healing medicines. He whispers a secret to Sep, She is the only soul ever permitted to enter this sanctuary. Seeking precious solitude, �𝓨𝓼 fusses over 𝓑 like a hen, terrified the herbal scents or floors might hurt her. � laughs off his concern, but he insistently offers his hand, desperate for any excuse to touch her. The mood shifts as 𝓢𝓨𝓼 asks a heavy question. Has � ever witnessed a beastman devouring a human? � admits she's only heard the terrifying whispers. She's never seen the horror herself. Then, 𝓢𝓨𝓼 reveals a secret. Human blood is a lethal addiction. Once a beastman tastes it, they become monsters enslaved by the craving. Only those who have crossed that dark line ever truly become the man-eaters humans fear so much. This dark misunderstanding has fueled centuries of war. Humans see monsters everywhere, even where none exist. But the 𝓑𝓮𝓪𝓼𝓽 clan loathes those savages. 𝓢𝓨𝓼 looks 𝓑 in the eye and promises her safety. Neither he nor his family has ever tasted human life. He vows to be 𝓑's ultimate shield. Overwhelmed, 𝓑 confesses her fear has vanished. Flustered, 𝓢𝓨𝓼 nearly kicks her out to hide his red face. He fumbles with his work to mask his racing heart, but 𝓑 offers to help him instead. Together, they begin the delicate task of mixing medicines, a quiet peace finally settling between them. Admiring his skilled hands, 𝓑 realizes these miraculous medicines are whispered to be the work of the gods. These elixirs cure any illness. 𝓑 knows her family is desperate to share this beastman magic overseas. To expand their medicinal empire, the 𝓑𝓮𝓪𝓼𝓽 and 𝓀𝓨𝓵𝓮 clans forge a blood-bound alliance through marriage. 𝓑 understands she is merely a pawn in a cold business deal, yet her heart yearns for a true connection. Desperate to prove her worth, 𝓑 seizes her moment when 𝓢𝓨𝓼 presents an ancient text she deciphers with stunning ease. She reveals these secrets were gifts from her father during their long 15-year journey across distant lands. During the trading company's founding, her family traveled as one, venturing into the unknown together. Her father nurtured her love for foreign tales, bonding with her over forbidden scripts and shared stories. Yet, upon returning home, her world darkened as she was strictly prohibited from ever touching those languages again. 𝓢𝓨𝓼 is baffled. Why would a noble daughter be denied the very knowledge that should be her greatest strength? Why would they ruthlessly bury the precious legacy her father worked so tirelessly to bestow upon her? The atmosphere turns heavy as 𝓢𝓨𝓼 listens in stunned silence to the harrowing truth she finally whispers. Her uncle's malice knew no bounds, burning her books and shattering her father's final gifts, igniting a primal rage within 𝓢𝓨𝓼. He sensed her deep trauma, but the sheer depravity of her own kin's betrayal leaves him utterly horrified. Guilt gnaws at 𝓢𝓨𝓼 for forcing her to relive those agonizing shadows of her tragic past. Despite her uncle's lifelong malice toward her bloodline, 𝓑 carries no resentment, her heart remaining hauntingly pure. Grateful for her sanctuary, 𝓑 finds her purpose as 𝓢𝓨𝓼 entrusts her with the vital translation of his medical scrolls. Paralyzed by self-doubt, 𝓑 begs him to seek a professional, but 𝓢𝓨𝓼 firmly rejects anyone but her. He believes only in her, invoking the memory of her father's dedication to awaken her hidden strength. His words strike a chord. She must honor her father's legacy and rise to the challenge before her. Fueled by her father's past encouragement, she vows to succeed for both his memory and her new husband. She is determined to honor his unwavering faith, though the weight of the task begins to feel overwhelming. Burning the midnight oil, 𝓑 struggles against the complex characters, desperate to prove her utility to Lord 𝓢𝓨𝓼. Years of forced silence have rusted her skills, and the cryptic medical jargon feels like an impassable mountain. Despite the struggle, joy blooms within her. She is finally free to read and serve the man she admires. While 𝓑 works in silence, a tempest of fury brews within 𝓢𝓨𝓼's heart. The secret investigation conducted by 𝓑𝓮𝓮𝓼𝓽 unearths a history of abuse that pushes 𝓢𝓨𝓼 to the absolute edge. Horrific reports of starvation and cruel imprisonment under the guise of discipline leave the Beast Lord seeing red. A murderous intent radiates from him, threatening to tear the very world asunder. His beastly aura explodes, causing even his loyal aide to tremble as he dictates a chilling ultimatum to the 𝓀𝓨𝓵𝓮s. This engagement celebration is merely a facade. It is a grand stage for his cold, calculated warning. Within the 𝓀𝓨𝓵 halls, the vile 𝓲𝓼 receives the formal summons to his niece's high-stakes engagement. Jealousy rots Chiyo's heart as she hears of the grand event being thrown for the cousin she despises. Enraged by the spotlight on 𝓑, Chiyo schemes to drag her through the mud during the grand ball. Chiyo's mother cares only for the gold. Relieved that her golden goose hasn't been cast aside just yet, her husband masks his hatred for beastmen with greed, plotting to drain the 𝓑𝓮𝓪𝓼𝓽 medicinal secrets for himself. He dreams of a fortune built upon the exploitation of his own niece's forced union. Unaware they are walking into a lion's den, the family arrives as Sei dons a gown of breathtaking beauty. Trembling with nerves, Sei prepares to step out as the officially recognized future matriarch of the 𝓬𝓫 clan. Doubt clouds her mind as she wonders if she can truly uphold the dignity of such a prestigious house. Caught between two worlds, the weight of her dual identity makes her ache for Maru's comforting presence. As Riri presents delicate white gloves, the fabric cruelly highlights the jagged scars marring Sei's fragile palms. These painful relics of the fire that stole her parents are hidden once more beneath her signature black gloves. While Riri styles her hair, the loyal estate maids prepare to serve, standing as her silent, supportive army. Deeply moved by Riri's sincere wish for her happiness, Sei finds strength in their unbreakable bond of friendship. As the couple meets, the once impenetrable Suhaku freezes in his tracks, his heart racing as he stammers in sheer awe. Enthralled by her elegance, his heart races, mirrored by the frantic, hopeful beating of Sei's own chest. His ethereal beauty stole her very breath away. Sei stood frozen, feeling completely unworthy of the man beside her. Suhaku whispered gentle reassurances, promising never to leave her. With newfound courage, they stepped into the glittering ballroom together. Nearby, Chiyo arrived with her fiancé, Koshi Kaneo. She was desperate to flaunt her prize and humiliate her sister. Chiyo expected a disaster, but the estate's opulence silenced her. Worse yet, her own fiancé began praising Sai's radiant beauty. Though boiling with internal rage, Chiyo masked her face. She still needed Ko to ignite a spark of jealousy in Sai. As the heir to a massive trading firm, Ko seemed superior. But reality was about to shatter Chiyo's arrogant delusions forever. To her absolute horror, her fiancé admitted he could never afford a celebration of this magnificent scale. Ko explained that the 𝓬𝓫 weren't just wealthy. Their medicinal mastery made them vital pillars of the entire empire. Even the emperor himself relied on their secret formulas. Chiyo realized the wild rumors were actually cold, hard facts. Ko then revealed the ultimate truth. The 𝓬𝓫 were a legendary lineage of noble beastkin. Despite their reclusive nature, they held absolute prestige among the nobility. Bitter regret began to gnaw at Chiyo's heart. She desperately hoped Sai's husband was a hideous monster. Surely his personality would be just as repulsive as his face. She clung to the hope that only his medicine had value. But a brutal reality check was coming for her. As our couple emerged, the ballroom erupted in whispers. Everyone marveled at how perfectly the two complemented each other. Chiyo turned to sneer, but her heart stopped. There stood Suhaku, looking like a divine prince among mere men. Disbelief washed over her like a tidal wave. She had tossed away a treasure and handed him to Sai. Suhaku was the perfect package of wealth and beauty. Suddenly, her own fiancé looked like a common peasant in comparison. No amount of trading gold could match the sheer majesty of the 𝓬𝓫 bloodline or Lord Suhaku himself. Overwhelmed by shame, Chiyo abandoned her fiancé and stormed away. But she wasn't the only one reeling from shock. Her mother gaped at the display of unimaginable power. A heavy cloud of regret began to settle over her as well. She cursed her husband for hiding the truth. They should have forced Chiyo into this golden cage instead of Sai. While her husband obsessed over business, she plotted to fix the mess. Truly, like mother, like daughter. Chiyo quickly found her mother, her eyes burning with a devious new plan to reclaim what she lost. Amidst the celebration, Tatamasa approached with a grim face. A mysterious intruder was stalking the shadows of the mansion. The shadow vanished before Tatamasa could strike. Suhaku narrowed his eyes, ordering his guard to tighten the perimeter immediately. But a more dangerous snake had already arrived. 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭, Sai's treacherous uncle, stepped into the light. Facing his new relative for the first time, Suhaku remained the perfect gentleman. He offered a polite apology for the delay. 𝓢 showed his true colors instantly, calling Sai a useless burden right to her fiancé's face. Unions between humans and noble beastkin were rare legends. 𝓢 treated their sacred bond like a mere business transaction. He mocked Sai as a defective trade-in. He shamelessly told Suhaku to simply break her in like a wild animal. A cold fury ignited in Suhaku's eyes. He demanded a private audience, leading the arrogant uncle toward his study. 𝓢 questioned the absence of Suhaku's mother. The young lord revealed she was recovering in a secluded, distant sanctuary. Since his father's passing, she had lived in constant fear. She dreaded the day their noble legacy might crumble. She dreamed of a world where humans and beastkin thrived together. This marriage was her bridge between two worlds. To her, this union was the dawn of a glorious new era for both their powerful families. 𝓢 inwardly scoffed at the sentimental drivel. He never intended to be an ally. He only saw a target. In his eyes, Suhaku was nothing more than a naive child playing at being a family head. He salivated at the thought of falsifying accounts to drain their wealth. He suddenly found the beastkin quite profitable. He viewed them as sheep waiting for the slaughter. Little did he know, his greedy schemes were already falling apart. 𝓢𝓪𝓭 had zero intention of being a meal for a low-life parasite like 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭. Rumors of counterfeit medicine had reached 𝓢𝓪𝓭's ears long ago. He knew exactly which family was behind the deception. As 𝓢𝓸's composure cracked, 𝓢𝓪𝓭's suspicions were confirmed. The snake had finally revealed its fangs in the dark. Tatamasa's investigation had already connected the 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭 name to the black market. The evidence was mounting against them. Convicting him was difficult, as the illicit deals were buried deep. But 𝓢𝓪𝓭 was far from finished with him. He remained incredibly vigilant. If 𝓢𝓸 could betray them once, he would surely try to poison their legacy again. This madness had to end right now. 𝓢𝓸's heart raced. Had his secrets leaked? He played the fool, swearing to 𝓢𝓪𝓭 that he knew absolutely nothing about these accusations. 𝓢𝓪𝓭 didn't bother arguing. He had only one cold warning for the man. The Kamishiro family would now seize control of the medicine trade. 𝓢𝓪𝓭 refused to let their corruption poison his world again. A handshake sealed the pact, though both harbored dark thoughts. 𝓢𝓸 fumed inwardly, forced to wear a mask of obedience. Meanwhile, 𝓢𝓪𝓭 was playing a deeper game. He would secure the medicine while shielding his fragile fiancée from her predatory relatives. Poor Sei stood there, completely lost in their web of power plays. A chill ran down her spine as she recalled her uncle's predatory gaze. He saw her as an object, and the nightmare was only starting. Like vultures sensing prey, Chiyo and her mother arrived. The two witches were back to drag Sei into a fresh hell. Dread washed over Sei the moment she saw them. Disaster was looming. Yet she was forced to greet her tormentors with a polite bow. When Sei begged for news of her dog, her aunt played dumb. Seeing the girl's desperation, she dangled a cruel alternative before her. If she wanted to save her pet, she would have to return to that house of horrors. Confusion turned to horror as her aunt declared the engagement over. Chiyo's eyes burned with a green fire of pure envy. Looking at Sei's pale face, Chiyo sneered, reminding her that this chance was a gift she had graciously bestowed. Chiyo had let Sei take her place as a sacrificial lamb, but now she wanted the title back. She'd already discarded her own fiancé. Chiyo was hell-bent on snatching 𝓢𝓪𝓭 away. Sei trembled, her heart refusing to let go of the man she was learning to trust. Sei stammered that this was impossible, but the two women were blinded by their own twisted greed. They truly believed they could just swap brides like property. Now, they were ready to drag Sei back into their cage. Her aunt promised to look after her again. But Sei knew that meant a return to endless beatings and cold-blooded cruelty. The thought of returning to that life of abuse was a fate worse than death itself. Despite their beastly reputation, Sei felt a strange safety here. In 𝓢𝓪𝓭's presence, she had finally dared to dream of a real future. She had imagined a quiet life with Maru by her side. But that fragile hope was shattering before her eyes. Like wolves cornering a lamb, they pressured her to surrender her happiness for Chiyo's selfish gain. Suffocating under their malice, Sei nearly broke until a powerful voice cut through the air. Lord 𝓢𝓪𝓭 had arrived to save his bride. The witches froze. Chiyo instantly masked her venom with fake modesty, her eyes gleaming at 𝓢𝓪𝓭's immense wealth and striking looks. One look at the Lord was all it took. Chiyo decided she would steal him no matter the cost. When he questioned their presence, Chiyo put on a pathetic act, whispering venomous lies about Sei while pretending to be a timid flower. She claimed she was there to apologize for Sei's deception. The shameless girl insisted she was the rightful bride. Then came the killing blow. She cruelly exposed Sei's past, revealing her status as a divorced woman to ruin her reputation. Chiyo acted the part of a concerned savior, claiming Sei was a tainted woman who would only bring the Lord misery. To finish her lie, she claimed Sei had already agreed to cancel the wedding. Sei stood paralyzed, her heart screaming in protest. But as Sei tried to speak, her aunt's grip tightened. A silent threat against her beloved dog forced her into silence. Chiyo boldly reached out to 𝓢𝓪𝓭, shamelessly selling herself as a superior bride who would serve him far better than Sei ever could. What a delusional snake. She honestly believed her youth and fake charms made her a prize worth more than Sei's pure heart. They smiled like they had already won, unaware that their ugly souls were laid bare. A brutal reality check was coming. With a look of pure loathing, 𝓢𝓪𝓭 shoved her away. "You're absolutely revolting," he spat, his voice cold as ice. He mocked her pathetic acting, demanding she stop the charade. Did they really think he was such a gullible fool? 𝓢𝓪𝓭 crushed their hopes with a single sentence. He had known about Sei's past from the very beginning. Sei had been honest with him. To 𝓢𝓪𝓭, her past wasn't a sin, it was irrelevant. He commanded Chiyo to shut her mouth. but Chio's desperation had turned into a frenzied madness. She wasn't finished yet. Consumed by spite, she prepared to unleash the family's darkest secret, the shameful reason behind Sei's previous divorce. She sneered at Sei's trembling form, relishing the fear in her eyes. It was time to expose her cousin's supposed greatest flaw. She branded Sei as a barren, useless woman who couldn't give her former husband a child even after 5 long years. The insult struck like a whip, triggering a flood of agonizing memories. The beatings and the slurs returned to haunt her. Her ex-husband had treated her like a burden, blaming her for his shame while no one spared a thought for her suffering. Haunted by her ex-husband's cruelty, those suffocating memories make it impossible for her to draw breath. Chio smirks, exposing Sei's past. She gleefully recounts the ex-husband's cheating and the mistress's pregnancy. Discarded after the scandal, Sei's spirit breaks. She desperately begs her cousin to cease this torture. She recalls his sickening joy while flaunting the other woman's pregnancy. He used that child to hide his failures, violating her once more. Chio celebrates this cruelty. Chio shamelessly sells herself, desperate to usurp her cousin's place beside the beast. Labeling Sei a barren burden, Chio offers her own youth as a better option. Unexpectedly, Suhaku's icy command to shut up leaves Chio utterly speechless. He proclaims that no amount of malice can sway him. Sei remains his only chosen fiancée. Drawing her close, he declares his choice. This beast has finally found his queen. He mocks Chio, stating he has zero interest in a woman who peddles herself like cheap, common merchandise. Imagine choosing a divorced woman over a young girl like you. Our male lead is truly ruthless. Though they feign innocence, Suaku knows their sins against Sei. He only stayed his hand for his wife's family ties. But if their venomous tongues continue, he won't hesitate to erase them from existence entirely. Terror grips Sei's aunt as she finally remembers. Suaku is a beastman of overwhelming primal power. Without even a touch, she feels a phantom grip tightening around her throat, a true predator's killing intent. Paralyzed by fear, she pleads for mercy. Yet Chio remains delusional, questioning why they should ever beg. She continues her foolish rant, claiming the Lord will regret marrying such a pathetic sister. Even her mother abandons her now, demanding silence and an immediate apology. Despite her fury, she must obey. As the apology falls, our female lead watches them, recalling a fleeting time when they were once a family. In the golden days before her parents passed, her uncle's family visited with smiles. Young Chio once clung to her, playing the part of a sweet, loving younger sister. Sei believed their bond was sacred, until her parents' death unmasked her uncle's true malice. Gazing at them now, Sei wonders at what point did their sisterly love rot into hatred. Terror grips the aunt. If Lord Sohaku speaks, their desperate, foolish scheme will be exposed. To protect Sei's special night, Sohaku remains silent, but his cold eyes offer no true forgiveness. As they depart, Sei collapses to her knees, desperately pleading for her new lord's mercy. She never intended to hide the shame of her past or her broken, barren womb. Sei braced for a beast's fury, but instead, she found a warm, soul-stirring embrace. Guilt consumes her, yet Sohaku silences her apologies. He already knew the secrets of her past. Just as their hearts begin to align, a sudden intruder shatters the fragile, romantic atmosphere. Lord Sohaku's murderous glare tells Tatamasa exactly how much he has ruined the perfect moment. Trembling, he announces the opening dance. The stars of the day must finally take center stage. The messenger flees for his life, yet Sei still yearns to lay her entire heart bare. Their deep conversation must wait. For now, they descend to the ballroom for their first dance. Moving to the music, Sei marvels how can this powerful man still desire a woman like her. Determined not to let fear ruin her new life, she vows to reveal every hidden truth. Meanwhile, envy poisons the cousins. Hearing the crowd's praise only fuels their burning, wicked resentment. Consumed by spite, Chio lashes out at her fiancé, cruelly rejecting him in a public rage. Every cheer for Sei feels like a dagger, driving Chio toward a path of total destruction. To her, the world's joy is nothing but a personal, humiliating insult to her pride. She storms out alone, unaware that a sinister figure is watching her with a predatory grin. Danger lurks as our couple separates. Is this the calm before a devastating new storm? Sohaku greets guests while Sei keeps watch, until a blood-curdling scream suddenly rips through the air. Chaos erupts as a mysterious foreigner is cornered. No one understands his desperate pleas except for Sei. Sei rushes in to find a man trembling before a beast woman in a dramatic standoff. It looks like a predator's feast, but it's just a drink delivery gone wrong. The traveler's terror is a total misunderstanding. A massive language barrier has turned a simple act of service into a terrifying ordeal. Watching this giant beg for mercy is hilarious, but his screams are terrifying the poor beast woman too. Finally, 𝓍 intervenes to settle the mounting chaos. She comforts the shaken beast woman and clarifies the innocent intentions to the panicked man. This man, a trading partner, is stunned by 𝓍's fluent linguistics. Once the truth dawns on him, embarrassment washes over him completely. His paralyzing fear stemmed from a deep-seated prejudice against the beast tribe. 𝓍 admits she once harbored the same fears born from pure ignorance. But knowing her husband proved they are truly gentle souls. Thanks to 𝓍's interpretation, a peaceful bridge is finally built. Suddenly, the man notices the beast woman's beauty and shyly asks for her name. Is a new fated romance blooming amidst the chaos? The surrounding beastmen are moved by 𝓍's kindness and brilliant skills. She treats everyone with genuine grace and respect. Haku glows with pride for his people and his incredible wife. Seeing her defend his tribe fills his heart with joy. Overwhelmed with emotion, he pulls her aside for a long overdue private conversation. 𝓍 finally unveils her tragic past. Once, she dreamt of a happy marriage. Her ex-husband was her only escape from a cruel family. But her uncle's choice was nothing but a new nightmare. That man was a monster who abused animals and raised his hand against her. He forced himself upon her, masking his cruelty with the duty of producing heirs. Her life was a living hell, yet she clung to the hope that a child might change him. She endured every blow, dreaming of a quiet life with a child and her dog. A future that never came. Then, the final blow came. Her husband had gotten another woman pregnant. His infidelity didn't hurt as much as the crushing realization that she was the one who was broken. Trembling, she confesses to Suhaku that she might never be able to give him an heir. She apologizes for this heavy secret, but Suhaku's reaction is not what she expected. He is a man driven by medicine and the duty of his family's legacy. Without his mother's insistence, the concept of marriage would never have crossed his mind. He once loathed humans, but meeting 𝓍 has completely rewritten his icy heart. Children matter, but she matters more. Even if they remain childless, he chooses her and only her for eternity. Being wrapped in his strong arms makes 𝓍's heart finally melt. To this man who chooses her unconditionally, she offers her soul. Her radiant smile strikes Lord Suhaku like lightning. Every time she smiles, his love deepens, making it impossible to restrain his burning desire to hold her. This time he gives in, pressing a tender kiss against her neck. 𝓍 feels only warmth. Her shy reaction is intoxicating. Suhaku wonders why her scent is so undeniably sweet. That scent has haunted him since their first meeting. It's as if his beastly instincts recognized her soul before his eyes did. Our heroine's heart is racing uncontrollably. Every inch of this man makes her pulse thrum. His gentleness and deep voice are overwhelming. She remembers this was just a contract, yet it feels so real. The heat in Suhaku's gaze makes her believe his feelings are far deeper than a mere business deal. Suhaku asks the burning question, have their fates crossed in a distant, forgotten past? Before the truth can emerge, darkness falls. A sudden blackout plunges the banquet into chaos. Suhaku senses foul play. Sabotage! Tatamasa spots a shadowy figure in the garden and gives chase immediately. 𝓍 remains a pillar of strength for the others. She calms the panicked crowd, promising that Suhaku will restore order. Her trust in him is absolute. Suhaku asks her to bridge the communication gap for the foreign guests, while her wicked cousin trembles. A sudden shove sends her reeling, but a familiar pair of arms catches her. It's the man she left behind. Her fiancé, Kiyoshiko, acts concerned. Fearing she might stumble, he leads her toward the dark garden. Chiyo once hoped to seduce Suhaku and discard Ko. But with her plan ruined, she settles for her original fiancé. She desperately lies to herself. She claims she never wanted a beastman like Lord Suhaku anyway. She waits for 𝓍 to regret her choice. Little does she know, she is the one in real danger. Kiyoshi Kaneo's mask finally shatters. He pins Chiyo down, snarling that he always despised her arrogant pride. He mocks her as a lowly merchant's daughter. He reveals he was only using her for his own ends. Chiyo was never his target. Nearby, 𝓍 and Suhaku's investigation is interrupted by a blood-curdling scream. They find Tatamasa standing over a captive. The loyal beastman has caught the rat who cut the power. Suhaku offers praise, and 𝓍 feels a moment of peace. But then, another desperate cry echoes through the night. 𝓍's heart drops as she recognizes her cousin, Chiyo. The girl lies injured and broken. 𝓍 rushes to help, but her kindness is met only with cold resentment. Chiyo can only wallow in her own misfortune. Perhaps karma has finally caught up to her wicked heart. The men approach the scene. Suhaku demands to know if the captive hurt 𝓍's cousin, but he denies everything. He confesses he was just a hired hand. A mysterious man paid him to plunge the banquet into darkness. The culprit is closer than they think. Kiyoshi Kaneo creeps up behind the girls while Sei remains completely oblivious. A shadow falls over her. Sei turns around only to find Kaneo looming with a murderous gaze. In an instant, a cold blade touches Sei's throat. Kaneo holds her hostage, using her life to paralyze Lord Suhaku. Confusion clouds Suhaku's eyes. Kaneo has lost his mind, fueled by a long-burning hatred for the Beastmen. His family fell into ruin years ago. They were victims of the illegal drug trade run by the 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭. The 𝓢𝓢𝓵 sold them poison disguised as medicine. They lied, claiming it was a secret Beastman cure. Kaneo's mother was dying. He spent every last cent on that fake cure, desperate to save her life. But his sacrifice bought only a coffin. The counterfeit drugs killed his mother the moment she took them. Kaneo blames the Kamashiro family for the deception. Now he has returned to claim blood for blood. Suhaku tries to reason with the madman. He swears his family had no part in it, but Kaneo won't listen. To Kaneo, the marriage between the two families is proof enough. It looks like a pact sealed in blood. He is convinced they have been secret allies in crime for years. He seduced Chiyo just to infiltrate this event. His entire life became a mission to destroy both families. He believes his mother could have lived. In his eyes, these two families are the ones who murdered her. To make them suffer, he chooses a target they both value. That target is the innocent Sei. Terror fills the air as the blade nicks Sei's neck. Yet, she looks into Kaneo's eyes and sees only a grieving boy. She reaches out, touching his trembling hand. She reveals that she actually met his mother long ago. She remembers his mother's kindness. Sei tells him the painful truth. The guilt lies solely with her own family. She admits her uncle was the monster behind the fake medicine. The Beastmen and humans only recently allied. It was impossible for Suhaku's family to be involved back then. Sei begs him to believe the truth. But Kaneo is too deep in his hatred to turn back now. He needs a villain to blame. Seeing an opening, Suhaku's beastly instincts explode as he lunges forward. He disarms the killer before the blade can strike deep. Sei collapses, her soul trembling from the brush with death. Lord Suhaku catches her in his powerful arms. He holds her tight, his voice thick with guilt and worry. He desperately needs to check her wound. But that act of care triggers a terrifying change. He only meant to heal her. However, he is about to make a devastating mistake. The scent of Sei's blood hits his senses like fire. His skin flushes red as his inner predator awakens. An ancient hunger screams in his mind. A voice from the shadows begs him to claim her. His eyes glow with a feral light. He pins her against the wall, his fangs baring before suddenly freezing. Sanity returns, leaving him paralyzed with horror. He almost lost himself and devoured the woman he loves. Sei reaches out to comfort him. But Suhaku recoils in terror, screaming for her to never touch him again. Sei is wounded and fragile, yet Suhaku remains a cold, distant observer. He retreats, leaving Riri to guard her. Riri frets, but Sei only watches Suhaku's retreating back with a heavy heart. The gala ends, but a dark storm brews. Ko isn't the only one facing ruin. He was dragged away in chains for attempted murder. With the counterfeit medicine scandal exploding, the Fuji family now faces a brutal military investigation. Her aunt panics, terrified the army will uncover their long web of illegal schemes. If exposed, the enraged nobles they swindled will surely demand blood and heavy restitution. Losing the Kamashiro alliance is her nightmare, but her husband already has a devious fallback plan. Their scheme? Feign innocence and frame their foreign suppliers for the entire deception. He gambles on Suhaku's obsession with Sei, and his cruel intuition is dead right. While her parents fear iron bars, Chiyo only seethes over being rejected by two different men. Suhaku and Ko's biting insults echo in her mind, fueling her delusional sense of betrayal. Lacking any self-reflection, she directs her poisonous hatred entirely towards Sei. She vows to shatter Sei's peace and turn her marriage into a living nightmare. Days pass, but the echoes of that violent night still haunt Riri's memories. Sei masks her pain, her heart surprisingly aching with pity for Ko's fractured soul and tragic past. She recognizes the depth of a love that turned into such tragic madness. Sharing his grief of loss, her thoughts drift back to her enigmatic, beastly husband. Despite his harsh rejection, she yearns for him until a familiar bark breaks the silence. Maru is safe! Freed from those vipers, he returns to a tearfully joyful Sei. Tatamasa reveals the truth. Lord Suhaku himself commanded the dog's secret rescue. Knowing Maru was her only true family, the Beast Lord acted to protect her heart. Overwhelmed by his silent kindness, Sei's heart aches to see him once more. Armed with a thank you, she seeks him out, only for Tatamasa to deliver a blow. He refuses her presence. Lost, she struggles fruitlessly with the cryptic foreign tome he gave her. A gray cloud follows her since the moment she was barred from his side. 7 agonizing days pass without a single glimpse of her distant fiancé. Fear of his anger consumes her, while Maru remains a silent, loyal shadow to her grief. She hates that even her beloved companion can feel the weight of her sorrow. Seeking solace in a stroll, she encounters a woman of breathtaking, lethal beauty. A stunning officer halts her path, her gaze sharp enough to pierce Sei's soul. Meet 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭, Suhaku's elite confidante and the bridge between the military and his clan. Curious, she seeks to judge the girl who tamed the legendary, human-hating Beast Lord. Sei shrinks under the overwhelming presence of this radiant, silver-tongued soldier. Sei wonders if she too carries the beast blood, and the answer is a resounding yes. A horse-type beast, she once outpaced even the brilliant Suhaku on the battlefield. Shocked, Sei learns of Suhaku's hidden past as a decorated military medic. Senri mocks Sei's ignorance, questioning how a fiancé could know so little of her lord. She cruelly reminds Sei that their bloodlines belong to 2 entirely different realms. Before her poison can spread further, Tatamasa intervenes to silence her sharp tongue. He scolds her tactlessness, but the seeds of doubt have already taken root in Sei. Bound by an empty title, Sei feels like a total stranger in her own engagement. Looking up, she catches Suhaku's gaze, only for him to vanish like a cold ghost. Senri departs, leaving behind a shattered heart and a deepening chasm between the pair. Sei now fears their distance is an unbridgeable gap between beast and mere human. Little does she know how wrong she truly is about his heart. Suhaku isn't shunning Sei due to her humanity. Rather, his primal instincts ignite whenever she's near. As a former medic, blood was routine. Yet Sei's scent strikes a chord he can't explain. Ghostly fragments of his military past begin to surface within his clouded mind. A vision of Sei weeping amidst hellish flames haunts him. His greatest fear is becoming her tormentor. Tatamasa grows anxious upon finding his master gripped by such visible agony. Dismissing the concern, Suhaku listens as Tatamasa reminisces about their once inseparable trio. Shadows have fallen between them, and Senri brings word of a looming military investigation. Dark undercurrents suggest a conspiracy is brewing behind the scenes. A tragedy from 10 years ago points to Suhaku. Tatamasa urges him to confess before it is too late. Nightmares plague Sei, showing Suhaku in the arms of the beautiful soldier, Senri. Her cruel ex-husband mocks her in the dream, claiming Suhaku prefers anyone over her. Deep down, Sei trusts his heart. Waking with resolve, she seeks out her silent protector. Tired of the cold shoulder, she's determined to bridge the distance between them. She confronts him in the apothecary, only to find him surrendered to a deep, weary slumber. Seeing the exhaustion etched on his face, her anger dissolves into pure sympathy. She reaches to brush a stray leaf away, but her touch jolts him awake. The beast awakens! Crimson fills his eyes as he loses himself to raw desire. Is he going to strike? No, he crashes his lips against hers in a desperate kiss. Consumed by her intoxicating scent, our hero's self-control snaps as he tastes her skin. That single taste unleashes the monster. The beast within demands a blood sacrifice. Paralyzed by terror, Sei braces for the end as the wolf prepares to strike. She waits for the killing blow, but a strange silence fills the room. To save her, Suhaku mauls his own flesh. He howls, summoning Tatamasa to intervene. "Take her away!" he roars, collapsing as he fights the darkness inside. Tatamasa reveals the harrowing truth. Lord Suhaku is suffering through his rut. This primal fever usually comes much later, and Suhaku has always conquered it before. Witnessing Sei bleed at the gala triggered his instincts prematurely, plunging him into torment. Guilt pierces Sei's heart. She realizes his suffering is a burden he bears for her. Her selfish pursuit of answers forced him to face the beast he was desperately hiding. Tatamasa clarifies. The beast wanted to hunt, but the man chose to protect. He mangled his own arm to spare her. Sei is more precious than his own life. She is the one he envisions by his side for all eternity. Stunned by this revelation, Sei realizes she can no longer stand idly by. Nursing his wounds, Suhaku laments the curse of his monstrous lineage. The burning heat is a cruel reminder that his love is tethered to a beast. A soft knock shatters his solitude. The woman of his dreams stands at the threshold. Startled, Suhaku wonders who would dare approach him in this volatile state. Expecting his aid, he's shocked to find his fiancée demanding entry despite his warnings. He realizes Tatamasa must have bared his secret to the one person he feared losing. Though his body burns, he refuses to take her out of duty or pity. He barks a cold command to leave, hoping his ferocity will drive her to safety. Remembering her past trauma with her abusive ex, he vows never to be another nightmare. He thinks isolation is mercy, But Sei is done running from the truth. Suhaku is the only man who ever offered her a love built on honesty. "I trust you completely," she whispers, pushing past the door into his forbidden world. She refuses to back down. Taking the initiative, she pulls him into a kiss, leaving Lord Suhaku's heart racing wildly. His face flushes as he pulls her close. In his embrace, she whispers for him to never hold back. Knowing his desire brings her pure joy. They retreat to the bed, but the heat of the moment shatters when Suhaku reaches for her bare hand. Panic strikes, she forgot her gloves. Paralyzed by shame over her burn scars, her self-loathing vanishes as he tenderly kisses the wounded skin. He forbids her from hiding, claiming every part of her. Sei realizes Lord Suhaku is the polar opposite of her cruel, cold ex-husband. His beastly hunger flares with warning, yet she welcomes the destruction if it comes from his passionate and devoted touch. Morning arrives following an intense, magical night. Suhaku fears his primal strength caused her pain, but Sei softly comforts him with a smile. Her concern lies with his beastly rut, but he reveals the fever vanished the moment she finally accepted his heart. Shyness overcomes her once more. She hides her burning face, drawing a rare, adoring smile from the powerful man. He offers a heartfelt apology, confessing that his distance was born of fear. He dreaded his beastly transformation would make her look at him with hatred. He vows to share every secret with her from this day forward. Their wedding day fast approaches, a thought that fills Sei with warmth. Sensing his curiosity about her scars, she begins to recount her tragic past. 10 years ago, the hotel housing her family was suddenly swallowed by a terrifying and infernal blaze. Though she escaped, she lunged back into the flames for her parents, searing her bare hands against the collapsing, white-hot structure. Shockingly, Suhaku recognizes the tale, realizing she is indeed the same little girl he encountered all those years ago. He cradles her hands with profound sorrow. Glimpsing his pained expression, Sei recalls a shadowy figure who tended to her wounds on that fateful night. A military doctor had descended upon the chaos, working tirelessly to rescue survivors trapped within the raging fire. Trapped in a daze of shock, she never forgot the man's desperate efforts to save her, forever wondering about his mysterious kindness. Sei longed to bury those painful memories forever, but Suhaku's gentle gaze and touch suddenly caused the hidden truth to flood back. Tears overflow as the realization hits. Lord Suhaku was that savior doctor. He was the one who pulled her from the abyss. It explains why her scent felt so familiar from the start. Overwhelmed with emotion, the two share a deeply joyful embrace. Life is shifting for our heroine. Her bond with Lord Suhaku deepens while his once hostile subjects finally begin to open their hearts. These subtle shifts mean the world to Sei, and she treasures every peaceful moment they share together. Having completed the grueling translation of his ancient foreign tome, she eagerly presents the finished manuscript to her lord. He receives it with joy, sharing a tender moment meanwhile. Sei's treacherous uncle is suffering a violent, ego-shattering breakdown. With his clients fleeing, he directs his venomous rage at Kaneko, the failed assassin. Yet, the delusional man refuses to admit defeat. He believes Sei's marriage to Lord Suhaku is the ultimate insurance policy for his survival. Alas, Chiyo overhears this and seethes with resentment. To her warped mind, her father has discarded her for his niece. Feeling abandoned, she resolves to sabotage Sei's happiness. Meanwhile, Sei's pathetic ex-husband, Shuichi, continues to be an absolute pest. He barks orders at his new wife, demanding she leave her bed to slave away at the household chores. Despite her pregnancy and doctor's orders for bed rest, the brute perceives her plea as defiance, terrifying their young daughter with his rage. Shuichi storms off, spewing venomous complaints about the perceived laziness of pregnant women. Interrupted by a servant announcing a mysterious female guest, Shuichi's only concern is whether the woman is easy on the eyes. Hearing she is a beauty, a lecherous grin spreads across his face as he rushes to meet her without delay. Anticipation building, Shuichi prepares a grand, oily welcome for the stunning visitor now gracing his humble shop. However, his grin vanishes instantly upon recognizing the guest. It's Chiyo, the cunning cousin of his former wife. She offers a cold greeting, met with his reminder of the divorce. Unfazed, Chiyo reveals she is already well aware of their history. Playing the role of the devoted sister, she feigns deep sorrow for her intrusion, claiming she has arrived bearing a message from Sei. Intrigued by whispers of her high-profile remarriage, Shuichi finds himself itching for any scrap of information about his ex-wife. He recalls only her dull, sluggish nature and that filthy dog, but his fondest memory was the sheer terror in her eyes. Visualizing her trembling, fearful expression, a grotesque and predatory smile stretches across his face once more. He eagerly ushers Chiyo inside, prompting a serpent-like smirk to slither across the girl's cunning face. Unaware of the venomous plot brewing in the shadows, 𝓍 basks in Lord Suhaku's warm praise for her masterful translation work. Beaming with pride, she delves deeper into the text, noting the complex medicinal formulas hidden within the ancient pages. Suhaku reveals his secret project, a revolutionary serum designed to quell the beastmen's bloodlust and their uncontrollable primal instincts. 𝓍 is stunned to learn that foreign nations already utilize suppressants. These drugs are vital for beastmen to live peacefully with humans. 𝓍 admires his brilliance, finally understanding the purpose of his research. He works tirelessly for a world free from cruel discrimination. She vows her support as a tender atmosphere blossoms between them. Their fingers graze while gathering herbs, sending 𝓍's heart into overdrive. Suhaku tries to apologize, only to see her face turn crimson. Their shared bashfulness leaves them both looking like bright red tomatoes. The male lead wonders why his heart races despite his heat ending. A simple touch recalls their night, proving love is finally blooming. Maid Riri receives a strange letter written in an exotic tongue. Riri is curious, but the playful dog woman fuels her gossip. Lord 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓭 arrives, sending the startled women into a frantic scramble. He finds a letter from Chiyo, suspecting a new dark plot. 𝓍 meets the lords, revealing her cousin's sudden desire to meet. Chiyo claims she has changed, leaving the men deeply skeptical. 𝓍 admits their past was painful, as Chiyo found her irritating. She remembers the cruelty, yet clings to their childhood sisterly bond. Lord Suhaku refuses to forgive Chiyo. He grants permission but provides protection, fearing for 𝓍's kind heart. 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓭 realizes his new mistress is far too gentle. He would have severed ties, yet he sees Suhaku's own compassion. They both possess noble souls, making them the ultimate power couple. A shy 𝓍 denies marriage, but 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓭 knows it is inevitable. Their trust is deep, and he hopes she finds peace today. 𝓍 beams with joy, thankful for those who truly support her. The sweetness fades as they reach the meeting, leaving 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓭 outside. 𝓍 enters to face the Viper's fake and irritating smile. Chiyo puts on a tearful act, repenting for her past insults. She blames her parents, claiming they forced her to be cruel. Chiyo spins a tale of fear, weaponizing their childhood for pity. 𝓍 falls for the lies, believing Chiyo was merely a victim. Chiyo manipulates her using memories of their childhood bond. 𝓍 wants to believe her, yet a sense of unease lingers. Detecting doubt, Chiyo weeps and acts as if 𝓍 betrayed her. 𝓍 rushes to comfort her, though she still needs more time. Chiyo clings to her, begging her sister not to abandon her. 𝓍 is finally moved, agreeing to a second chance for Chiyo. She misses the sinister smirk as 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓭 listens from the shadows. The words sound harmless, yet a heavy dread settles over him. Back home, Suhaku is restless as Riri brings him soothing tea. He is drowning in stress, sensing a hidden trap for 𝓍. 𝓍 returns home looking sad, making Suhaku worry for her safety. She claims the apology was sincere, yet her eyes betray conflict. The weight of the past haunts her, making forgiveness feel impossible. 𝓍 requests permission to see Chiyo. The Lord agrees, but only if she is accompanied by a trusted guard. His suspicion of Chiyo remains. Enough of that girl. 𝓍 has sensed a shift in the air. Lord Suhaku lingers by her side, often remaining in his primal, beastly form just like this moment. Human eyes rarely see a beastman's true shape. To 𝓍, this vulnerability signals his absolute trust in her. A biting wind stirs, making 𝓍 shiver. She endures the winter's chill just to remain near him. Suddenly, Lord Suhaku pulls her into a warm embrace, unaware of the cold thanks to his thick fur. He retreats in a panic, fearing his monstrous touch might have frightened her in this beastly state. Instead, 𝓍 clings tighter, finding comfort in the incredible warmth of his soft, fluffy coat. The mighty beast blushes like a shy boy. Her total acceptance leaves him utterly speechless and flustered. Form doesn't matter to her. He will always be her fiancé, and his heart begins to race again. He draws her close, yearning for a kiss despite his lupine features and sharp fangs. Suddenly, Maru interrupts with a frantic bark, sensing his mistress is being threatened by a giant wolf. While Maru growls protectively, the poor lord feels completely misunderstood and wrongly accused by the pup. He understands every word of Maru's barking. The dog is fiercely warning the beast to stay away. One reminder of who saved his life. And the arrogant dog finally submits to a head pat. 𝓍 scolds the naughty pup, urging him to be grateful. They look like a perfectly happy family. Peaceful days pass until the dreaded reunion. 𝓍 is finally going to meet her cousin, Chiyo, again. Chiyo sneers internally. A few crocodile tears were all it took to deceive the naive and foolish 𝓍. Donning a mask of sweetness, Chiyo greets her with a fake smile, complaining about the wait. Her expression sours instantly upon seeing Tatamasa. Sei explains the Beastman will be their driver today. In Chio's twisted mind, this feels like Sei is flaunting her high status and expensive new lifestyle. Though she seethes with secret rage, Chio forces herself to appear calm despite the unwanted guard. Disgusted by beastmen, Chio freezes as Tatamasa moves close, whispering a chilling question about her evil schemes. The girl flinches for a heartbeat, then masks her shock with a cold, hollow grin. Feigning ignorance, she rushes into the car, suggesting they visit a popular dessert shop in town. She knows Sei is cautious, but the trap is set. Her sinister game has only just begun. From the window, Lord Suhaku watches them depart, his golden eyes filled with an uneasy concern. Tatamasa shares his deep distrust. The Lord warns him to remain silent and watch his words carefully. Lady Senri's report is coming. Dark rumors are swirling about the 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭 family's failing business empire. Their fortune is crumbling. On Chio's side, she is dragging Sei into a chaotic shopping frenzy. It is a whirlwind of different stores, with poor Riri trailing behind them like a pack mule. Riri is near tears from exhaustion, but Sei is happy, believing her relationship with Chio has healed. Exploring the town together feels like a beautiful dream, as if the past shadows have finally vanished. Chio plays the part of the devoted sister, feigning worry that she is exhausting her dear cousin. Sei glows with happiness, while Riri drowns under a mountain of heavy shopping boxes. Chio offers no mercy, snapping at the maid for her perceived clumsiness and slow pace. As the boxes are loaded, Chio's mask slips, revealing her deep-seated hatred for all beastmen. Riri freezes in shock, wondering if her ears have finally deceived her in the evening air. She dismisses the cruel words as a hallucination. Soon, exhaustion claims her on Sei's gentle shoulder. Our heroine smiles at the sleeping girl, thinking she looks adorable after such a long day. Chio laughs softly, but it is the cold cackle of a predator who has finally found her opportunity. Looking outside, Sei suddenly notices the carriage has veered into a dark, unfamiliar direction. The surprise is revealed. Chio claims there is one final, special place they must visit tonight. Terror strikes Sei's heart. This road leads directly to the doorstep of her cruel ex-husband. They stop before the shop. Chio drags her out, and the nightmare begins to unfold once more. Sei demands answers. Chio weaves a web of lies, claiming she simply wanted to find the perfect engagement dress for her sister. Since Shuichi knows Sei's tastes best, his boutique was the only choice for such a grand occasion. She insists the man was desperate to offer his blessings in person. Playing the role of the devoted sister, Chio arranged this reunion to celebrate the upcoming marriage. Sei's skin crawls with disbelief. There is no way her venomous ex-husband has anything but malice in his heart for her. She stands paralyzed by dread until the devil himself appears. Without warning, he pulls her into a sickeningly familiar embrace. He beckons her inside with a predatory smile. Fear has stolen her voice, leaving her utterly silent and helpless. Trembling violently, she is led into the shadows of the shop. In a final moment of desperation, she looks to her cousin for salvation, finding only coldness. Chio simply waves a cheerful goodbye. She encourages them to take their time, practically shoving Sei into the lion's den to rekindle their broken bond. What fate awaits our poor heroine? Inside the shop, a smug Shuichi prepares to strike like a snake. He whispers that they are completely alone. He locked the doors and cleared the staff, claiming he wanted to protect her reputation from any prying eyes or rumors. He expects a passionate reunion, while Sei is drowning in a sea of confusion and growing terror. She wonders how he could possibly think she wanted this. The man licks his lips, convinced his charms are working their magic once again. In truth, he is nothing but a repulsive monster. He dares to bring up their past intimacy, suggesting they relive their glory days for one final night together. Suddenly, Shuichi pins her to the cold floor, his hands wandering. He tells her to stop playing coy and finally embrace him. It has been far too long, and he is starved for the sound of her voice crying out in submission. He reminisces about the nights of their marriage with a twisted sense of pride. Though she never bore his child, those long hours of forced affection still excite him. Our brave heroine fights back with every ounce of strength. Those memories are scars she never wished to reopen. While he remembers pleasure, she remembers pure agony. Panic surges as he whispers filth into her ear, his breath hot against her pale skin. He mockingly asks if her new fiancé has touched her yet. He sneers, convinced a noble like Suaku is nothing more than a savage, unrefined beastman. He assumes she is desperate to escape the beastman's bed. Sei's fear finally snaps, replaced by a white-hot spark of righteous indignation. Shuichi is still the master of manipulation, warping reality to suit his ego. He did it throughout their marriage, and he is doing it now. He acts as if his hands are clean, ignoring the countless times he struck her. He refuses to hear about her beastman protector. When he reaches out, 𝓍 viciously slaps his hands away. She warns him to keep his distance, declaring her absolute loyalty to her future husband, Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 brings her true peace, while Shuichi's touch feels like poison. Infuriated by her defiance, the man grabs her, shaking her like a doll. He accuses her of playing hard to get. After all, she was the one who supposedly begged for this private meeting. 𝓍 is baffled. She never made such a request. Blinded by rejection, the man's mask slips, revealing the violent predator within. Just like the dark days of their past, he raises his hand to strike. But 𝓍 is no longer a victim. Seizing a nearby weapon, she hurls it directly at his face. Before he can even register the blow, she bolts through the door and into the light. Chiyo is irritated by the sudden escape, but her malice remains intact. The seeds of doubt have already been sown, and her plan is working. As the carriage speeds away, two shadows watch from the alleyway. Hidden from sight, they have witnessed every second of this disturbing encounter. Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 paces impatiently, waiting for his beloved's return. The moment she arrives, his heart sinks as he senses the heavy cloud of trauma. Even 𝓍𝓸 looks on in horror. When he attempts to comfort her, 𝓍 flinches and pulls away. His suspicion flares. He demands to know what happened during her outing. 𝓍's heart pounds. Will she reveal the truth to her beastman lord? 𝓢𝓸𝓵 knows something is terribly wrong. 𝓍 is haunted by the ghost of her ex-husband's touch and his vile, lingering words. Her trembling hands and darting eyes scream of a hidden trauma. Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 can read her like a book, sensing the shadow of another man. He suspects Chiyo's serpent-like influence once again. Yet, to everyone's frustration, 𝓍 chooses to bury the nightmare deep inside and keep her silence. She forces a lie, claiming they simply visited too many shops. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 presses her, noting her deathly pale complexion, but she holds her mask tight. She insists it is nothing more than exhaustion from the long, bumpy carriage ride through the city. After dismissing the offer of dinner, she bids 𝓢𝓸𝓵 a hasty goodnight. It is a clear and painful attempt to push him away. Her smile is a fragile porcelain mask, and 𝓢𝓸𝓵 sees right through it. His face darkens with a mix of sorrow and fury as he leaves. Once the door shuts, 𝓍𝓸 confronts 𝓍. The loyal maid knows her lady's heart too well and begs her to share the heavy secrets. Still, 𝓍 remains a locked fortress. She cannot erase the image of Shuichi. Earlier, she had cornered Chiyo, demanding to know how this happened. The man was convinced 𝓍 wanted him back, but Chiyo played the innocent, denying any part in his twisted delusion. She wept crocodile tears, claiming the ex-husband had deceived her. Yet, amidst her fake sobs, she didn't miss the chance to pry into the private encounter. That was when 𝓍𝓸 finally stirred. The poor maid, oblivious to the drama, could only offer apologies for falling into such a deep sleep. 𝓍 remained silent, desperate to bury the truth, but the damage had already been done. Days passed, and the city was flooded with scandal. At the Beastman Assembly, rumors of 𝓢𝓸𝓵's engagement exploded. Our main character, completely oblivious, proudly announced that wedding preparations were already underway. The other lords warned him of the Fujigami Company's dark reputation, but Soku remained unfazed. Lacking any support, his peers urged him to sever ties and cancel the engagement immediately. One man tried to reveal the truth about 𝓍 but was silenced. Now, Saku felt a chilling unease. Realizing his ignorance, the other men finally decided to unveil the vile rumors poisoning the town. The poison reached the estate. A swarm of maids cornered 𝓍𝓸, demanding the truth about the scandal. Rumors of Lady 𝓍's secret affair with her ex-husband spread like wildfire. 𝓍𝓸 fought back against the witnesses. Claiming they saw 𝓍 entering and leaving her former husband's home, the witnesses fueled the fire. While the city burned with gossip, Chiyo lounged in luxury, savoring the melody of her own sabotage. She felt no remorse for bribing the servants. In fact, she had never been happier. She imagined her father's rage, certain this scandal would shatter the marriage between 𝓍 and 𝓢𝓸𝓵. A cruel smile spread across her face. She couldn't wait to see her cousin cast out once more. Within the Kamashiro walls, the staff noticed their new mistress hadn't left her room all day. 𝓍𝓸's heart sank with worry, while the other maids whispered that 𝓍 was paralyzed by guilt. They were convinced she had betrayed the Lord. Enraged, 𝓍𝓸 finally snapped and began screaming at them. She defended 𝓍's pure heart, blaming them for their prejudice against her gentle human soul. As a lowly squirrel beastman, 𝓍𝓸 knew the pain of being looked down upon by others. Only 𝓍 had shown her kindness. Feeling guilty, the maids watched as 𝓍𝓸 vowed to find the truth. The dog woman stopped her, warning that this storm must be weathered by Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 and 𝓍 alone. She urged Riri to wait until Lord Suaku returned from his business trip the next day. Meanwhile, our heroine remained locked away, spiraling into despair and blaming herself for the unfolding disaster. She cursed her own weakness, feeling responsible for not defying her ex-husband more forcefully. Haunted by her lie to Lord Suaku, she felt like a monster hiding in the shadows. Her tears fell freely until a familiar bark broke the silence. Lord Saku had returned early. Stunned by his arrival, Sei realized the truth. Haku had come back specifically to talk to her. The walls finally crumbled. She confessed everything, admitting she had been alone with her wretched ex-husband. She begged for forgiveness, but the man simply took her hand, his trust in her remaining unshakable. He asked for the full story. Taking a deep breath, Sei finally revealed the nightmare of that day. As she described the harassment she endured, a cold, terrifying fury blazed within Suaku. Though she escaped unscathed, his rage didn't fade, leaving Sei to tremble with misplaced guilt. He silenced her apologies, revealing his wrath was for the coward who dared lay hands on her. Suddenly, his anger turned to guilt as he remembered his own past actions in the medicine room. When he apologized, Sei pulled him into a warm embrace, confessing that his touch was never unwanted. Their bond was built on love, but the traumatic shadow of her ex-husband still lingered. As she pulled away, Lord Suaku drew her close, softly declaring his desire to spend the night. Sei waited with a racing heart. Finally, he arrived, ready to fulfill their promise of togetherness. Her face flushed crimson as Lord Saku asked for a kiss, her heart hammering against her ribs. Her blush deepened impossibly. "You don't need to ask," she whispered, surrendering to the moment. As their lips met, Sei realized this was different. This wasn't the kiss of a beast. Gone was the savage impatience of his rut. Tonight, he was gentle, seeking only to hold her. He wanted her to sleep peacefully. Yet the thought of her ex-husband's assault still burned. Sei reassured him, but regret gnawed at Suhaku's heart. He wished he had been her first. If only they had met before the fire, he could have protected her and her family forever. Sei gently begs him to stop the self-blame, finding solace in his genuine concern while Lord Suaku feels an unfamiliar spark within. His emotions for Sei are spiraling out of control, longing for her touch even when his beastly instincts are at rest. He vows to cherish her like a priceless treasure, yet as Sei sleeps, a lingering suspicion gnaws at Suaku's mind. The rumors of Sei visiting her former husband are spreading, moving with a speed that feels unnatural and calculated. This feels like a masterfully crafted trap, and only one suspect remains as Shuichi wakes up in a cold panic. Whispers of his secret meeting with C have reached his ears, and he trembles, fearing his wife's devastating reaction. He stubbornly shifts the blame onto Sei, claiming she sought him out despite her strange and confusing behavior. He hurls insults at her memory until a maid interrupts with news of a guest, and Shuichi finds a mysterious man waiting. He stares at the stranger, unaware he is facing the powerful male lead whose gaze is cold enough to kill. When the silence finally breaks, the man delivers a chilling accusation of harassing his beloved fiancée. Realizing this, Sei's new partner Shuichi sneers with disgust, loathing the beastman who dares to mimic human grace. Driven by a deluded sense of human superiority, he denies every touch, claiming he has no desire for a discarded wife. He cruelly labels her as boring, telling Suaku he is welcome to keep such a worthless woman. He has successfully ignited the male lead's fury as Lord Suaku shifts into his beast form, demanding the truth of the secret meeting. The arrogant scumbag collapses in pure terror, paralyzed by the thought that the beast is about to devour him whole. He clings to the law for safety, knowing it is a crime for beastmen to harm humans, believing Suaku's nobility binds his hands. Suaku remains indifferent to the man's cowardly thoughts, focused only on unraveling the web of lies. He accuses the man of using Sei's cousin as bait, but Shuichi insists it was Chiyo who claimed his ex-wife was desperate to see him. Even under Suaku's intense pressure, Shuichi remains clueless about who is truly fueling the fire of these rumors. He argues that his own reputation is being dragged through the mud, and Haku realizes the man is telling the pathetic truth. The pieces of the puzzle align toward Chiyo, and having no more use for Shuichi, the Lord turns to depart. But the scumbag's arrogance returns, mistaking Suaku's exit for fear, and he begins to mock the beast once more. He taunts Suaku to abandon Sei, bragging about his new marriage and the second child he is already expecting. He insults her further, claiming she was a barren wife during their time together, finally pushing Suaku to his absolute limit. A devastating blow shatters the wall beside Shuichi's head, leaving the stone crumbling as a testament to Suaku's hidden power. He issues a final blood-chilling warning to silence the man's filth, leaving the scumbag trembling in the shadow of death. While Shuichi waits for a physical beating, Suaku delivers a much more calculated strike as a servant rushes in with catastrophic news. Their most loyal customers are vanishing, refusing to do business with them in a sudden and total boycott. The truth hits Shuichi like a landslide. Every major client is tied to the Kamashiro family, and his empire is vanishing. Bankruptcy looms over his head, while across the city, Lord Jiru's rage boils over in a terrifying display. His wife's pleas for calm fall on deaf ears as the scandalous rumors of Sei's alleged affair consume his every thought. He believes Sei has thrown away her future with Lord Suhaku, while his wife desperately hopes these whispers are nothing but lies. The man's pride is wounded, and he demands to hear the truth directly from Sei's own lips. He orders her to be dragged back in disgrace, while Chiyo watches from the shadows celebrating as Sei prepares for the coming storm. It is not a battle of swords, but of reputation, as the malicious rumors continue to poison the town's perception. Lord Suhaku shares his dark suspicions with her, warning her that a shadow player is orchestrating their downfall. Though the whispers cannot be silenced, yet he promises to fix everything, and Sei chooses to place her absolute faith in him. She waits patiently for Saku's move, but refuses to stay idle, gathering the manor's servants to face the accusations head-on. As Sei stands before the gathered staff, the air is thick with poisonous gossip and judging eyes. They glare at her with cold resentment, convinced she has betrayed the trust of their noble Lord Suhaku. They assume she secretly loathes the Beast Tribe, but Sei stands tall, refusing to be broken by their silent scorn. With a graceful bow, she offers a sincere apology, promising to reveal the dark reality of her encounter with Shuichi. She begins her testimony, firmly declaring that she never stepped foot in that shop by her own choice. She denies every whisper of an affair, standing firm in her truth. It was a chance encounter turned nightmare as he forced her inside against her will until she finally found the strength to escape. Sei vows to the maids that her heart remains pure from Shuichi, finally bearing her deepest, most painful secret. She was cast aside by her former husband for being unable to bear heirs, leaving the servants utterly breathless. Trapped in a loveless union, she was treated as a hollow vessel, a mere object of no value to him. Silence hangs heavy as Sei stands exposed, desperate for them to see the raw truth behind her scars. Through Lord Suhaku's influence, she's learned the healing power of trust and the strength found in shared burdens. Her past silence birthed this chaos. Now, Sei chooses to shatter her shell and confront the world head-on. Declaring Lord Suhaku as her true sanctuary, she swears her eternal loyalty to the house that saved her. Overcome with emotion, Riri pulls Sei into a warm embrace, whispering words of unwavering faith and comfort. Guilt consumes the young maid. Convinced her moment of weakness led her mistress directly into the jaws of peril. Riri weeps, drowning in the shame of the spreading rumors, while Sei tenderly reassures her that she's blameless. The tension breaks as the head maid acknowledges Sei's bravery, offering gratitude for her painful, honest revelation. They feared a noblewoman like Sei would never deign to speak her heart to mere lowly servants. Bound by newfound trust, the maids rally behind her, moving our heroine to tears of profound relief. Sei bows in gratitude, unaware of the powerful gaze watching her from the shadows of the corridor. Tadamasa discovers his master eavesdropping like a common thief, advising the Lord that his worries are finally over. Lord Suhaku's hidden anxiety over Sei's standing within the house leaves his loyal aide completely baffled. If his heart was so troubled, why lurk in the darkness instead of standing proudly by her side? Declaring this a battle Sei had to win alone, Suhaku coldly orders his carriage for an immediate departure. Walking together, Riri beams with pride, while Sei credits their bond for giving her the courage to speak. Their moment of peace is shattered as an ominous carriage rattles to a halt at the estate gates. The Fujigami crest appears, and a frantic Chiyo emerges, desperately pleading for Sei to return to their family. Little does the scheming cousin know, the Beast Lord himself is looming directly in her shadow. She spins a tale of Lord Jiru's explosive rage over the scandalous whispers involving Sei's past husband. Confused, Sei mentions her explanatory letter, but Chiyo insists her father's heart remains hardened and unconvinced. Claiming he's blinded by fury, Chiyo begs Sei to walk straight back into the lion's den to appease him. A wicked smirk begins to form on Chiyo's face until Lord Suhaku steps into the light, freezing her blood. Despite Chiyo's facade of sisterly concern, Suhaku's sharp instincts pierce right through her elaborate act. Like a desperate leech, Chiyo grips Sei, demanding she abandon her sanctuary for the Fujigami estate. She weaves a lie of a father's command, using the scandalous rumors as a weapon to drag Sei back. Sei's confusion grows, but Chiyo doubles down, insisting that no letter could ever quench Jiru's burning indignation. Fear begins to paralyze Sei as Chiyo paints a terrifying picture of a man who refuses to listen. Dark memories of past torment resurface, vivid reminders of an uncle who only knew how to inflict pain. Returning means certain violence, A nightmare Sei can't escape until her protector finally intervenes. Chio misreads Suhaku's thunderous expression, arrogantly assuming his wrath is directed at the troublesome Sei. Just as she tastes victory, Suhaku's voice cuts through the air, decreeing that Sei will never return. The smug mask shatters instantly, leaving Chio's face pale and devoid of its fake warmth. Her venomous nature leaks out as she challenges his authority, unable to believe her prey is being protected. With a piercing gaze, Lord Suhaku reveals his conviction. These rumors are nothing but a calculated trap. He points the finger directly at someone close to Sei, sending a cold shiver of terror through Chio's heart. Suhaku notes the suspicious speed of the gossip, announcing a formal investigation into the true architect of this lie. He vows that once the culprit is caught, he will personally escort Sei to face her father's house. A master of deception, Chio masks her panic with feigned shock, playing the role of the worried cousin perfectly. She boldly offers prayers for the investigation, though her heart likely screams for its utter failure. Defeated, Chio flees the scene, leaving Sei to wonder exactly who has earned the Lord's deadly suspicion. Without a shred of doubt, Suhaku knows the truth. The snake in the grass is Chio herself. Betrayal stings once more as Sei faces her cousin's malice, while Chio's sanity cracks inside her gilded carriage. Her wicked scheme lay in tatters. Those calculated rumors were meant to shatter the bond between Sei and Lord Suhaku. Yet, the Lord's unwavering devotion only fuels Chio's burning resentment, forging a vow of eternal hatred against her kin. Our heroine's only sin? Being cherished. Chio's soul rots with envy at the sight of Sei being so fiercely protected. Driven by spite, Chio manipulates her father to reclaim Sei, frantically reporting Suhaku's growing suspicions of their family's lies. She weaves a web of deceit, insisting the scandalous affair is real and claiming Sei's absence is proof of guilt. Poisonous words flow as she brands Sei a troublemaker, arrogantly anticipating the moment her cousin's engagement is finally annulled. However, Chio is about to receive a brutal reality check that will leave her reeling in utter shock. A sharp crack echoes her father's palm meets her cheek. Silence falls as Chio recoils, her mother's screams erupting instantly. Their chaotic wailing is merely white noise to Jiru's cold, calculating mind as he stares them down in disgust. "Enough of this screeching!" he barks, demanding they hunt down the rat who dared to spread such dangerous rumors. He brands them fools for ignoring the impending ruin, placing Chio under strict house arrest before storming out in rage. Though her mother offers empty comfort, Chio retreats, the icy chill of realization finally settling deep within her bones. She never expected her father's scrutiny, yet she clings to the hope that her silenced servants won't leave a trail. Even if Shuichi speaks, who would believe a disgraced harasser over the word of a high-born lady like herself? A manic glint flickers in Chio's eyes as she desperately convinces herself that her dark secrets remain safely buried. Days drift by, yet Sei remains haunted by Suhaku's warning until her maid's arrival breaks the cycle of her gloom. A divine aroma fills the air as our heroine unveils a treasure trove of exotic sweets for her loyal staff. The maids gasp in disbelief, wondering if such luxurious, foreign delicacies are truly meant for humble hands like theirs. With Riri's gentle encouragement, they indulge, their eyes widening as pure bliss explodes across their palates with every bite. "So sweet," they cry. Sei smiles, reminiscing about the overseas kitchen where she once baked alongside her beloved mother. Wanting to share the warmth of her past, she offers these treats to forge new bonds of friendship and joy. Her kindness conquers their hearts completely. Soon, the room is filled with laughter and eager requests for her secret recipes. Seeing their smiles warms Sei's soul, but her true focus remains on the man who holds her heart captive. Clutching a specially wrapped box, she nervously approaches him, her pulse drumming a frantic rhythm against her very ribs. A sudden tap startles her. It's Lady Senri and Tadamasa, heading to meet Lord Suhaku for the grand military inspection. Generous as ever, Sei shares her handmade confections, earning the immediate gratitude of the two high-ranking soldiers. Senri bows her head in a rare apology, recalling her past cruelty when she claimed humans and beastmen were incompatible. She confesses her previous narrow-mindedness, admitting she once doubted the possibility of a peaceful world shared between their races. However, witnessing Lord Suhaku's transformation and hearing Tatamasa's stories of Sei has finally shattered her stubborn prejudices. Sei offers a forgiving smile, assuring the warrior that no grudge was ever held, melting the tension between them instantly. Completely won over, Senri declares her a good person, causing our heroine to beam while Tatamasa watches with pride. He marvels at the change in the fierce Henry, teasingly noting that Henry can actually be quite honest and cute. The word cute hits Senri like an explosion, sending her into a flustered frenzy of embarrassed shouting and denial. Her heart races behind a mask of anger as the two bicker playfully until 𝓤𝓼𝓵𝓭 finally makes a run for it. Though 𝓑𝓵𝓿 yells in pursuit, the deep crimson on her cheeks tells the true story of her blossoming, hidden affection. Watching them, 𝓑 wonders if love has bloomed there, only to blush as she questions her own feelings for 𝓤𝓼𝓵. At last, the moment arrives for Lord 𝓤𝓼𝓵 to receive his long-awaited gift from the woman he truly loves. He jokingly complains that 𝓤𝓼𝓵𝓭 and 𝓑𝓵𝓿 had been flaunting their cookies just to taunt him for being empty-handed. "I was actually jealous," he whispers, his raw honesty sending a jolt of pure electricity through 𝓑's racing heart. As he savors her gift, his gentle praise becomes the key that finally unlocks the truth of her deepest emotions. It's undeniable she loves this man. The realization hits her like a tidal wave, leaving her heart pounding uncontrollably. She throws her arms around him, yearning for a closeness that transcends physical touch, wishing to merge their very souls. All hesitation vanishes. 𝓑 clings to Lord 𝓤𝓼𝓵 with desperate intensity, her entire being craving nothing but his protective presence. Startled by her sudden passion, Lord 𝓤𝓼𝓵 calls out her name, gently pulling her back from the depths of love. Ashamed, 𝓑 recoils instantly, offering a frantic apology for her sudden, impulsive touch. Confusion wars with embarrassment within her. Why did she reach out? Her cheeks burn a deep crimson. But forgiveness comes with a warm embrace. He pulls her close, whispering that she needn't ever apologize. He doesn't mind. Our poor girl has been reduced to a stuttering, flustered mess. Finding her voice lost, she simply clings to him. To 𝓤𝓼𝓵, she looks absolutely precious. In that long embrace, 𝓤𝓼𝓵 asks the heavy question, how does she feel about her sister's potential betrayal? 𝓑 admits she's been piecing it together. Chiyo and Shuichi's stories simply don't align at all. Chiyo claimed Shuichi only wanted to offer wedding congratulations. Yet Shuichi seemed convinced 𝓑 sought him out. Despite warnings of trickery, his conviction felt real. 𝓑 hates doubting her sister. If Chiyo truly orchestrated this, 𝓑 only blames her own lethal naivety for falling into such a trap. She must uncover if Chiyo truly pulled the strings, hoping to finally silence these poisonous rumors forever. 𝓤𝓼𝓵 pledges his full support, but asks, did anything feel off during her time with her sister? Elsewhere, Lord Shuichi is suddenly under fire. His pregnant wife explodes with fury over his infidelity, while he pathetically blames 𝓑 for seducing him. She isn't buying his lies. Coldly, she throws his long history of countless mistresses back in his face. Shuichi sneers, reminding his wife of her lowly origins. He spits that she was just a mistress once, only gaining her title because of that convenient pregnancy. As he seethes, she drops a bombshell. What if the child she carries isn't even his? Shuichi freezes. Is this just nonsense? They already share 2 children, but she counters with a chilling question, what if none are actually his? It turns out his wife held a dark secret, driven by desperation to secure a husband who craved heirs. Despite their countless nights together, her womb remained stubbornly empty, failing to provide the legacy he demanded. In a moment of pure desperation, she sought another man's bed, swearing it would be a one-time sin. But his greed for a son drove her back to infidelity. Now, the ultimate scumbag can only stutter. She finally screams the truth. None of those children share a single drop of his blood. They are another's blood. Meanwhile, 𝓤𝓼𝓵 informs 𝓑 that 𝓤𝓼𝓵𝓭 is digging deep into the spreading scandals. He promises that justice is in motion and the truth will be brought to light very soon. A mysterious foreign letter arrives, but 𝓑's heart stops when she sees the name on the envelope. The truth is revealed. This cryptic message was intended for Misono, the woman they all know so well. As 𝓑 delivers the mail, the ever-observant Riri reveals this isn't Misono's first secret foreign correspondence. The sender is none other than the striking golden-haired stranger Misono met at 𝓑's own celebration. She confesses her struggle. The letters were a mystery, written in a tongue she simply couldn't decipher. Hoping for the best, she had painstakingly learned how to write a simple thank you in his native tongue. Never expecting a reply, she spent hours buried in dictionaries, fighting to find words for a response. Desperate to know his heart, she begs 𝓑 to translate the secrets hidden within those foreign pages. 𝓑 graciously agrees, and Misono eagerly gathers every single precious letter to finally uncover the truth. The first note is a gentlemanly apology for the party's chaos, complimenting the delightful drinks she provided. In the next, he beams with joy, deeply touched that she attempted to reach out in his language. Riri squeals as the romantic tension peaks. Misono tries to deny it, but her crimson face tells all. The latest letter is different. It's written in her own language, allowing Misono to finally read it herself. Misono gasps. He offers a heartfelt apology. He finally understood her struggle and vows that, from this day forward, he will only write in her tongue. His heart was a fortress, but her letters broke the walls. Now he craves her genuine, radiant smile. Lord Edward proved his words weren't hollow, making a grand entrance at the manor to claim her presence. He apologizes for his sudden appearance, but his heart was simply too desperate to see her. Blushing, he confesses he mastered her native tongue just to whisper his feelings. Mason is overjoyed. Radiating warmth, she thanks him for the visit. Edward is completely spellbound by her dazzling smile. Lost in their own world, they forget the onlookers. Poor Riri only tastes the bitterness of singlehood. While the lovers rejoice, Suhaku stands stunned by the man's sudden and mysterious appearance. Learning Edward invests in the 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭 estate, he reveals his strategy to find a foreign ally. With Edward here, he enlists 𝓍's help for negotiations. Our heroine is moved by the blooming romance. Their bond is magnificent. Seeing them become friends is a truly lovely experience for her. Despite the language barrier, her heart is full. However, shadows are looming over someone else's joy. Whispers spread as Shuichi's shop remains dark. Rumors swirl of a shattered home and a runaway wife. Inside the shop, Shuichi rages, obliterating every object within his grasp. Driven to the brink, his wife's cold words haunt him. He clings to the lie she's mistaken. The door creaks open as Chiyo slithers in, poisoning his mind with lies against innocent 𝓍. She whispers that 𝓍 orchestrated this entire tragedy as a calculated act of cold-blooded revenge. Consumed by hate, Shuichi curses 𝓍 for ruining him. Chiyo smirks, claiming she too was 𝓍's victim. She proposes a dark alliance for destruction. Elsewhere, Chiyo's mother, Yoshi, is gripped by pure panic. Chiyo has vanished. Yoshi interrogates the maids, unaware her daughter is on a path towards certain doom. She demands they find her immediately. Fear gnaws at Yoshi as she dreads her husband's inevitable wrath. Misono carefully readies a warm coat for 𝓍, who is preparing for a fateful stroll outside. 𝓍 teases Misono about her budding romance. Misono blushes, revealing Edward promised to write her letters. Since Edward is staying, 𝓍 offers to translate their letters. Misono beams with heartfelt gratitude. As she steps out, dark clouds gather. A storm is brewing, mirroring the danger 𝓍 is approaching. Rewind to 3 days ago. The men discovered a gold hairpin that 𝓍 instantly recognized as Chiyo's. Found with a former maid, the pure gold accessory is worth a fortune on the black market. 𝓍's intuition about the maids was sharp. After Tatamasa's investigation, her dark suspicions were finally confirmed. She recalls the maids lurking in the shadows. Now that the betrayal is real, her heart shatters. Tatamasa reveals the truth. Chiyo bribed the maids with precious jewels to carry out her schemes. Their task? To poison the town with rumors of 𝓍's infidelity before Chiyo ruthlessly discarded them. Chiyo used them like disposable tools. This time, 𝓍's mercy has reached its absolute limit. 𝓍 regrets her past kindness, but now, a new letter from Chiyo summons her to a secret meeting. Determined, 𝓍 will confront her. She'll drag the truth into the light for her family to see. Oh, 𝓍 is so dangerously innocent. Lord Suhaku agrees, vowing to make Chiyo answer for her sins. He permits one final meeting, but he won't let his precious 𝓍 face that viper alone. Present day. Suhaku and Tatamasa arrive at the rendezvous, their powerful beast forms radiating a terrifying aura. Chiyo is missing, but 𝓍 arrives with Riri. Terrified whispers erupt as townspeople behold the beastmen. The crowd trembles, fearing they'll be devoured. While 𝓍 feels pity, the men are merely irritated. Suhaku's patience wears thin. Tatamasa playfully offers to scatter the crowd, but the Lord restrains him. 𝓍 comforts Suhaku, but he's hardened to the world's fear. They are destined to remain outcasts forever. Today, they embrace their monstrous nature. However, the treacherous Chiyo is still nowhere to be found. The clock ticks past their meeting. Sensing a trap, Suhaku orders Tatamasa to scout the perimeter immediately. Suddenly, a roar shatters the silence as a car hurtles forward. Panic erupts among the startled bystanders. Suhaku's heart stops. The steel beast is charging directly at 𝓍 with murderous intent. He lunges forward, but time runs out. A sickening crash echoes, leaving 𝓍 collapsed and Riri screaming. Riri's eyes are wide with horror. 𝓍 looks up to find a crimson pool surrounding a fallen Suhaku. He took the full impact. As 𝓍 freezes in terror, a mysterious hand suddenly snatches her away. She turns, met by Shuichi's soul-chilling gaze. Gripping her tightly, he vows eternal vengeance. The man has truly lost his mind. The engine roars as he races toward an unknown destination. Spewing venomous threats, he spirited 𝓍 away against her will. Bound in the shadows of the backseat, Sei's heart races. Why this madness? She realizes Shuichi has descended into total insanity. Visions of the crash haunt her the moment he struck her fiancé. Tears well up, but she suppresses them. Crying won't save her. Paralysis isn't an option. She must break free. Glancing out, she realizes they're leaving the city behind. The trap is tightening. Her destination remains a terrifying mystery. Finally, the car screeches to a halt before a desolate, rotting warehouse. He drags Sei out, ignoring her desperate resistance. With a surge of cruel strength, he tosses her into the cold, dark interior. Physical agony pales in comparison to the chilling sound echoing through the room. Someone is laughing at her misery. Sei looks up, finding Chiyo's mocking grin. With twisted delight, her cousin sneers that this filth is exactly where Sei belongs. Stunned, Sei watches Shuichi depart to hide the evidence. Alone with her kin, the horrific truth finally dawns on her. "Was it you?" she gasps. Chiyo must have leaked their location, orchestrating that fateful encounter at the shop from the shadows. It was Chiyo all along, bribing the staff to poison Sei's reputation with those venomous lies. Without a shred of remorse, Chiyo mocks her stupidity. Since Lord Suaku already knows her nature, the mask finally comes off. Sei's world shatters. She truly believed they could mend their bond and return to those innocent days of their childhood. Chiyo's laughter rings out, cold and sharp. She mocks Sei's kind heart as nothing more than pathetic, naive weakness. Sei gave her nothing but sisterly devotion, yet Chiyo felt nothing. Those shared memories? For Chiyo, they've long since turned to ash. Sei's soul is crushed, but her visible suffering only fuels Chiyo's twisted euphoria. The betrayal is absolute. Through fits of giggles, she admits her lifelong envy. She loathed Sei's happiness and every blessing. Sei's heart is utterly shattered. The shadow of Shuichi returns, prompting Chiyo to take her leave. The real nightmare is about to begin. She urges him to satisfy his dark urges, bidding Sei a cheerful, mocking farewell as she steps into the night. Alone with a man fueled by delusions of ruin, Sei trembles. His eyes burn with an unstable, terrifying light as he closes in. Paralyzed by fear, Sei closes her eyes, praying for a miracle. Meanwhile, Suaku lies unconscious while Lord Tatamasa desperately tries to revive him. Suhaku's eyes snap open, bringing relief to his aid. But medical aid is ignored. His only focus is for his beloved Sei. The news of her abduction acts like a jolt of lightning. Despite his broken state, he forces himself to stand. Tatamasa pleads for him to rest, but Suaku dismisses the pain. Every second wasted is a second his Sei is in danger. Ordering military backup, Suaku pushes forward. On the ground, a discarded garment catches his eye, a dress he knows all too well. It's Riri's clothing. Not even the torrential downpour will deter him from rescuing the woman who holds his heart. Following Riri's lingering scent, he finds her. As he thought, she shifted into her tiny squirrel form to remain undetected. Though exhausted, she remains steadfast. Suaku gently calms the small creature, urging her to reveal Sei's hidden location. Riri explains the abduction after the crash. Thinking quickly, she transformed and trailed the kidnapper's vehicle through the shadows. She points toward the outskirts to a lonely warehouse. With tearful eyes, she begs the Lord to bring Sei home safely. Moved by her bravery, Suaku honors the tiny squirrel's spirit. He shields her, awaiting Tatamasa's return before launching the rescue. A silent prayer leaves his lips as Sei faces her tormentor. She stands before the man who blames her for his downfall. Her silent pleas go unheard as he looms closer. Snatching her collar, he snarls a shocking accusation about his own infertility. Sei's mind reels in confusion. Is his madness so deep that he's lost all touch with reality? He ended their marriage over her barrenness, yet he claimed another woman was pregnant. Now, his hands tighten around her throat. His words are a frantic mumble. He's convinced his supposed children are the blood of another man entirely. Stunned, Sei realizes she was never the problem. When she confronts him, he recoils like a wounded beast, denying his own weakness. The truth is a pill he cannot swallow. Infertility has shattered his ego, sending him into a fit of hysterical, manic laughter. As Sei processes his shocking confession, the danger returns. He gives her no time to think, lunging at her once more. Clinging to his lies, he vows to prove his manhood. He decides to use Sei for his twisted, desperate experiment. Blood stains his lips and his lungs burn, but Suaku ignores the pain. Her scent is close. Sei is nearby. He's certain now, she's trapped within those walls. Inside, Sei is fighting with every ounce of her remaining strength. She won't be his victim again. Her fierce resistance enrages Shuichi, who screams for her to submit and shut up. He craves the submissive doll she once was, but he's mistaken 𝓬𝓬 has found her inner fire. 𝓬 strikes his gut, refusing to submit. "Stay away from me!" Enraged, he slams her head against the floor. Yet, her spirit remains unbroken. 𝓬's defiance is absolute. Still, she is trapped and powerless to escape. Closing her eyes, she cries his name. Suddenly, Lord Saku breaches the door. Tears of relief fall, but seeing her pain makes Saku's beastly nature erupt. Shuichi's cruelty backfires. Saku sees his fiancé's tears and loses all human reason. Now, the predator has become the prey. Shuichi trembles in absolute terror. One fatal question later, Saku strikes. Shuichi hurtles across the room, smashing wood. Saku's claws shred bone and flesh. Shuichi collapses, howling like a wounded child. The beast isn't finished. He looms over the coward, demanding blood for 𝓬's pain. Primal instinct takes over. For a beastman, the scent of blood is a point of no return. Crimson stains the floor, and Saku's mind snaps. Even 𝓬's desperate pleas go unheard. 𝓬 realizes her voice cannot reach him. Saku's fingers tighten around Shuichi's throat. Gasping, Shuichi cites the law. It is a forbidden sin for beasts to harm humans. Even facing death, the fool sneers. He mocks Saku for wasting power on 𝓬. Saku's fury explodes. He slams the man down. 𝓬 watches in sheer horror. Desperation breaks her bonds. The rope snaps, and she sprints toward the chaos. As Saku prepares the killing blow, 𝓬 throws herself between them. Sobbing, she begs for mercy. Her small hand reaches out to grasp his. Her touch breaks the curse. Saku transforms back, whispering her name with tenderness. 𝓬 collapses into his arms. Saku whispers apologies. His only wish was her safety. The two cling to each other. Meanwhile, a strange rescue party arrives. Tadamasa rides upon Senri's beastly back, while little Riri clings to his shoulder. Following the scent of iron, Tadamasa warns that blood has been spilled. Senri senses the danger. Riri points toward the looming shadow of the warehouse. Bursting inside, they find the lovers. Nearby lies the mangled, bloody Shuichi. As guards swarm the room, Senri questions if Saku was the one responsible. Saku confesses immediately, offering his wrists. 𝓬 screams in protest, refusing this fate. She pleads that he only protected her. Saku silences her with a heavy gaze. Tadamasa holds her back. The law is absolute. No beast may strike a human. It is a cruel, heartless law that protects the wicked from the righteous. 𝓬's heart aches at the injustice. Sadly, the villainous Shuichi still draws breath. Both are taken. 𝓬's soul shatters as they drag her beloved away. She tries to follow, but Tadamasa intervenes. Her screams for Saku go unanswered. News reaches the Fujigami house. Jiro reels at the scandal of Saku's arrest. Cold logic replaces shock. Jiro only cares about the family's profit and reputation. He severs all ties instantly. The engagement is dead. Chiyo watches with a smirk. Her mother frets over the shame. Another failed marriage will ruin their social standing. Chiyo's eyes gleam with malice. She suggests casting 𝓬 out of the family forever. With both men imprisoned, Chiyo's twisted web has finally caught its prey. It is a victory for the snake. However, their family business is still crumbling. Chiyo remains confident. She will secure a wealthy husband to save their fortune. Even her own mother is chilled by the darkness in Chiyo's gaze. Trembling, her mother yields. Chiyo's cold ambition has completely taken control. At the estate, Tadamasa learns the truth. 𝓬 is wasting away in grief. Her attendants chalk it up to trauma from that harrowing ordeal. The interrogation was postponed once he saw her fragile state. Fear grips the staff while Tadamasa remains lost in confusion. He finds 𝓬 prepared and resolute to depart immediately. Inspired by her fire, he vows loyalty as maids weep. Riri admits she despises, showing her true bestial nature. Shifting leaves her exposed, fueling her deep-seated modesty. Tadamasa explains the dual nature of their kind's transformations. While Suaku remains humanoid, others become literal woodland animals. Riri loathed her squirrel form, as society sneered at it. Yet, that small form allowed her to rescue 𝓬. They reach the fortress where Lord Suaku remains imprisoned. 𝓬 reveals Shuichi's complete descent into murderous insanity. Crediting Suaku, she demands her sister Chiyo be investigated. Senri warns that her words may lack legal weight. 𝓬's heart aches, but the military forbids all contact. Shifters who strike humans face isolation despite Shuichi's crimes. Senri snaps, reminding him of the military's cold hierarchy. Within these walls, beastmen possess zero rights or voice. Despair hangs heavy, yet 𝓬 refuses to surrender now. She'll draft a petition to commute Suaku's severe sentence. Sei is prepared to defy the world for him. Tatamasa expresses profound admiration for Sei's unwavering spirit. They retreat as Tatamasa fetches the carriage for them. Sei's mind remains haunted by her imprisoned fiancé's fate. A familiar voice rings out the woman who stole her life. It's Tuko, whose pregnancy forced Sei into bitter exile. Tuko reveals she's come to testify against Shuichi's madness. She confesses the child isn't Shuichi's, but a deception. Tuko begs forgiveness as her unborn child violently kicks. Labor has begun, and the child is coming now. Sei's heart now belongs entirely to her beast husband. Sei's kindness only deepens Tuko's remorse and guilt. Tuko prepares to reveal a truth that changes everything. She vows to ensure Shuichi finally faces true justice. A striking red-haired officer reviews Sei's bold petition. Intrigued by her plea, he decides to investigate her. Senri arrives with news visitation has finally been granted. But first, she must face the infamous colonel. Why would a high-ranking officer demand this private meeting? She is escorted deep into the heart of the base. She faces Renu Kagami, the legendary beast hater. It's shocking he allowed this, given his violent history. The beast hater meets the human hater, a legendary clash. Tatamasa recalls Kagami's discipline from his dark military past. Tatamasa's hatred burned so fiercely he contemplated devouring the man whole. Though Kagami remained unscathed, our heroine trembled in fear, yet her resolve to save Suaku never wavered. Entering Kagami's office, Sei is greeted by a floral fragrance. The man acts surprisingly cordial, urging her to feel at ease. Tatamasa shadows her inside, finally catching Kagami's cold gaze. Tatamasa mocks his scent, but Kagami delivers a stinging insult by feigning ignorance of his existence. Senri quickly restrains the enraged beastmen. Ignoring their bickering, Kagami listens as Sei desperately pleads for a reduction in Suaku's heavy sentence. He warns that the military is relentless, yet hints that his personal influence could potentially grant Suaku total freedom. Senri's suspicion grows. Why would a known hater of beastmen suddenly offer a helping hand to Suaku? Oblivious to Senri's doubts, Sei's mind is consumed by a single hope. Can Kagami truly save them? He promises leniency for Suaku, but at a price. Fixing his gaze on Sei, he confesses his long-standing fascination with her. Having anticipated this meeting, he now demands an intimate, private conversation with the young woman. Behind cold bars, our male lead sits in dejection until his fiancé's voice pierces the silence. He looks up in disbelief. Sei has arrived. Suaku's joy is instantly eclipsed by a crushing sense of shame, feeling unworthy of her presence. As a former military physician, he was conditioned to maintain absolute composure, even in the presence of carnage. Yet, whenever Sei is involved, his iron discipline shatters, leaving his raw emotions exposed. He longed to exact vengeance for Sei's suffering. Without her intervention, he would have devoured his enemy. Guilt now consumes him. Sei silences his apologies. She knows his violent actions were born from a desire to protect her. Gratitude fills her heart. He bore the weight of sin for her sake, and now she vows to shield him. Suaku's heart swells with renewed adoration. He yearns to pull her close, but the unforgiving steel keeps them apart. Their foreheads meet through the gap, a bittersweet torture of being so near, yet hopelessly out of reach. Though she frets over his condition, he reassures her that his strength remains intact. Blessed with beastman vitality, he endures. Meanwhile, Sei reveals her desperate strategy to secure his early release. Suaku scoffs at the impossibility. The military harbors no mercy for his kind. Suddenly, a cold voice interrupts their moment. Kagami appears, mockingly agreeing that it is futile. Suaku recoils in shock while the colonel maintains a chillingly bright smile. Suaku growls a demand for answers. Kagami claims Sei's heartfelt petition moved him to grant this rare visitation. He taunts Suaku with the intimacy of his recent conversation with Sei, including the story of their first encounter. With calculated malice, he touches Sei, baiting the caged beast into a frenzy of jealousy. Suaku bares his lethal fangs, snarling a warning. Kagami retreats with a laugh, demanding the beast cease his murderous glare. He reminds them he is their only ally. Suaku is stunned that a known predator of beastmen would offer salvation. Suspecting a trap, Suaku waits. Kagami finally reveals his price. He wants the beastman to owe him a debt. He urges the beastman to surrender to his logic. Satisfied with the provocation, he declares Sei's visitation time is over. Tearing herself away, our heroine tearfully vows to move heaven and earth to secure his freedom. Their family waits. Sei trails behind Kagami, her heart torn by suspicion, yet she is trapped by her lack of options. Kagami is Suaku's only hope. Suddenly, he inquires about her linguistic skills, probing into the secrets of her past. She explains that her family's merchant business required them to live across distant foreign lands. As he pries deeper, 𝓍 fondly recalls her parents as souls of immense kindness and integrity. Multilingual and adaptable, they built a legacy of trust abroad. Though gone, their honesty remains her guiding light. Kagami ponders if her upbringing fostered her trust in beastmen, his mind clouded by a strange internal conflict. He marvels at the contrast between her noble father and the wretched 𝓲𝓼. He prepares to drop a devastating bombshell. Kagami whispers a chilling truth into 𝓍's ear. Her uncle's downfall is imminent and absolute. Dawn breaks as Lord 𝓲𝓼 is dragged away for drug trafficking. Kagami maintains his infuriatingly cheerful facade throughout the arrest. He mocks 𝓲𝓼, suggesting he should have stuck to petty scams and peddling harmless placebos to the nobility. Panic grips Yoshi. She never imagined her husband was peddling such dangerous, illicit substances. Her world shatters with no release date in sight. Yoshi is paralyzed, left to helm a corporation with zero experience. Chiyo bursts in, but her selfish heart only worries about their social standing and her jeopardized engagement. Her spirit seems crushed, but this is only the prelude to her enemy's karma. Senri arrives at the manor with news of the arrest. Our heroine already knew. 𝓲𝓼 was dealing dangerous drugs, but 𝓍 has no energy left to mourn him. Her mind remains on Suaku. She desperately asks Senri for updates on his trial. Kagami's aid worked. The military finally admits Suaku was only protecting his beloved 𝓍. Teruko actually testified against her husband. She kept the promise she made to 𝓍. Then, the blow falls. Senri reveals that Suaku's case has been completely abandoned. 𝓍 demands answers. The cruel reality is clear. Humans rarely show mercy to beastmen. Riri confirms this bitter truth. For generations, beastmen were punished for human sins. This injustice burns. Senri was raised to be a tool for human masters. She once accepted this suffering. Now, she realizes how twisted that lie was. 𝓍 refuses to yield. She will scream until this injustice is finally exposed. Senri stands with her. The beastmen's soldiers support Suaku and will soon protest. On their mission, they encounter the one person 𝓍 never wished to see. Her wicked sister, Chiyo, appears. She looks disappointed to find 𝓍 still alive. 𝓍 won't be intimidated. She coldly informs the girl that the military knows everything. Chiyo smirks, betting on a lack of evidence. She believes her lies are untouchable. She mocks 𝓍's reliance on others. With Suaku arrested, she has no protector left. Such audacity! Chiyo planned this tragedy, yet she dares to act so superior. 𝓍's chilling glare stops Chiyo cold. Why does this former coward look so terrifying? Fear flickers in Chiyo's eyes. Shaken, she screams at our heroine to speak. The tension breaks as Chiyo's mother arrives. Her smug smile vanishes when seeing 𝓍. Yoshi trembles, asking why 𝓍 is here. The mention of 𝓲𝓼's arrest sparks panic. Fearing for their company, she claims a mysterious benefactor is now in control. She snaps at 𝓍, telling her to stop meddling in their private affairs. They loathe 𝓍's new strength. They expected her to be broken without her beast. With a sneer, she declares 𝓍 is officially exiled from the 𝓍𝓸𝓵𝓭 family. Go rot with your beastmen, she spits. 𝓍 calmly accepts her new path. The venomous pair retreats. Their presence alone is enough to turn anyone's stomach. Senri's fist itches to strike. Out of habit, 𝓍 offers a weary apology. Senri brushes it off. She was actually thrilled to see 𝓍 finally fight back. Tatamasa notes their visible fear. 𝓲𝓼's arrest has clearly left them vulnerable and shaking. Without 𝓲𝓼, the aunt is lost. She knows nothing of how to run their empire. 𝓍 commands Tatamasa to shadow the company. Something is definitely moving in the shadows. Tatamasa is puzzled by the order. 𝓍 remains silent, her suspicions growing deeper. At the base, 𝓲𝓼 remains stubborn. He refuses to confess to his many crimes. Colonel Kagami is unbothered. This report does not affect his grand plans. 𝓲𝓼's defiance only worsens his fate. Kagami indifferently hands the case to another. But unrest is brewing. The beastmen within the ranks are starting to speak up. They demand justice for Suaku. 𝓍's petition is igniting a fire of rebellion. Yet Kagami remains unshakable. To him, this noise is beneath his concern. A soldier asks why he helped a beastman. Everyone knows Kagami's legendary hatred. Kagami's bloodlust flares. One look sends the terrified soldier running for his life. Alone now, Kagami ponders the reports. 𝓍's influence over the beastmen is unexpected. A lone human girl has conquered the hearts of those once called monsters. She exceeded every expectation. At the 𝓍𝓸𝓵𝓭 estate, Chiyo happily greets her mother's return. Back from the bank, Yoshi demands a new gown for her engagement. But despair awaits her. Chio's heart sinks. Her mother stands there, trembling and pale as a ghost. The truth is devastating. Every coin is gone. The bank account is completely empty. Chio freezes. How could it vanish? Their trusted manager has disappeared without a trace. Her mother searched everywhere, finding only an abandoned house and cold silence. Reality hits, they've been robbed. Chio blames her mother for trusting a snake with their fortune. Relatives? Yoshi scoffs. They all vanish the moment 𝓢𝓸 was thrown into chains. A scream of agony erupts. Chio watches, paralyzed as her world of luxury shatters. Watching from the shadows, 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓭 reports the 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓮's pathetic downfall to 𝓬. They lost everything. Servants fled. Their world of gold has turned into a nightmare. The verdict is cold. 𝓬 hears the truth. The 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓮 family cannot survive this. 𝓬 remains silent. Her heart is still held captive by 𝓢𝓸𝓵's uncertain fate. She has played every card. Now she can only pray for a miracle to happen. Alone in the dark, 𝓢𝓸𝓵 recalls the warning. Former brothers in arms now demand his blood. It was all for 𝓬. Her fiery resolve saved his soul from utter despair. Just as hope stirs, a foul, familiar scent invades 𝓢𝓸𝓵's cold cell. Kagami mocks his boredom. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 growls, remembering the colonel's horrific cruelty to his kind. To Kagami, they were pawns. Now the villain claims he has a new heart. He sees the change in 𝓢𝓸𝓵. 𝓬's love has truly tamed the legendary beast. Freedom is coming, thanks to 𝓬. But Kagami's mercy always comes with heavy chains. A price must be paid. Meanwhile, the proud Chio is reduced to begging a maid. The mansion is hollow. The very last servant is packing her bags to leave. Chio pleads, but she is shoved aside. The maid's long-held hatred finally explodes. "I won't work for beggars!" Chio's screams of rage echo through the empty halls. She can't survive this. She's a doll who can't even dress without help. Just as she breaks, her mother returns with a chilling, triumphant smile. Gold has returned. Yoshi flaunts a fortune that can buy them more time. "Where is it from?" Chio gasps. Her mother has sold the entire company. Sold behind her father's back? Yoshi smiles. She's also casting her husband away. The company's price is her divorce fee. Chio is still trapped in her delusions. Chio fears losing status, but Yoshi has already targeted a new, wealthy predator. A golden-haired titan with eyes like the sky. A rich foreigner has arrived. It is Edward. Yoshi wants her daughter to seduce him and reclaim their throne. Power calls. Yoshi prepares to sign away the family legacy for Edward's gold. Blinded by greed, she signs the contract, her soul for a suitcase of cash. She feels no regret. To Yoshi, the family name is just a burden. "It's over," Edward says. With 𝓢𝓸's drug crimes exposed, they have nothing left. She curses her husband. Selling him out was her easiest path to survival. She thanks Edward. No one else would touch the toxic 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓮 brand. "I'll handle the investment," Edward promises. But he is not the true master. A mysterious manager will take the reins. Yoshi only cares about the money. Edward opens the case. Yoshi almost weeps at the sight of the glittering wealth. It's more than the company was worth. Yoshi clutches her prize, blinded by greed. The stage is set. Edward invites her daughter to meet the mysterious new boss. To the aunt, this is the ultimate gamble. She'll use Chio to ensnare the tycoon and seize his fortune. The grand gala begins. Gazing at the opulent ballroom, Chio realizes this investor's wealth is beyond her wildest dreams. She scans the room for her prey, only to be cornered by a persistent foreigner. His strange language sounds like gibberish. Disgusted, she brushes him off and flees. She has no time for commoners when a golden goose awaits. Her destiny lies with her future husband. Pacing outside, she finally spots her mother approaching with a guest. Her irritation vanishes as she sees the magnificent man beside Yoshi. It's Lord Edward. Suddenly, the arrogant Chio turns shy. Her heart thunders against her ribs. Compared to her dull former fiancé, this man is a god among mortals. Even 𝓬's beastly husband is a mere shadow. Chio decides Edward is her fated one, the only man worthy of her. Yoshi nudges her forward, but Edward cold shoulders them. He must introduce the new president and vanishes into the crowd. Silence falls as he welcomes the elite, celebrating the grand resurrection of the prestigious 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓮 company. He reveals his investment was a gift for one special lady. From this day, she will reign over the empire. Whispers fill the air. Who is this mystery woman? Edward swings the doors open, revealing a striking figure. Chio and Yoshi's blood runs cold. Standing there, radiating power as the new president, is none other than 𝓬. As Edward announces our heroine as the savior of 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓮, her relatives' faces twist in absolute horror and disbelief. They never imagined 𝓬 could rise so high. Desperate, they rush to demand answers, but Sei remains icy and silent. The truth hits like a thunderbolt. Sei orchestrated everything, convincing Edward to buy the company right from under them. Yoshi screams betrayal, accusing Sei of a dirty trap. Our heroine simply stares back, reminding her of her own sins. Driven by mindless greed, the aunt signed the contract without looking. She wails that she never would have sold to Sei. Sei's laughter is cold. No one else wanted their failing business. In truth, she was their only salvation. The banquet erupts into gossip. The high society guests sneer at the mother and daughter for being so easily outsmarted. To the crowd, they are shameless vultures who deserve this humiliation after 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭's disgusting crimes. Pale and trembling, the two women endure the stinging insults. Sei watches them, her resolve hardening for the final strike. Memories flash back to Senri's news. Lord Suhaku's release was imminent. Sei was so overjoyed she ran to him. Seeing Sei's happiness was everything, but that joy sparked a fire. Our heroine knew she had to build a future. Her fiancé dreamed of a world where humans and beasts stood equal, pouring his soul into life-saving medicine. By seizing 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭, she can finally provide the foundation he needs once free. This was her true motivation all along. Back at the gala, Sei condemns 𝓢𝓸𝓵's legacy. She reminds them the company was built to unite nations, not destroy. From the founding fathers to her own late father, that noble mission was a sacred oath they kept. But 𝓢𝓸𝓵 turned their heritage into a drug den. Even Yoshi chose to abandon the ship just for quick coin. She brands them as greedy parasites who nearly reduced the 𝓢𝓸𝓵 name to ashes and ruin. "I will restore our glory," she declares. Edward watches with a satisfied smirk, knowing his gamble on her paid off. Sei's voice rings out. The road is treacherous, but with Lord Edward and Lord Saku by her side, she's unstoppable. She vows to revive the company's honor before the entire elite, asking for their trust in this new era. Thunderous applause fills the hall. The tide has turned, but the villains aren't going down without a fight. Yoshi snaps, her mask of civility shattering as she shrieks at Sei for publicly shaming their family. She hurls vile insults and claws at Sei's dress. Coldly, Sei announces their blood ties are officially severed forever. Cast out and told to survive on her own, Yoshi turns feral. Her slap is blocked by Tatamasa's iron grip. He threatens to drag her out like trash. Still, Yoshi rages, her screams echoing a vow of eternal vengeance against Sei. Chiyo joins the fray, calling Sei a monster and demanding her mother's release with tearful, fake indignation. Seeing Sei's new wealth, Chiyo suddenly pivots, offering a hollow apology in hopes of clinging to our heroine's success. How pathetic. Sei sneers at the manipulation and strikes her hand away, warning the girl never to touch her again. Their crocodile tears mean nothing. Sei will never forget the years of torment they inflicted upon her soul. Chiyo may have forgotten her cruelty, but Sei still remembers the innocent sister she once loved and cherished. She was blinded by affection back then, never realizing that Chiyo's heart had rotted with jealousy and spite. She was a fool to trust them. But now, with the company sold and their pockets empty, the debt is paid. Sei cuts all ties forever. Ignoring Chiyo's desperate pleas, she turns her back on the past without looking back once. Enraged, Chiyo lunges in a frantic attack. But Lord Edward intervenes, shielding Sei and condemning Chiyo's pathetic display. Humiliated before the staring crowd, the girl flees in utter disgrace. Sei offers her apologies for the chaos, but Edward merely smiles. He orchestrated this to expose their true nature, urging Sei to maintain her newfound regal confidence. Facing the citizens, Sei humbly vows to earn their trust through her future actions. To her shock, thunderous applause erupts. The people aren't just forgiving her, they're eager to begin a new era of business together. Her rivals watch in disbelief, praying it's a nightmare. How could their entire legacy fall into the hands of the woman they despised? But the reality is set in stone. As days pass, Sei's life becomes a whirlwind of success. With Tatamasa's loyal assistance, the company flourishes. Passing a familiar street, Sei notices the shadow of her ex-husband's life has completely vanished. Following his arrest, his family's business crumbled into nothing. Sei whispers a quiet prayer for those left in the wreckage. The chains of the past have finally shattered. Our heroine is finally free from the ghost of her former husband. Her heart races for another reason now. Lord Suaku is finally returning home to the manor tomorrow. Elsewhere, Kagami delivers a stern parting word. Suaku remains under the military's watchful eye, requiring absolute caution. Suaku offers his gratitude, but Kagami only cares about the secret pact between them. The beastman solemnly swears to uphold his end. What dark price did he pay? Meanwhile, the 𝓬𝓫 estate is alive with energy as everyone prepares for their lord's homecoming. 𝓬 waits anxiously, even dragging a reluctant Maru along to join the welcoming party. The servants pace restlessly, frustrated they couldn't greet him at the base. His identity as a beastman forces them to keep his release a whispered secret. The maids decry the unfairness, while Riri refuses to let anything dampen this joyful day. Seeing 𝓬's crimson cheeks and trembling hands, the maids can't help but tease her. Her love is written all over her face. The long wait is over. Lord �𝓪𝓭 has finally stepped back onto his rightful grounds. 𝓬 doesn't wait for a greeting, she sprints toward him like a lightning bolt. 𝓲𝓪𝓭 barely has time to react before the beautiful missile arrives. She crashes into his arms, clinging to him as if he might disappear. This is the moment her soul has craved. 𝓲𝓪𝓭 holds her close, whispering his thanks. Senri told him of her bravery, and his heart overflows with gratitude for his wife. Their happiness is radiant enough to cause envy. To celebrate, the 𝓬𝓫 manor erupts into a grand, joyous festival. Even Lord Edward joins the festivities. Amidst the laughter, 𝓲𝓪𝓭 pulls 𝓸𝓵𝓭 aside for a serious private conversation. 𝓲𝓪𝓭 pours the wine himself, a gesture so rare it startles 𝓸𝓵𝓭. It's a lord's humble way of honoring the man who protected his home and his beloved 𝓬. 𝓸𝓵𝓭 hangs his head in guilt, feeling he failed his duty during the tragedy that led to 𝓲𝓪𝓭's arrest. Their somber moment is broken by a drunken Senri. She isn't alone, as Riri has shifted into her tiny squirrel form, fast asleep. As the candles dim, the celebration ends and the cleaning begins. 𝓬 tries to help, but the servants playfully shoo her away towards 𝓲𝓭's side. She flushes deeply when he suggests they retire to his private chambers together. They retreat to the quiet medicine room, letting the wine continue to flow between them. 𝓲𝓭 watches the soft glow on her face, realizing the alcohol has taken hold. She's intoxicated by the wine, and by him. The sight of her beauty stirs a primal fire within him. He pulls her into his space, sealing their reunion with a passionate kiss. A wave of heat crashes over 𝓬, leaving her breathless. She blames the wine, but her heart knows the truth of this desire. When he pulls back, a pang of longing hits her. She hungers for his touch, yearning for the intensity they shared during their first night as one. But as the tension peaks, 𝓲𝓪𝓭 suddenly recoils. He shoves her away, his expression twisting into something unrecognizable and dark. He claims he merely lost his composure, but the lie is thin. 𝓬 freezes, drowning in shame for showing such blatant lust in the open air. She fears he views her as a woman of low virtue, yet 𝓲𝓭's mind is trapped in a nightmare. That terrifying sensation has returned the same bloodlust he felt when he lost control. Looking at her, he didn't just see his lover, he saw prey. The line between heat and hunger has blurred. Usually, a beastman's passion doesn't trigger the urge to consume their mate. But with a human partner, the stakes are lethal. The deeper his love grows, the stronger the instinct to devour her becomes. Despair grips 𝓲𝓭's soul. He truly believed his iron will could protect her. He thought trust and caution were enough to bridge the gap between their species. He was devastatingly wrong. The agonizing reality of their forbidden union finally sinks in. Loving her is a death sentence. These monstrous urges are the price of his devotion. How can he marry her knowing he might become her executioner? His silence sends 𝓬 into a spiral of panic. Heart racing, she fears her forbidden desires were exposed, bracing for his cold, disdainful rejection. Escorting 𝓬 home, Haku lingers at her door, pulling her into one last, desperate embrace. With a soft farewell, he departs, leaving 𝓬 relieved to see his gentle side finally return. She prays their souls remain entwined forever, unaware that dark shadows are descending upon the prison. A rookie guard shudders at a bone-chilling sound, while his veteran partner remains unfazed by the darkness. It's just a broken man lost to madness, driven insane after seeing his entire legacy sold. The veteran warns him to keep his distance from the cell housing the fallen monster Lord 𝓲𝓫. Trapped in fury, he screams blood-curdling vows of vengeance, still claiming the 𝓲𝓵𝓮 Empire as his. A poetic downfall for a villain, but 𝓲𝓫 isn't the only one descending into a waking nightmare. Thunder rumbles over the 𝓲𝓵𝓮 estate as Chiyo's mother obsessively counts her blood-stained gold in the dark. Her hysterical laughter echoes, chanting that wealth is all that matters now that their honor is gone. Chiyo watches the tragic spectacle before Edward arrives with grim news. The ancestral mansion is officially lost. 𝓬 remains calm. She knew her aunt's greed would eventually lead her to abandon 𝓲𝓫 and flee. Though 𝓲𝓫 is caged, Edward warns of his imminent release and urges 𝓬 to arm herself legally. With her lineage in ruins, 𝓬 realizes she must forge her own path through the coming storm. Edward breaks her solemn silence, fearing the weight of these heavy business matters is crushing her spirit. She smiles, finding a strange thrill in the complex world of commerce Edward is revealing to her. He offers his expertise, but as Misa enters, the composed merchant transforms into a flustered teenage boy. He dramatically declares the tea too sacred to drink, wishing to preserve its essence like a treasure. Their sweet bickering fills the room, leaving Say to watch their blooming romance with a knowing smile. Edward presents her with a rare ledger of trade secrets, which Say immediately devours with sharp focus. Questioned on her vision, Say reveals her ambitious plan to dominate the vital market of medical supplies. She aims to bolster the Kamishiro legacy, and a supportive Edward promises to connect her with elite suppliers. Meanwhile, Tatamasa won't stop singing praises about Say's relentless work ethic to a stoic Suaku. It's a playful attempt to spark Suaku's jealousy, but the master remains an unshakable fortress of calm. Talk of marriage brings a shocking retort before Suaku encounters Say, frozen by her radiant, otherworldly beauty. Draped in an elegant foreign gown, she looks ethereal, blooming under his rare and sincere praise. When she shares her new business venture, the selfless reason behind her choice leaves him utterly speechless. She's doing it all for his research, vowing to be the pillar that supports his brilliance forever. Pride swells as he reaches out, but mid-touch, his lethal claws extend the beast within is stirring again. He recoils in horror to protect her, but Say misinterprets his sudden distance as a cold rejection. She forces a smile, desperately trying to convince her aching heart that it was all an illusion. However, a darker truth looms as Suhaku finally unveils the heavy price Kagami demanded for his freedom. The cost of his liberty is his return to the military. Say stands frozen in absolute shock. Chaos rages between man and beast, forcing the High Command to summon their most lethal weapon back. Say's blood boils. How dare they imprison him unjustly, only to demand he bleed for them again. The pieces of Kagami's twisted puzzle finally click. This was a calculated trap from the very beginning. She drowns in guilt for leading him into this snare, but Suaku gently shields her from blame. Without her desperate gamble, he would still be rotting in chains, a sacrifice he'd make 10 times over. Though Kagami is a venomous snake, his poison brought freedom, and now Suaku must march toward war. A brief reprieve has been granted, allowing him a few precious moments to settle his affairs first. He vows to use her supplies exclusively on the field, cementing their bond as partners in this struggle. When she mentions the land from Edward, Suaku panics, terrified his beloved is finally walking away. She clarifies it's merely for her new headquarters, leaving the mighty beastmen flushed with adorable embarrassment. Blushing deeply, she softly asks if she can remain by his side at the Kamishiro estate forever. Caught off guard, she's swept into his sudden, warm embrace. He whispers she's found her forever home, their hearts finally beating as one. Suhaku longs to claim her as his bride, yet terror grips his soul. His devotion grows daily, fueling a dangerous fear of his own nature. He fears the day his inner beast snaps, devouring the woman he loves. Haunted by this nightmare, our hero desperately labors over a suppressant. Yet, despite his frantic efforts, the cure remains agonizingly out of reach. Say notices her fiancé's growing obsession, locked away in the apothecary for days. Tatamasa claims the Lord is simply preparing for his role as a military doctor. Finally, a glimmer of hope appears within his experimental medicine. Suhaku reveals the truth about the suppressants and their power over beastly hunger. But Sei cares little for the cure. Her only concern is his failing health. Tatamasa promises to intervene, yet he does the opposite. He tells Suhaku everything, ensuring the Lord knows just how deeply his beloved is suffering for him. He observes his master's ghostly complexion, realizing the man hasn't slept in an eternity. Stubborn as ever, Suhaku insists he's fine, though his exhausted eyes tell a far different story. Tatamasa plays his ultimate trump card. He presents a mysterious letter, certain it will force the stubborn lord to rest. It's a message from his mother, Lady Ritsuko. It seems some people never truly learn their lesson. Chiyo and her mother crawl back to the grandmother's home, but they squander their remaining fortune on gaudy, expensive jewelry. The grandmother watches in horror, pleading for caution, but Yoshi scoffs, arrogantly boasting about the endless depth of her pockets. The old woman is truly at her wit's end with her daughter. She had pitied them when they returned in tears, claiming they had been cast out with nowhere else to go. Now, she deals with a spoiled granddaughter and a daughter hell-bent on setting their entire fortune ablaze with greed. She warns them of the looming poverty, but Yoshi merely sneers. She declares her right to waste her gold however she pleases. The grandmother mentions that the money came from her niece. That name acts like a spark to dry kindling, and Yoshi erupts in a vicious rage. The mere mention of Sei makes her skin crawl. Just picturing that girl's condescending gaze is enough to make mother and daughter retch with envy. Meanwhile, our heroine faces her own looming shadow. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 delivers an invitation from his mother. She wishes to introduce 𝓑 to the extended wolf clan within their ancestral village. But there's a catch. The village is filled with beastmen who despise all of humanity. Fearing for her safety, 𝓢𝓸𝓵 hesitates. But 𝓑 is resolute. Declining a mother's invitation is unthinkable, regardless of the danger that awaits her. She yearns to truly know his family. As their journey begins, an exhausted 𝓢𝓸𝓵 falls into a deep, dreamless slumber. Riri and Tatamasa watch in awe as their guarded lord sleeps openly. 𝓑 alone understands. He's worked himself to the bone for her sake. She silently prays this journey brings him the peace he so desperately needs. The wolf village awaits. It's a distant, rugged land, but it's the cradle where her beloved Saku was raised. Upon arrival, 𝓑 assumes this is Tatamasa's home too, but he reveals he was born under a different moon. He met 𝓢𝓸𝓵 on the battlefield. Suddenly, a frantic beastman lunges forward, his voice trembling as he calls for the Lord. Saku demands answers, only to learn that something terrible has happened to his mother. They race to his childhood home, finding Lady Ritsuko gripped by a violent cough. Her long-standing illness has taken a sudden, devastating turn for the worse. 𝓑's heart aches for her, yet she is the one truly in danger. The door slams open as a beastman brings water for the lady. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 desperately pleads for silence and calm. He greets the newcomer as his uncle, but the man's face is a mask of pure, icy hatred as he glares at 𝓑. He shoves 𝓢𝓸𝓵 aside, claiming only he can protect his sister. His resentment for our male lead is palpable and cold. Even as 𝓢𝓸𝓵 offers his new cure, the uncle's fury remains. The man sees only the ghost of 𝓢𝓸𝓵's father in his eyes. He cruelly drives them out, insisting the lady needs solitude to survive her affliction. Later, 𝓢𝓸𝓵 softly assures 𝓑 that his mother is resting. She has always been fragile, a delicate flower battling a constant storm. He tells her not to fear, but as they prepare to meet the clan, 𝓑's heart hammers against her ribs. Fear paralyzes her as she enters a hall filled with predatory eyes, all fixed solely on her. A human surrounded by wolves who despise her kind, it's a living nightmare. Their hunger and hostility are impossible to ignore. The tension in the banquet hall is thick enough to cut. One wolf barks a command, forcing them to enter the lion's den. 𝓑 recognizes him instantly. He was the one tending to 𝓢𝓸𝓵's ailing mother. Her terror begins to ebb as she feels 𝓢𝓸𝓵's steady presence beside her. The Lord steps forward, offering his gratitude to the pack for their hospitality. He presents 𝓑 as his future bride. Showing deep respect, she performs a 90-degree bow until her forehead touches the floor. While some glares remain cold, many are captivated by her ethereal and breathtaking beauty. A kind wolf offers a seat, as 𝓢𝓸𝓵 introduces the woman as his beloved aunt, 𝓑𝓐. 𝓑𝓐 introduces the Kamashiro clan, revealing a surprising truth. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 is the sole heir and an only child. His father passed long ago, leaving a heavy silence. 𝓑 realizes how little he shares about his painful past. Seeing his hesitation, his aunt begins to unveil the family's hidden history to her. 𝓢𝓨𝓪 was a legendary white wolf who married his childhood soulmate Ritsuko in a match ordained by fate. They were the ideal couple, yet Ritsuko's brother watches with visible disdain, clearly loathing 𝓢𝓸𝓵's late father. Bitterness lingers over the man's early death. 𝓑𝓐 then introduces the Jinu family at the second table. These are Ritsuko's relatives, led by Taiko, the eldest son who has been relentlessly provoking our couple. His devotion to his sister is legendary. He never forgave 𝓢𝓨𝓪 for taking her away from their home. As 𝓢𝓸𝓵 speaks of his father, a rare, genuine smile finally graces his handsome face. 𝓑 senses their profound bond, but only the Kamashiro side seems to cherish these precious memories. Taiko snaps, demanding to know why 𝓢𝓸𝓵 would return to the military and serve as a human weapon once more. Despite the family's pleas, Taiko rages against the cruel and unfair treatment of beastmen soldiers by humanity. Guilt crushes 𝓑, fearing her presence forced him into this dangerous sacrifice. But 𝓢𝓸𝓵 remains unfazed. The chains of the past no longer bind his heart as they once did. He declares that meeting his bride taught him that respect transcends the boundaries of race and blood. His vow to bridge their two worlds touches 𝓑 deeply, while his uncle only scoffs in pure annoyance. Whispers fill the room. Though peace seems impossible, this union offers a flickering spark of hope for all beastmen. Taiko's patience snaps. He slams his cup, venomously declaring that this marriage is doomed to fail. Even if his sister blessed this union, he refuses to acknowledge a human in their bloodline. He warns of a dark instinct, the terrifying moment a wolf transforms into a mindless, bloodthirsty man-eater. He tells of a man who once chose love over his tribe, fleeing with a human bride against all odds. Their romance became a nightmare when his beastly hunger took over, ending with him devouring his own wife. Terrified of such a monster in the family, he demands 𝓢𝓸𝓵 prove his self-control. 𝓢𝓸𝓵's silence is deafening. Tycho's suspicion grows. Is his nephew already secretly craving the taste of human blood? The lingering hesitation only fuels the fire of Tycho's dark accusations against the young lord. He suspects 𝓢𝓸𝓵 developed a lethal addiction after his brutal encounter with Shuichi. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 denies the craving, but his uncle sees only a mask of lies. The tension is reaching its breaking point. Suddenly, his wife silences him with a sharp blow, dragging the stubborn man away. Though the feast is soured, Sei can't take her eyes off the troubled Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵. Night falls, and 𝓢𝓸𝓵 visits to offer a quiet goodnight after his uncle's dramatic outburst. She feigns composure as he leaves, but the moment the door closes, her forced smile instantly vanishes. She felt his trembling nerves. Now she understands why he's been so afraid to even touch her lately. The next morning, Sei searches for him, finding him training the village children in the way of the sword. She watches from afar, mesmerized by his deadly grace and overwhelming, masculine charm in battle. Surrounded by blushing maidens, it's clear the commander is a heartthrob. Even our heroine can't look away. Lord 𝓬𝓫 reveals that 𝓢𝓸𝓵's prowess comes from years of brutal training as a frontline soldier. Sei is shocked. She only knew him as a gentle and skilled military doctor. But in this world, every beastman is forged into a weapon for the battlefield. While the children marvel at his strength, a sudden, cold voice calls out to Sei. A jealous admirer steps forward, eyes flashing as she challenges Sei's right to be the Lord's bride. Meanwhile, in the capital, Chiyo indulges in luxury, throwing gold around like it's worth nothing at all. Wrapped in silk and arrogance, she believes she is destined for a life of endless fortune. Whispers of flesh-eating monsters haunt the city streets. Terrified by the beastmen sightings, she flees and loses her way. Savage voices echo from the dark. These are no ordinary beasts, but man-eaters. The sight of human blood freezes her soul. Chiyo turns to flee. Her scent betrays her. Chiyo Fujigamin is trapped like a cornered rabbit. A routine trip becomes a nightmare as the wolfman claims his prey. Crimson eyes paralyze her. The black wolf stares into her soul. Dead men tell no tales, yet the black wolf hesitates to kill. With soldiers surrounding the city, she is off the menu today. She begs for mercy, but they have no use for her promises. The black wolf leans in close to memorize her sweet scent. Chiyo flees into the night while the predators watch her escape. Haunted by those eyes, Chiyo breaks down in the cold darkness. Elsewhere, jealous socialites corner our heroine with venomous words. They sneer at her humanity, a mere girl among high lords. To them, he is a god. Sei is just a human intruder. Riri and 𝓬𝓫𝓵 grow furious at the insults of these noble wolves. 𝓬𝓫𝓵 urges her to ignore the biting words of these children. The great Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 arrives and the crowd falls silent. Fans swarm the Lord, pushing Sei into the lonely shadows. He ignores the praise, only seeking the gaze of his bride. Her admiration transforms the mighty warrior into a bashful boy. The crowd is stunned to see their cold leader actually blush. But the Lord is not the only one drawing curious eyes. Soldiers admire Sei while 𝓢𝓸𝓵 burns with possessive rage. He orders a brutal training session to punish their wandering eyes. Amidst the chaos, Akane watches with a heart full of envy. A mysterious figure lurks in the doorway watching them all. Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 visits his sick mother as heavy family burdens weigh in. He urges her to rest and focus only on her health. This union is for the family, a bridge between two races. To survive the coming era, they must unite with human blood. Lady Ritsu listens as her son praises Sei with adoration. She sees past his claws. Sei knows no racial bounds. Our male lead feels unworthy of the girl who stayed. His mother sees the truth. He is terrified of this love. Sensing a presence, Haku rushes out to an empty hallway. Panic strikes him. He fears Sei heard his deepest vulnerabilities. Eavesdropping rarely brings peace. It only breeds more painful doubt. Sei stands trembling. Does he truly wish to end the engagement? She masks her fear, hoping Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 still wants her. Dinner is cold and silent. Sei cannot even find her appetite. Remembering his past pleas, she chooses to trust him once more. Back in the capital, the military arrives at Chiyo's front door. The investigation begins as they hunt for the monsters among them. The soldier's description triggers a nightmare. It's the black wolf that haunted Chiyo. Her screams echo once more in sheer terror. Mention of beastmen sends shivers down her spine. Meanwhile, the soldier returns to report his findings to Colonel Kagami. The trail of the Black Wolf has gone cold. He mentions the mysterious girl who seemed paralyzed by beastmen-related talk. Kagami feels a flicker of recognition, yet he dismisses the girl as utterly beneath his notice. A chilling worry lingers. This Black Wolf possesses an intellect far beyond any ordinary beast. This elusive predator has feasted on humans for years without capture. The soldier suggests letting the beastmen, the ultimate trackers, take over. Kagami denies the request. Though powerful, he fears the beastmen's innate hunger for human blood would trigger a massacre. They require a beastman possessing a truly unbreakable spirit. A mysterious expert is summoned. While Sei's heart grows heavy, 𝓢𝓲𝓵𝓭 hasn't shared her bed, leaving her in cold solitude. Since their arrival, a wall of distance remains between them. Little does Sei know, this day will be quite strange. Unexpected visitors arrive for Sei, but these girls aren't looking for a fight. Their aggressive aura has completely vanished. They've come to offer a sincere apology for their previous cruelty towards Suhaku's future bride. They attempt to flee in shame, but Sei's kindness stops them in their tracks. She invites them for sweets instead. The mere mention of sugar has the girls drooling like hungry pups. For a moment, laughter and candy fill the air. But this fleeting peace is shattered by an approaching shadow. A suspicious wolfman emerges from the trees. Akane gasps, recognizing her childhood friend, 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭. He appears to be seeking his father, Teo, yet he remains eerily silent with a haunting downward gaze. Akane offers him a treat, thinking he's just being shy. Suddenly, he violently strikes her hand away. His eyes glaze with madness as he lunges at Sei, thirsty for her blood. Death snaps at her face, but Lord Suaku appears like a lightning strike. He violently flings the attacker away from Sei. Santa is pinned, yet he snarls like a demon. Our male lead realizes the boy has lost his soul to bloodlust. His feral appearance confirms the worst. He has become a man-eater. Sei trembles, having stared death in the eyes. Tatamasa arrives to assist, while Lord Suaku admits he was secretly guarding his precious Sei from the shadows. If he hadn't been watching over her, she would have been lost. Meanwhile, Santa continues his frenzied assault. Suaku restrains him, calling for his medicine. He prepares an experimental suppressant, even if its success isn't guaranteed. It's their only hope. The commotion finally draws Lord Teo out into the courtyard. He roars about his sister's peace, but his rage explodes upon seeing Suaku pinning his own son to the dirt. Suaku warns that Santa has tasted human blood. He must remain restrained until the madness subsides. Teo is horrified, but Santa's own confession seals his fate. A friend had tempted him with human blood. Tatamasa scoffs, noting that such a friend is nothing more than a devil in disguise. Suaku demands to know the source. Santa confesses that the blood was smuggled directly from the capital. Disappointed and furious, Teo nearly strikes him. How could he risk the eternal curse of addiction? The boy weeps for mercy, but Teo is blinded by the need for a harsh, traditional punishment. Lord Suaku intervenes, stopping his uncle's hand. He believes the boy can still be saved from his darkness. With the suppressant working, recovery is possible. However, Suaku's gentle gaze suddenly turns into ice. He might forgive many things, but an attempt on his fiancée's life is an unforgivable sin. He demands accountability. Trembling, Lord Teo falls to his knees, begging for Suaku's royal mercy. The irony is bitter. He despised man-eaters, only for his own blood to become one. He accepts any sentence. But Sei, ever the angel, steps forward to stop the kneeling and grant forgiveness. Since Lord Suaku saved me, I'm unharmed. I won't pursue this, but my lord shall decide your ultimate fate. Her fiancé delivers his verdict. Santa will remain under his personal watch to monitor the boy's unstable condition. The cold-hearted Teo is finally broken by their overwhelming grace and compassion. Tears of gratitude fall as he thanks them. Then, Sei notices blood dripping from Suhaku's hand. Ignoring his own injury, he pulls her into a desperate embrace. In front of everyone, he only cares that she's alive. In the silence, Sei feels him trembling. The invincible lord was actually terrified of losing her. Realizing how much he truly treasures her brings her immense joy. She knows he fears their racial divide, yet she won't yield. She tries to bandage his wounds, but her touch is clumsy and unskilled. She apologizes, forgetting this beast is a complete slave to her heart. To him, she is perfection. Their hearts race as she remembers how he risked his life to be her shield. Grabbing his hands, she pours out her gratitude, causing the fierce lord to blush a deep crimson once more. He fears their different bloodlines, but Sei is ready to embrace the man behind the beast. Lord Suaku drowns in guilt, apologizing repeatedly for the terror she had to endure. With him as her protector, she feels no fear. She finally vows to be his wife forever. His man-eating urges don't scare her. It is clear she heard their dark secrets yesterday. He chooses honesty over anger. To her, his inner monster is a burden they will carry together. After years of peace, the truth emerges. 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭 confesses that his hunger once nearly consumed her. The darkness took hold the moment he returned from that hellish military prison. He whispers that bloodlust and desire are one. The more he loves her, the hungrier the beast grows. He longs to marry her but lives in terror, desperately seeking a cure to unite their species. 𝓍 prays for a miracle, but he admits the medicine was only a flawed attempt at salvation. It can quiet the monster within, but the shadow of the beast never truly fades away. Desperate for a cure, he loses faith in his own genius and fears their future is fading. 𝓍 offers him a smile of pure faith, believing their bond is stronger than any failed drug. Her trust only stings. To him, the medicine is vital because he no longer trusts his own heart. "I am just a beast," he spits. 𝓍 hates how he talks down on the man she loves. He has hidden his wolf since the war, but she begs him to stop hiding his true self. She pleads to see his beast form, but for the first time, his heart turns to stone. Terrified she will see a monster. He storms out, ignoring her desperate cries for him to stay. 𝓍 is left shattered. Outside, the servants watch in terror as the Lord marches away in rage. They fear a fracture in this fated bond, and they are not the only ones sensing the storm. Lady Ritsuko watches her son's shadow, while 𝓍 refuses to let the cold night end this way. Snow begins to fall, dusting the world in ice, yet 𝓍 stands firm against the biting frost. She prays for his return, but the figure emerging from the white is not her beloved lord. Through the swirling snow, the matriarch appears. 𝓍 yearned for the son, but found the mother instead. They watch the winter sky together. 𝓍 frets over her health, but Lady Ritsuko offers a knowing smile. The lady apologizes for their cold welcome, but 𝓍 harbors no resentment for her new family. 𝓍 wraps her blanket around the elder, forgetting that the blood of the wolf runs hot and wild. The winter chill is nothing to a beastman. Yet 𝓍's stubborn kindness refuses to let her go unprotected. "My gloves are plenty," 𝓍 insists. That innocent spark brings a rare smile to the lady's regal face. 𝓍 is captivated. In that elegant smile, she sees the striking resemblance to the man she loves. A sudden apology breaks the silence. The weight of forcing this union finally crushes the lady's heart. She confesses her fear. The family legacy was fading, threatened by the rise of superior foreign alchemy. To save their falling house, she gambled everything on a political marriage with the 𝓍𝓸𝓵𝓮 bloodline. They needed to spread their medicine abroad to reclaim their family's lost glory. Seeing their pain, she realizes her mistake. She sacrificed their joy for duty and offers her deepest apology. 𝓍 refuses to blame her. Instead, she weeps, believing she failed to support the man she loves. Seeing 𝓍's spirit wither, the lady decides to unveil the tragic secrets of 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭's forgotten childhood. Long ago, the fierce lord was a fragile boy. While his mother withered from illness, he grew up alone. The tiny boy would weep by her bedside, begging the heavens not to take his mother away. With his father always away, he bore his grief alone, forging a heart far too gentle for his kind. Fear gripped Lady Ritsuko's heart the moment 𝓢𝓸𝓭 chose the dangerous path of a battlefield medic. She feared his habit of suffering in silence, yet Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓭's medicinal resolve remained completely unyielding. His burning desire to heal left her powerless, despite viewing her son as a fragile soul. However, 𝓍 saw only strength and kindness, falling for the noble heart beneath his quiet exterior. Their journey was a chaotic storm of passion, swinging from tranquil moments to bitter misunderstandings. She recognized his inner turmoil for what it truly was, an overflowing ocean of devotion for her. 𝓍's bold confession of love left Ritsuko flustered, finally revealing the depth of 𝓢𝓸𝓭's hidden pining. His paralyzing fear of marriage stemmed from pure love, echoing the ghosts of Lady Ritsuko's past. Years ago, her own failing health cast a shadow, fearing she would leave her husband behind. To spare her lover from a lifetime of mourning, she desperately pushed 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭 away. Recognizing the same cycle, Ritsuko urged 𝓍 to stay, pleading for her to reconsider their future. The dawn would bring a final reckoning, and this time, Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓭 would face the truth. Ritsuko summoned the pair, granting them the freedom to decide their fate without the weight of pressure. Demanding their raw honesty, she silenced 𝓢𝓸𝓭, insisting that 𝓍's voice be heard above all else. She warned 𝓍 that a beastman's bride faces a world of endless, painful trials. As she questioned 𝓍's resolve, a heavy silence filled the room, stretching the tension to its limit. 𝓍 bared her scarred hands, revealing the marks of a devastating inferno from 10 years ago. Ritsuko gasped, remembering that a decade prior, her son served on the front lines of military rescue. Realization struck Suhaku was her savior that day, tending to her wounds with a tenderness Sei never forgot. His swift intervention halted her agony, leaving only these physical reminders of a life-changing encounter. Far from shameful, these scars were precious trophies of the kindness Suhaku had etched into her soul. She spoke of his infinite warmth, how he cherished every heartbeat and understood her soul's silent cries. Yet, the cruel divide between human and beastmen threatened to tear their blossoming love apart. As blood rivals by birth, a future together felt like an impossible, forbidden dream. Despite their perfect bond, marriage seemed an unreachable shore, leaving Lord Suhaku's heart drowning in despair. But Sei defied the laws of the world, caring only for the man standing before her. With a heart ablaze, she declared her eternal devotion, shattering the chains of social taboos. As tears welled in his eyes, Sei reaffirmed that he was the absolute center of her universe. She vowed to wait forever for his cure, begging him to finally stop his cruel self-sacrifice. Pledging her life to him, Sei turned, only to be stunned by the sight before her eyes. Transformed by emotion, a weeping, beastly Suhaku reached out, finally returning her desperate confession of love. Lost in their own world, they ignored Ritsuko, who watched with a heart full of maternal joy. Innocent Riri glowed with joy, witnessing the miracle of their hearts finally intertwining once more. Bursting into tears, the girl confessed her terror that their bitter conflict would never find an end. Unaware of the chaos they'd caused, Sei gently soothed the child, promising a future of peace. Their moment was shattered when Lord Teo arrived, bearing urgent news that demanded Suhaku's immediate attention. Anxiety for Santa flared, but Teo revealed the boy still battled his dark, predatory instincts. Lord Suhaku sensed the end was near. The minimal blood consumed meant the madness would soon fade. Teo presented the vile samples Santa had seized, causing a wave of revulsion to wash over Suhaku. These corrupted offerings from Santa's inner circle were passed into Suhaku's hands for a grim investigation. Though the evidence was dangerous, Suhaku kept it, as a guilt-ridden Teo warned him of its corruption. Seeking redemption, Teo pledged total loyalty, prompting our male lead to make a bold, decisive request. He demanded Santa's presence at the capital, intending to harness the boy's blood for his vital research. Departure loomed, and though Santa remained bedridden, Teo swore to deliver him to the capital soon. With opposition crumbled, a radiant Ritsuko began spinning dreams of an extravagant royal wedding. Sei pours out her gratitude. The woman blushes, then makes one final request. To wed Saku, Sei must call her mother. Our heroine happily obeys immediately. Suaku is stunned to see his mother's face beaming with such joy. Riri and Tatamasa grin like creeps, watching the couple sleep side by side. The lovers reach the Kamashiro estate, where Sei greets a weary Lord Edward. While Sei was away, Edward was left drowning in Fujikamine Company's paperwork. Business is booming, and he reassures Sei. Truly, poor Lord Edward is overworked. The couple immediately assigns him a new task. Recruit a foreign doctor. Edward is floored. His medical contacts are all overseas. How can he possibly bring them here? Seian urges Edward to find someone. He agrees, though he's curious why. Suaku is developing a suppressant for beastmen, but he lacks a doctor's expertise. As a beastman, no human will even look him in the eye. The language barrier blocks his path to foreign doctors. He needs Edward's help. He dreams of a world where beastmen and humans can finally coexist. Moved because his own lover is a beastwoman, Edward vows to succeed. Chio is back! She shakes her mother down for some shopping money. She ignores her mother, who has gone mad, whispering to her coins. Chio prepares to head out, demanding someone dress her like a princess. She barks orders at her grandmother, but the old lady ignores her. Fed up, Grandma disowns Chio on the spot and chases her away. Infuriated, Chio storms off to a cafe to blow all her cash. She feigns happiness, but her twisted expression reveals her deep misery. A shadow looms behind her. Suddenly, she's snatched into a dark alley. A hand mutes her screams. Her captor grins, recognizing his target immediately. He reveals predator-sharp fangs. "I've been so worried about you," he sneers. Fearing she'll report them to the military, he shifts into a terrifying wolf. Memory strikes Chio. He was with the black wolf that attacked her. Facing death, Chio begs for mercy. To our disappointment, a savior appears. The black wolf lunges, attacking his own friend. Chio is stunned. Why would a beastman save her? The attacker is equally confused. The black wolf growls a warning. "Don't you dare touch Chio again." Terrified by his presence, the beastman grovels and begs for forgiveness. The black wolf brings Qiu home to tend to her bleeding hand. Qiu's heart thunders in her chest, not from love, but pure terror. One wrong move means death. She trembles as he treats her wounds. He smirks at her fear. "Relax," he says, "I won't eat you." He claims he doesn't hunt women, but Qiu knows he's a monster. Then a strange confession. He tracked her down using her sweet scent. The predator confesses his obsession. He simply couldn't forget her unique aroma. Now Qiu's heart is racing from love. He guides her back safely. He warns her to stay safe, looking genuinely worried for her. As Qiu leaves, the wolf grins. Meanwhile, Lord Teo arrives in the capital. Santa's hunger has vanished, but Teo requests a checkup. Santa looks fragile. Santa bows, apologizing for the past. He vows to assist the research. Hope blooms. Edward secures the doctors, and the legendary research begins. Spring's arrival paints the world in pink as Sei wanders the gardens with her maids, marveling at the cherry blossoms in full, breathtaking bloom. She yearns to share this view with Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭, but lately, her mysterious husband has been buried under a mountain of work. His obsessive research has kept them apart for weeks, until a sudden commotion shatters the garden's peace as 𝓢𝓸𝓭 rushes toward her side. The man is completely out of breath, his clothes soaked in sweat as he gasps for air. Sei's heart hammers with worry, but he quickly reassures her he brings glorious news that even the maids can sense coming. Since their schedules finally aligned, 𝓢𝓸𝓭 whisks her away for a long-awaited date to see the cherry blossoms, just as she wished. He leads her deep into a majestic forest, a hidden sanctuary located just beyond the manor's edge. Just as we think our beastly lead's romantic feelings are finally awakening, he reveals this sacred ground was actually his father's creation. Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 had carved this paradise out for his beloved wife, knowing her soul belonged to the beauty of the ancient woods. Moved by his family's legacy, Sei is surprised when 𝓢𝓸𝓭 declares it's time they write their own legendary love story together. Our heroine's face flushes crimson as she admits her joy, though her mind still lingers on his dangerous medical progress. With a nonchalant air, he reveals the breakthrough the suppressant is finally finished, which is why he raced back to her side. Through Santa's blood and a foreign doctor's genius, they've synthesized a serum to silence the primal, man-eating hunger forever. Sei's own medical expertise was the final piece of the puzzle, and together, the three of them have achieved the impossible. Overjoyed, she showers him with praise as he unveils the shimmering vial, the fruit of his relentless and difficult labor. Though untested, they believe it will quell both the hunger and the beastly mating instincts, proving 𝓢𝓸𝓭's noble heart knows no bounds. He's already prepared doses for the Kamashi estate, intending to distribute this salvation to every beastman serving in the military. Once its safety is verified, this miracle will be shared with every beastman across the entire kingdom to ensure lasting peace. A world where humans and beastmen coexist is finally within reach, and Sei vows to support 𝓢𝓸𝓭's vision until the very end. But the future begins right now. In a moment of pure magic, Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓭 pulls out a shimmering, handcrafted ring. Sei's breath catches in shock. Is this the proposal she never dared to dream of? The answer is a resounding yes. Inspired by Lord Edward's tales of overseas customs, 𝓢𝓸𝓭 handcrafted a band designed to fit perfectly even over her gloves. Before she can find her voice, he slides the ring onto her finger, its radiant beauty leaving her completely mesmerized. He presses a tender kiss to her hand, apologizing for the long delay as he finally speaks the words in his heart. Finally, our lead asks Sei to be his wife, to conquer the divide between their two races forever by his side. Will she become his eternal bride? Shockingly, Sei looks him in the eye and says no. Only joking. Our girl happily accepts, finally closing the chapter on her long days of suffering and fear. Beneath the falling petals, they share a soul-stirring kiss that heals every scar in Sei's heart as the estate begins celebrating. The big day has arrived. The maids are left speechless by Sei's ethereal, transcendent beauty in her bridal attire. They can't wait for Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓭's reaction. And right on cue, the groom enters and is instantly struck dumb by the sight. Draped in pure, shimmering white, Sei looks like a goddess. The long-awaited wedding ceremony is finally about to begin. She is a vision in her wedding gown, so radiant that the powerful Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓭 completely forgets how to speak. He stares with such intensity that Sei flushes with shyness, though her beast has truly transformed into a romantic prince. He reminds her of their first engagement, recalling how he thought she was the most stunning woman alive even back then. That conviction has only grown stronger. He tells Sei she is breathtaking, proving he's mastered the art of charming his lady. His words bring a radiant smile to her face as the ceremony begins, and Lady Ritsuko solemnly hands Sei to her son. As they share the ceremonial wedding drink, a wave of melancholy hits Sei as she remembers her late parents. She aches for them to see this moment, yet feels their warm presence watching over her from the heavens above. Suaku's intuition is sharp. He senses her grief and reminds her that everyone present is now her true, loving family. Sei is deeply moved, but Suaku isn't finished, it seems. He's determined to make this the most emotional day of her life. He swears a sacred vow, promising to cherish her forever because she loved him despite his monstrous, beastly nature. Their union will serve as a beacon of hope, bringing the beastmen and humans closer together for generations to come. Tears of joy finally fall as Sei stands speechless, making a silent vow to match his devotion with all her heart. She pledges to love Lord Suaku for eternity as the grand wedding banquet kicks off in a spirit of pure happiness. Lady Ritsuko knows their ancestors are smiling down, confident that despite their busy lives, this couple will flourish forever. Their wedding night arrives, yet the couple finds solace together under the quiet, moonlit sky. A destiny sealed by vows. Today, Sei truly becomes the wife of the powerful and mysterious Lord Suaku. Bound by marriage, a wave of bashful tension washes over them as their legendary new journey finally begins. After months in isolation, Sei prepares to leave her lonely annex behind to enter the manor with Maru. Maru's frantic barks signal a protest Sei can't decipher, but her husband understands the beast's hidden language. He translates the pup's grievance. The manor's slippery floors are far too treacherous for Maru's paws. His father built this haven for love. If Maru is happy here, Sei shall stay within its walls. Sei hesitates. They are husband and wife now, and a shared life means no more separate chambers. Sei's heart flutters with a shameful longing for Suaku. Unbeknownst to her, the beast's cold heart now beats only for her. He pulls her into a fierce embrace, vowing to return nightly. Their passion ignites as he sweeps her to the floor. Lost in their own world, they forget they are outdoors, oblivious to the innocent dog watching them. Sei finally snaps back to reality and warns him. Driven by hunger, he carries her straight to the bedroom. The Lord's control shatters. Even suppressants cannot stop Sei's scent from driving him wild in a brand new way. No longer a predator hunting prey, the beast simply wants her. He decides to finally stop holding back. Suaku confesses his deep desire for her. Finding her heart mirrors his own, they surrender to a night of intimacy. Sei awakens at dawn in Suaku's protective arms, but the powerful man looks on with a hint of soft regret. He simply wanted to treasure her sleeping face longer. Sei teases him, promising him many more chances to watch her. Knowing he will see her every night brings him joy. He hugs her tightly, finally savoring their newfound bond. Days pass, and Lord Suaku finally returns to his post. One look at his devastatingly handsome features makes Sei's deep obsession perfectly clear. Suaku smirks, his cheeks flushing as he teases her. Sei simply beams, admiring how dashing her husband looks in uniform. The Beast Commander returns to his post. Despite his inner turmoil, Sei's gentle words provide the strength he needs. A final farewell marks his departure. Back at headquarters, a cloying scent of floral perfume immediately puts Suaku on high alert. The intruder is none other than Colonel Kagami. With a serpent-like grin, he welcomes the legendary commander back to duty. News of the marriage has spread. Kagami offers honeyed blessings, yet Suaku senses the venom hidden behind his hollow words. Refusing the shallow pleasantries, Suaku demands the truth. Kagami's expression darkens as he prepares to deliver devastating news. The unthinkable has happened. Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭 has broken free. How could such a dangerous predator like Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 escape? The colonel reveals that yesterday, while soldiers were transporting Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 to court, the routine transfer turned into a nightmare. Seizing a weapon in a flash of violence, he slaughtered 2 guards before vanishing into the dark shadows. Suaku's eyes narrow in suspicion. Strict military protocol dictates that every prisoner must be shackled during the car journey. Without a shred of remorse, Kagami claims the restraints snapped. This convenient failure allowed Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 to tear them off. While Kagami shrugs it off, Suaku seethes at this disgrace. Unfazed, the colonel orders the beastmen to hunt 𝓢𝓸𝓵 down. He recounts the chilling descent into madness the Lord displayed while imprisoned. Obsessed with the Fujigamian trading company, 𝓢𝓸𝓵 raved it was his. He denied all guilt, blaming others for stealing his legacy. The target of his obsession is clear. A cold dread settles over Lord Suaku as he realizes the looming danger. Exiting the office, Suaku finds a sea of loyal beastmen. Their cheers echo a long-awaited homecoming for their respected leader. Moved by their loyalty, Suaku acknowledges his comrades. Meanwhile, inside the office, Kagami's eyes gleam with dark, hidden excitement. With Saku back, the pieces are set. Suhaku returns to Sai that night, but his brow is now heavily furrowed. Sensing his heavy aura, the girl questions his distress. Kagami's warnings haunt his mind, fueling a protective fire within. Overwhelmed by emotion, he pulls Sei into a passionate embrace, but their intimate moment is suddenly shattered by Maru's arrival. The loyal guardian still views Lord Suaku with hostility. Irritated, the commander reminds the stubborn dog he is married to Sei. Maru scoffs, ignoring the lord entirely. He only softens when Sai embraces him, leaving Lord Suhaku captivated by her warmth. Lord Suaku pulls her into a sudden, crushing embrace. His uncharacteristic intensity sends a chill of dread through her. He finally reveals the truth. Lord Jiru has escaped his dungeon. The news strikes her like a physical blow. Terror grips her heart as she realizes her uncle is free. Lord Suaku senses her fear but must continue. Since her life is at stake, he begs her to stay calm and listen to the looming danger. Suaku receives his first mission from the colonel: hunt down Lord Jiru immediately. For Sei's sake, Suaku vows to capture her traitorous uncle personally. Fearing for her safety, he assigns Sei an additional elite bodyguard. To Sei's shock, the protector is a face she knows very well. Lady Senri arrives. The fierce soldier will be Sei's new shield. As the ladies reunite, their enemies' lives crumble into absolute ruin. Yoshi's mother finally snaps, throwing her daughter out into the street. With nowhere to turn, Yoshi begs for a mercy she doesn't deserve. Sick of her greed, the old woman tells Yoshi to use a hotel. Amidst the chaos, Chio vanishes, leaving her mother in a panic. Escaping everyone, Chio's heart yearns for only one being: the Black Wolf. Chio's soul burns with envy over everything Sei has rightfully gained. Status, family, love, Chio wants it all and returns to the wolf. She obsesses over the beastman, treasuring even the filthiest rag he touched. Suddenly, the Black Wolf appears, calling the intruder a troublesome pest. Despite her hate for beastmen, she is captivated by his dangerous aura. Moved by her tears, the wolf offers to hear her sorrowful tale. Chio weaves a web of lies, framing Sei as a cruel villain. As an outcast himself, the wolf sympathizes with Chio's deceptive tears. In that moment, two lonely souls believe they've found true understanding. He flirts boldly, taking her hand before revealing his stunning human form. His hidden face is so handsome, it leaves Chio completely flushed. With a sudden kiss, he promises to be her ultimate protector. Yet, even in bliss, Chio only cares about surpassing Sei's happiness. Meanwhile, Sei finishes her work as Senri showers her with praise. Senri seeks Sei's guidance, while Tatamasa mocks her lack of focus. Amidst the laughter, Sei worries about tomorrow's critical trade meeting. She must secure rare materials to support Lord Suaku's military rise. Suaku returns home, finding his dedicated wife deep in official documents. He urges her to rest, fearing his beloved is overworking herself. Their quiet tea is interrupted by a frantic, screaming voice outside. It's her aunt, hysterical with news that Chio has gone missing. While guards stand ready, Sei is paralyzed by a terrifying suspicion. The timing is perfect. Jiru escapes, and now Chio has vanished. A chilling fear takes hold as Suaku rushes back to headquarters. He reports the disappearance to the cold colonel, Rendu Kagami. The Kagami family legacy is built upon the legendary Marshal Kagami. The Marshal stands as the supreme commander of the imperial military. Under Rendu's authority, Suaku navigates a world of absolute power. But the colonel's only obsession is catching the fugitive Jiru. Rendu mocks Suaku, demanding cold results instead of simple tracking. Chio's fate meant nothing to him, until a certain detail surfaced. Rendu asks about the Black Wolf, a beast whispered in nightmares. Legend says the monster has feasted on humans for decades. Rendu reveals the wolf is here, accompanied by a purple-haired girl. Haku stood paralyzed, his mind racing. Was that really Chio? Rendu's sharp eyes confirmed the match. Finding her was their only path to Lord Jiru. Our protagonist's mission shifted once more. A dark premonition haunted him, knowing the Black Wolf now held Chio in his grasp. Time was running out to locate them. Unbeknownst to him, the girl was already deep within the Black Wolf's secluded manor. When the master returned, she welcomed him with a devoted embrace. Every clandestine task he'd assigned was executed to perfection. His cold approval made her spirit glow. In that moment, she allowed herself to believe his heart finally belonged to her. Despite his frequent disappearances, she felt a strange devotion. As he shifted into his human visage, Chio's obsession only deepened. He was a god among men. Joy finally bloomed in her heart. While while Sei waited at 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭 as 𝓢𝓸𝓵 brought a shadowed guest. Sei had requested their presence for a vital operation. Her team was stretched thin, and their survival depended on this extra help. 𝓢𝓸𝓵's face lit up with pure delight. The shrouded woman finally unveiled her identity, revealing herself as the elusive 𝓢𝓼𝓼𝓽. Sensing 𝓢𝓼's deep-seated discomfort with her human skin, Sei checked on her. When the hood fell, a legendary beauty was revealed. Our heroine couldn't look away, drowning 𝓢𝓼 in praise. She was completely captivated by such divine elegance, but they weren't alone. 𝓢𝓼𝓵 recalled the sheer shock on Lord Edward's face. His uncharacteristic loss of composure had been both hilarious and awkward. 𝓢𝓼 vowed to master her human vessel, prompting 𝓢𝓼𝓵's playful teasing. Surely, she was just prepping for a romantic night with Edward. But 𝓢𝓼's next words chilled the room. She had canceled their date. The weight of her transformation still felt like a cage. One slip of focus could turn her back into a beast. She refused to let Lord Edward face the shame of her true nature. She pleaded for patience, needing time to feel worthy of standing by his side in this human world. Fear of disappointment drove her to work harder than ever. Sei's heart ached, knowing the world's hatred forced Edward and 𝓢𝓼 into hiding. If they were merely human, they could walk hand in hand beneath the sun without a single worry. Our heroine's resolve hardened to create the suppressant. It was the only key to liberation for all beastmen, and her next meeting was crucial. Securing this partnership meant access to elite medical tech. It was the only way to mass-produce the cure and change history. She was prepared to risk everything for this dream. But would the cost of this freedom be too high for her kin? The investor arrived, demanding to see her vision. Our heroine laid out her plans for a massive factory dedicated to the suppressants. Universal access was her goal, making the drug affordable for every beastman while promising a fortune in returns. The man seemed intrigued until his mask slipped. He sneered, calling the beastmen mere animals who were desperately mimicking their betters. Rage simmered beneath Sei's skin. She countered that her goal was true freedom, not a desperate attempt at imitation. They weren't faking humanity, they were finding their own place. The man scoffed, casting mocking glances at 𝓢𝓪𝓿 and 𝓑𝓸𝓵𝓭. He insulted them openly, assuming their beastly ears couldn't grasp his language. He agreed to the deal, but only for the gold. To him, the beastmen were nothing more than a profitable commodity. Sei realized with horror that she'd walked into a snake's nest. His outward kindness was a lie to mask his deep-seated prejudice. She loathed working with such a monster, yet her hands were tied. The tension snapped when 𝓢𝓼 entered. The man launched into a cruel tirade, convinced she was too dim-witted to understand him. Little did he know, 𝓢𝓼 had been studying in secret. Every vile word he spat cut through her like a poisoned blade. Overwhelmed by terror, the poor girl's form flickered into her beast state. As a panic attack seized her, the man only laughed. Lord Edward's fury erupted like a volcano as he roared for the man to stop. She had only intended to serve him tea. The client's arrogance knew no bounds. He recoiled in disgust, refusing to touch anything handled by a filthy creature. Edward looked ready to strike. Sei stepped in, ordering Edward to take 𝓢𝓼 away while she handled the rest. The man smirked, drunk on his own corporate power. He believed he held Sei's entire future in the palm of his hand. He assumed a fledgling business owner wouldn't dare strike back. He was a hypocrite of the highest order. He despised her people, yet craved their money. He thought he was the master of the board, but Sei was about to flip it. To his utter disbelief, she tore up the proposal. The room fell silent as she chose her pride over his dirty coins. The man's face went pale as he reminded her of the stakes. No other titan in the industry would take a chance on her now. But our heroine didn't blink. She would rather struggle with honest allies than build an empire on a foundation of betrayal. He spat one final insult to hide his humiliation before fleeing like a coward. 𝓑𝓸𝓵𝓭 and 𝓢𝓪𝓿 watched the chaos, utterly lost. Though the words were a mystery, the scent of battle was unmistakable. Meanwhile, 𝓢𝓼 was drowning in her own despair. Guilt crushed her spirit, convinced her very existence had ruined everything. She vanished into the shadows, weeping in bitter isolation. Lord Edward didn't hesitate to give chase. He found her broken and trembling, desperate to bring his beloved back into the light. He urges her to ignore the business, but 𝓢𝓼 is consumed by shame and a lack of self-worth. Unable to control her shifting form, her grief lingers until he suddenly confesses his love for her smile. He has been captivated since her first laugh, caring little whether she stands as a beast or human. His love is pure, yet the once confident man turns shy, lamenting their ruined romantic date and confession. His awkward charm brings her joy. His heart soars seeing her grin, especially after she reciprocates his deep love. Embracing tightly, the lovers ignore the mysterious predator watching them from the dark. Watching from afar, our heroine smiles. She senses a shifting tide that will soon change their cruel world. She dreams of ending the hatred for beastmen, sacrificing everything so both races can finally live in peace. Refusing to yield, she begins scouting for new manufacturing partners capable of massive, large-scale production. Determination fuels her search for loyal allies. Meanwhile, Lord Suhaku remains buried in his own high-stakes investigation. His scouts finally catch 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭's scent, leading to a dark alley known as a beastman sanctuary. Human blood flows as currency here. Our protagonist senses a dark, hidden conspiracy. With rumors pointing to the capital's blood trade, why would a noble like Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 hide here? Sensing a hidden gaze, our lead spots a lurker and immediately bolts after the escaping shadow. He corners a suspect who appears harmless, yet the metallic tang of human blood clings to his rags. The suspect realizes Suhaku is actually a formidable beastman soldier. Suspecting a man-eater, our hero prepares an arrest. Suddenly, the beastman lashes out with savage, desperate violence. He mocks Suhaku for serving humans. His taunts vanish when our lead reveals his terrifying, beastly true self. With effortless grace, Lord Suhaku pins the attacker, demanding to know if he has tasted human flesh. The man claims he only drinks blood, revealing his source is the infamous and elusive Black Wolf. Our heroine places a vital call. Despite the tension on their faces, hope is finally arriving for them. A partnership is forged. Together, they will manufacture life-changing suppressants for all. Joy is tempered by technical hurdles, but the company offers their own advanced machinery to bridge the gap. The president harbors a secret affinity for beastmen, mourning a friendship severed by the world's cruel prejudice. Haunted by regret, he seeks to heal the world so no one else loses a cherished companion. Celebration ensues. Mizo shyly requests leave for her long-awaited romantic outing with Lord Edward. With a playful wink, our heroine sends the blushing pair off. Watching them go, her heart feels light. Determination burns brighter than ever. Yet, a shadow lingers. The whereabouts of Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 and Qiu remain unknown. Sei fears a gathering storm of malice. Her instincts are correct. Qiu is already weaving a dark web. Now the Black Wolf's consort, Qiu waits in his lair. Her dark devotion is rewarded when he returns. He appears deathly ill. Spotted, he hungrily craves blood, and Qiu instantly offers a bottle to soothe him. Blinded by lies, she views him as a saintly savior who merely buys blood from willing human sellers. She remains ignorant of his criminal status as he spins another elaborate web of deceptive tales. Weaving a tragic past, he blames his parents for his cursed thirst, finally admitting his man-eating nature. He feigns a desire for redemption, claiming he only wants a peaceful life by her side forever. These honeyed words enchant Qiu. She truly believes she has found a soulmate in this monster. She vows absolute loyalty, promising to stand by him and fulfill his every dark whim without question. As she embraces him, she misses his wicked smirk. The Black Wolf remains a predator to the core. His presence in the capital always signaled a bloodbath. Still, the Phantom Killer has eluded capture for years. Dread fills Lord Suhaku. Sightings confirm the Black Wolf is accompanied by a woman matching Qiu's description. Our hero suspects a bloody trade. He fears Qiu is actively aiding the wolf's horrific black market enterprise. His intuition is dead on. Pushing aside his thoughts, Suhaku and Senri head toward the restricted archives. A guard rudely blocks Senri's path. Despite her need for 𝓢𝓸𝓵's escape records, he denies her entry entirely. He barks that she should just focus on her duties as a lowly battlefield slave. The guard's snarl turns to a bow for Lord Suhaku. Senri tosses a witty insult as they pass. Sei's blood still boils from that man's audacity. Meanwhile, Suhaku demands the files on Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵's escape. The records mirror Kagami's story perfectly. Too perfectly. Our cold duke senses a foul play. A solo escape? Impossible. Someone paved the way, but every potential witness has conveniently vanished. Digging deeper, Suhaku finds Kagami's name everywhere. He controlled the entire investigation himself. This stinks of corruption. Why would a high-ranking commander like 𝓢𝓸𝓵 personally handle grunt work? He dumped the case on Suhaku instantly. Inspecting the rusted shackles, our hero notes their ancient decay. To snap precisely, today is far too convenient. Frustration mounts as every lead turns into a dead end. Sei cheers up, eager to see her friend. Armed with exotic treats, she is ready to ditch her husband. Tomorrow is the Lord's rare holiday, and he intends to shadow Sei's every move during her secret meeting. The meeting is a triumph. Hope ignites as the deadline for the new suppressant finally feels within reach. Sei vows to succeed. As she turns to leave, her husband stops her, proposing a rare, spontaneous date. Sei's heart flutters in shock. This stoic beast of a man is actually acting quite adorable. Jealous of others, 𝓢𝓸𝓵 nervously offers a date. Fearing rejection, he is relieved when 𝓬 gladly accepts. Radiant with joy, she prepares for their outing. Suddenly, a heavy vehicle screeches to a halt beside them. A mocking voice ridicules their public display. It is that persistent snake, Colonel Kagami. He haunts them like a persistent ghost. 𝓢𝓸𝓵's patience thins as he demands to know why he is stalking them. Kagami smirks, claiming he is merely on a mission and stumbled upon them while heading back to headquarters. A total coincidence? Saku doesn't buy it. The colonel turns to 𝓬, boldly attempting to kiss her hand. 𝓢𝓸𝓵's protective instincts flare as he blocks the man. Kagami laughs it off, feigning ignorance of their marriage. Fury blazes in 𝓢𝓸𝓵's eyes, but 𝓬's touch calms him. She politely acknowledges the colonel to keep peace. He reminisces about their last encounter with a sinister smile. How he sees anything with closed eyes is a mystery. Kagami is playing with fire. He ignores the predatory glare of the wolf standing right in front of him. Cold sweat drips down 𝓢𝓸𝓵's neck. This man knows way too much about 𝓬's personal life and business. He mentions her new company and the project. His praise feels slimy, masked under a layer of false concern. He whispers a cryptic warning about the black wolf. 𝓬 is left bewildered by this sudden dark omen. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 growls that his wife is already guarded. Kagami just scoffs, implying that mere guards won't be enough. He drops a bombshell. The Black Wolf and Lord 𝓲𝓫 are linked. The revelation leaves our couple stunned. Desperate for answers, Saku demands more info. Rendu simply waves him off, delaying the truth until tomorrow. After ruining their date, Kagami tells them to rest. Night falls, but 𝓬 is haunted by the wolf's shadow. Rumors paint him as a phantom menace, a threat to the military whose true face remains hidden in darkness. This monster is the architect of the gruesome man-eating incidents currently terrorizing the heart of the capital. Why did her uncle dance with such a devil? 𝓬 places her ultimate faith in Saku to deliver justice. Dread pools in her stomach. A storm is coming. That night, sleep is a luxury neither can afford. Seeing her distress, the Lord offers his warmth. He invites her into his arms to chase the shadows away. He intended only to comfort her, but 𝓬 takes charge. Her sudden, passionate kiss leaves her blushing. For the first time, she leads. She whispers an apology, admitting she needs his body to forget her fear. Driven by desperation, she seduces him. She begs him to touch her, wanting to drown out her mounting worries. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 eagerly submits. He too is troubled, unable to forget how Kagami hungrily eyed his precious wife. It felt like an attempted theft of his soul. Danger loomed close, though he tried to dismiss it as paranoia. 1,000 questions plague his mind. But tonight, his only priority is the woman trembling in his arms. After a night of burning passion, 𝓬 awakens to find her handsome husband gazing at her with devotion. A breathtaking sight, yet embarrassment strikes. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 looks on with a tender, apologetic smile. He fears he was too feral last night. Seeing her smile, he pulls her close for more moments of bliss. Resisting further temptation, 𝓬 heads to work. Her heart feels heavy, knowing Saku won't return home soon. With her protector fighting in the shadows, she vows to become a force of nature in her own right. 𝓬 stops for sweets to surprise her allies, but a ghost from her past suddenly appears. Shockingly, the owner is Shuichi's former wife. Destiny truly loves a complicated, twisted reunion. Instead of bitterness, the two ex-wives share a smile. They are both thriving without that man. Tuko reveals this shop is her family's legacy, reclaimed after she finally escaped Shuichi's shadow. Unlike 𝓬's cruel kin, Tuko's family offered sanctuary and a meaningful role managing the shop. Noticing Tuko's previous pregnancy, 𝓬 asks to meet the child, who is an absolute bundle of joy. The curious boy fixates on 𝓬 as she beams, yet her kind words move Tuko to tears. Tuko had long prayed for this meeting, never forgetting the profound kindness 𝓬 once showed her. Inspired by our heroine's light, Tuko found the courage to finally live an authentic, honest life. Overwhelmed with gratitude, she offers congratulations before asking the burning question on everyone's mind. When will an heir arrive? Under Shuichi, pregnancy was impossible due to his own hidden incompetence. Now remarried, Tuko urges 𝓬 to start a family, certain she'll be a truly devoted mother. We agree. The mere thought of a child with Lord Saku leaves 𝓬 blushing like a maiden. Though Saku hasn't mentioned heirs, 𝓬 secretly yearns for his child while he remains totally oblivious. Saku reports to Colonel Kagami, but the man guards the truth about 𝓲𝓫's shadow over the wolf. The colonel insists on finishing his tea first, leaving a seething Saku completely powerless to act. Kagami holds all the cards regarding 𝓲𝓫's secrets. Saku must endure this power play until he speaks. Kagami reveals intelligence from captured beastmen who confirm seeing 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭 conspiring with the Black Wolf. Saku demands the location, and Kagami reveals the meeting happened within the infamous Red Light District. In that den of vice, Madame Kokano's relaxation is shattered by news of a high-ranking military arrival. Panic surges through her. Why is the military here? Her servant is met only with cold silence. The mysterious officer demands a direct audience with the woman who rules this den of pleasure. The servant's description of his striking looks points to only one man, the military's most handsome lieutenant. Kokano realizes the truth. It's the White Wolf, Lord Saku. Intrigued, she finally grants him entry. As Saku enters the district, a swarm of seductive women try to lure him into their embrace. Senri stares in disbelief as humans and beastmen mingle freely here, stripped of their usual animosity. Saku explains that race is irrelevant here, making it the ultimate hideout for 𝓢𝓲𝓼𝓽's dark dealings. They storm the Congo brothel, demanding the madam, who greets them with a chillingly elegant introduction. Once the district's most coveted jewel, she now rules this house of sin with an iron fist. She assumes Saku knows her history, just as she has uncovered every secret regarding the wolf. Despite being a beastman, his immense wealth and scandalous human marriage are the talk of the town. Kokano simmers with jealousy. He's exactly her type, but Saku isn't here for her charms. Saku presents 𝓢𝓼𝓵's portrait. Fear flashes in her eyes as she clearly recognizes the target. Saku presses her, knowing the Black Wolf was here, certain she holds the key to their location. But Kokano won't talk for free. She demands a special benefit before helping the military. Saku narrows his eyes, questioning her price. Her request? It is dangerously simple and incredibly bold. She demands to be his mistress and taste his prowess. Sai would certainly hate that idea. Saku delivers a cold rejection. His heart belongs to Sai. The wolfwoman's face contorts with rage. Suddenly, eerie noises echo through the halls. Outside, they discover beastmen imprisoned within cold iron cages. While Saku is horrified, the staff remains indifferent to these women battling a forbidden primal hunger. During the heat of mating season, a beastwoman's instincts turn deadly, risking a lethal assault. To avoid prison, the brothel cages them until their savage, meat-craving bloodlust finally subsides. Seeing their agony, Senri feels pity. Elsewhere, another woman begins a furious, arrogant tantrum. She screams for the finest silks, delusional in her belief that she will rule this house. It's the insufferable Chiyo Fujigamin. The weary maids depart, whispering curses about her endless vanity. Chiyo's arrival at the pleasure house was met with immediate scorn. Her arrogance sparked a fire of resentment among the women. They questioned why Madame Kokano even bothered with her. Whispers of a dark romance spread like wildfire through the halls. Rumors say the Black Wolf is smitten with her. Yet, the other maids scoff at such an impossible idea. But Chiyo is consumed by her own obsession. To capture that man's heart, she'll climb to the very top. She vows to become the nation's most legendary courtesan. Meanwhile, Lord Suaku and Sai are on the move. Their destination is the heart of the city's darkness. They are heading straight into the notorious Red Light District. Senri is stunned to see a noble lady in such a den of vice. But Sai wouldn't be denied. She forced Suaku's hand to deliver the desperate medicine. He had already confided in her about the suffering women. Their monstrous hunger was a curse that tore their souls apart. Our kind-hearted heroine couldn't stand by. She chose to walk this dangerous path beside him. They enter the district and are immediately swarmed. A sea of women clamor for Suaku's attention. They all dream of stealing a single night with the Lord. Senri, ever the gossip, leans in with a smirk. This happens every single time. It seems her husband's charm is truly a force of nature. Jealousy flares in our heroine's eyes as she glares at Suaku. His beauty is truly a dangerous weapon. Countless women must have fallen for his captivating gaze. The male lead silences the crowd with a single vow. Sai is his only love. As she blushes, Suaku gives Senri a cold, warning look. Peace is a luxury the Congo brothel can no longer afford. The other girls have reached their limit with Chiyo. They demand Madame Kokano take immediate action. They want that arrogant girl gone for good. Chiyo demands luxury but refuses to learn the arts of a courtesan. She is a parasite in silk. Her lack of grace and selfish heart are beyond repair. The girls are certain of one thing. No man would ever truly desire such a hollow woman. Madame Kokano's patience is wearing thin as she promises a confrontation. But first, she must deal with the starving beasts under her roof. The agony becomes unbearable for the cursed women. Their screams echo in the dark. Madame Kokano desperately tries to keep their fading hope alive. To survive in this world, they must endure this hell. She barely settles them before a shadow falls over the room. Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 has finally arrived. He comes bearing a gift of salvation, the suppressants. He presents the medicine to Madame 𝓮𝓻. It's a chance to silence the beastman's cannibalistic hunger. The madame stands frozen in pure disbelief. A cure for the hunger was thought to be a myth. Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 explains it's a revolutionary breakthrough. He urges her to help her girls, but she hesitates. Fear for her girls outweighs her hope. She cannot believe a simple pill can break such a powerful curse. She suspects a trap. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 pleads for her to place her faith in him. His only mission is to end this cycle of agony. No one should have to suffer like this. He begs her to save them from their inner demons. Just as the tension peaks, Sai steps forward. She reassures the terrified madame with a gentle voice. She sees the terror in Madame 𝓮𝓻's eyes. Their only intent is to offer a lifeline to the suffering. She reveals that 𝓢𝓸𝓵 himself has proven the drug's power. The madame's eyes widen in realization. She finally recognizes the lady standing before her. This is the legendary wife of Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵. When the next wave of hunger strikes, Madame 𝓮𝓻 finally relents. She will let them try their miracle. She watches with bated breath as 𝓢𝓸𝓵 administers the drug. Doubt still lingers in her mind. She repeatedly asks if this tiny pill can really work. The silence is broken by a soft, trembling voice. The girl whispers that the pain has vanished. Madame 𝓮𝓻 stands paralyzed by the miracle. 𝓢𝓸𝓵 offers the same salvation to all the courtesans. He promises a steady supply for the house. The chains of hunger are finally breaking. In exchange for this mercy, he demands the truth. He wants everything she knows about the Black Wolf and the treacherous Lord 𝓲𝓼𝓵. Madame 𝓮𝓻 retreats to her chambers, her mind racing. 𝓢𝓸𝓵's words have ignited a spark of hope. There is someone she is desperate to save. She opens her door only to find a predator waiting. The Black Wolf sits in the shadows. He smells her fear as she recoils in terror. She forced a smile and embraced him with trembling arms. He reminds her that he is her only provider. After all, he brings the blood. The dark truth is revealed. The Black Wolf is her dealer. He has been selling human blood to keep the brothel running. She accepts the crimson payment while shaking with dread. He warns her about the military's prying eyes. One wrong word could end everything. A cold threat hangs in the air. If she betrays him, he will expose her forbidden trade. The world will know her hands are stained with blood. It's even worse, she is a consumer of the blood herself. If the authorities find out, she'll be hunted like an animal. Frustrated, she snatches the bottle and turns away. She knows the stakes better than anyone. She won't breathe a word of their dark secret. Her thoughts drift to the enigmatic Qiu. She still can't understand why the girl is really here. Qiu dreams of being the top courtesan, but she's far too naive. The Black Wolf dismisses her concerns. He orders 𝓮𝓻 to leave the girl alone. He has his own reasons for keeping her there. Days later, Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 and Sai return to the neon-lit district. The women greet them with tears of joy. The suppressants worked wonders, and the hunger is gone. Now, every girl in the house begs for relief. Sai's company has increased production of the miracle drug. They intend to use this leverage with Madame 𝓮𝓻. Information is the ultimate prize. But Cruelty is skeptical about their progress. Madame 𝓮𝓻 has been avoiding 𝓢𝓸𝓵 like the plague lately. She rejects every request for a meeting. The courtesans believe she simply doesn't trust the medicine, but the truth is far more dangerous. Eavesdropping on the whispers, 𝓲𝓵 seeks the truth about the madam. The girls praise her as a benevolent guardian. Once the realm's most legendary beauty, her grace captured every heart in the capital during her radiant prime. Upon retiring, she founded her own house, treating her girls with a sisterly compassion she once lacked herself. They adore her like a mother, but a shocking secret emerges. Madame 𝓮𝓻 bears the blood of a hidden son. Stunned, 𝓲𝓵 listens as Tatamasa confesses to hearing dark rumors about this long-hidden secret lineage. Long ago, the madam bore a half-human child. The women confirm his words, shocked that he knows such secrets. With a heavy sigh, he reveals his past life as a soldier led him through those shadowy district streets. Tatamasa's loose tongue finally backfires as Cruelty's irritation peaks. Suspecting his infidelity, she fumes while the terrified man scrambles to explain himself. He desperately claims his presence is strictly professional. After all, this district is the premier hub for gathering clandestine intelligence. Their bickering draws amused laughter from the courtesans. Amidst the chaos, Lord 𝓢𝓸𝓵 notices his young wife's intense, unwavering gaze. Fearing Tatamasa's blunders might tarnish his own reputation, 𝓢𝓸𝓵 quickly pleads his innocence. He swears he has never strayed. But infidelity was never on her mind. Our heroine is simply reeling from the revelation that humans and beastmen can conceive together. 𝓲𝓵 confirms the possibility, yet warns of its rarity. For different races, bringing new life into this world is nearly impossible. A wave of sorrow washes over her. Ever since meeting 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭, she has secretly dreamed of raising Lord 𝓢𝓲𝓼𝓽's child. She once longed to blame her ex-husband for her empty womb, but those past grievances now feel utterly insignificant. Their biological divide presents a cruel barrier. Sensing her deepening melancholy, 𝓢𝓲𝓼𝓽 draws closer, desperate to soothe her aching heart. He whispers that she is his entire world. Yet, despite his tender devotion, the sting of disappointment lingers within her soul. Her heart aches for his legacy. Elsewhere, Kokoi's servant panics, rushing to tell his mistress that Lord 𝓢𝓲𝓼 has finally arrived. The soldier stands firm, refusing to budge without seeing her. The servant wavers, while Kokonoi remains caught in deep confusion. These suppressants are her girl's only hope. She longs to trust our heroes, yet the Black Wolf's presence strikes paralyzing fear. The servant rushes back to our leads with a message. The madam has finally agreed to grant them an audience. A moment of shared relief brightens the room, but it shatters instantly. A cold, mocking voice pierces through the air. That voice is unmistakable to say. It belongs to the very girl they've been hunting for, 𝓢𝓲𝓵𝓭. Chiyo emerges, her gaze dripping with disdain for Sai. Our heroine stands frozen, stunned to find her cousin in this place. Chiyo scoffs at the question, flaunting her lavish silks. She boldly declares her path to become the city's most legendary courtesan. Sai's blood boils. Ever since Chiyo vanished, her mother has been desperately scouring every corner of the land for her. She demands to know the truth. Her husband delivers a shocking blow. Chiyo has been conspiring with the Black Wolf. Retracing steps to a few days prior, the Black Wolf corners Chiyo, exposing the dark underbelly of his secret operations. He admits to harvesting human blood within the brothel. As his business decays, he seeks her help to revive his empire. Meanwhile, Chiyo is pressured to become a courtesan. Though she is unwilling, the man uses honeyed praise to trap her. Exploiting her vanity, he whispers honeyed lies, promising she'll reign as the brothel's most coveted flower. Hubris takes hold. Chiyo envisions the world kneeling before her radiant beauty. Claiming her as his own, he demands she blossom. These words ignite a dangerous, unwavering devotion. In the present, a fearless Chiyo boasts of her dark alliance and the wolf's twisted affection. To her, his passion eclipses 𝓢𝓲𝓼𝓽's cold heart. She would sacrifice her soul for him. Meanwhile, a shadow haunts our heroine's family, starting with her uncle's mysterious illness. Now her cousin serves the beast. 𝓬𝓬𝓫 sneers, amused by the girl's pathetic, blind innocence. 𝓬𝓼𝓿 senses the trap and warns her. But Chiyo bristles, deaf to the predator's true nature. Chiyo snarls for silence, her deep-seated envy of her cousin's effortless perfection finally exploding. The sight sickens her. 𝓬𝓼𝓿 trembles, but Lord 𝓢𝓲𝓼's firm hand restrains her. He sees past the facade. Words won't change Chiyo. Only the cold steel of arrest remains. Treason! Chiyo's secret ties to the Black Wolf are unmasked, leaving her world shattered and exposed. Eerie growls erupt. Before they can seize her, bloodthirsty beastmen emerge, craving a human feast. Lord 𝓢𝓲𝓼 shields Chiyo from the slaughter. 𝓬𝓬𝓫 guards Sai as 𝓬𝓼𝓿 joins the fray. The beasts fall, but 𝓢𝓲𝓼 is wounded. Suddenly, a swarm of starving monsters surrounds them. The guards lose focus, and Chiyo seizes her chance. Suddenly, a hand strikes. Lord 𝓢𝓲𝓼 senses a chilling presence nearby. The Black Wolf emerges from the shadows. Chiyo's heart leaps with hope, believing her savior has finally arrived. Coldly, he ignores her. Pure pandemonium erupts as the facility descends into total chaos. Panic spreads among the soldiers, while beastmen howl for blood. 𝓢𝓲𝓼 knows the Black Wolf orchestrated this nightmare. He wonders what the predator is plotting. The wolf silently seizes Chiyo, leaving the furious soldiers behind. They charge to block his escape, but he hurls a vial of blood directly at Lord 𝓢𝓲𝓼. The tainted blood ignites a primal madness. Beastmen swarm 𝓢𝓲𝓼 like a pack of starving predators. Chiyo pleads for him to flee, but the Black Wolf remains silent and unmoving. Amidst the carnage, no one notices the wolf lunging towards Sai with terrifying speed. Terror grips Sai and 𝓬𝓬𝓫. Those piercing red eyes lock onto her soul with murderous intent. 𝓢𝓲𝓼 lunges forward to shield his wife. The wolf glares one last time before vanishing into the night. 𝓬𝓼𝓿 vanishes in pursuit. 𝓢𝓲𝓼 frantically checks Sai, praying his beloved isn't wounded. He is certain the wolf has been nesting in Congo, awaiting the perfect moment to strike. A hidden accomplice must exist. All evidence points toward the treachery of Madame 𝓮𝓮𝓏. 𝓢𝓲𝓼 demands the truth. Cornered, Madame 𝓮𝓮𝓏 begins her tragic and dark confession. Peer pressure forced her son to taste forbidden human blood, sparking a devastating addiction. He was a gentle soul who chose self-harm over hurting others. 𝓬𝓮𝓻 felt completely helpless. Then the Black Wolf appeared, offering a deal, a dark trade fueled by illicit blood. The transactions began. 𝓬 recalls the dark whispers among the courtesans regarding the Madam's son. The boy had vanished from sight as 𝓬𝓮𝓻 struggled to hide his monstrous transformation. She sacrificed her girl's safety for her son's hunger, unable to watch him suffer any longer. 𝓬𝓻 demands to see the boy. 𝓬𝓮𝓻 pales, fearing the Lord intends to execute her son. She begs for mercy, offering her own life to spare her child from punishment. 𝓬𝓻 remains firm. She is arrested for her role in the Black Wolf's blood trade, but his intentions are merciful. He truly wishes to save the boy from his curse. He plans to use military suppressants. Recovery will be a long and grueling road for the boy. 𝓬𝓻 vows to do everything possible. He will not abandon the boy to the darkness. Tears of gratitude fall as 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓭 finally quells the remaining rioting beastmen. He uncovers the evidence. A tainted bottle of blood is handed over to Lord 𝓬𝓻. A stimulant was mixed in. The Black Wolf was secretly drugging his own clients all along. He anticipated the investigation. This violent chaos was his carefully planned exit strategy. 𝓬𝓻 confesses everything, revealing the sinister connection between the wolf and Lord 𝓲𝓼. Secret meetings occurred within the brothel. She confirms 𝓲𝓼's identity without a single doubt. Their ultimate goal remains a mystery. 𝓲𝓼 vanished shortly after their final secret meeting. The beggar had become a wealthy lord. The wolf provided the means for his transformation. 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓭 suspects their alliance began long before 𝓲𝓼 was ever thrown into a prison cell. The wolf orchestrated the escape. 𝓬 remains deeply worried about her cousin's dark fate. The wolf abandoned 𝓬𝓼 there, entrusting her care to the madam's hands. 𝓬 fears she was being sold. 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓭 doubts the wolf's motives were that simple. Selling her wasn't the objective. His true intentions for 𝓬𝓼 remain shrouded in mystery. 𝓬𝓼's value is a puzzle. Senri returns to the brothel, having lost the wolf's trail. He vanished like a phantom. Every search in the city led to a dead end. 𝓬𝓻 prepares to report the incident. Madame 𝓬𝓮𝓻 is led away in heavy chains. Her girls cling to her. She confesses her sins to them with a heavy heart. She accepts her penance. Her girls vow to wait faithfully for her eventual return. Overwhelmed by kindness, she weeps. Her heart overflows with deep regret. If only she'd found the medicine sooner. Now, 𝓬 targets the red light district. She vows to bring this miracle drug to every struggling woman there. Madame 𝓬𝓮𝓻 praises her spirit. Meanwhile, the Black Wolf returns home. He cancels the plan. A far more tempting prize has appeared instead. 𝓬𝓼 is forgotten. He only sees 𝓬. Lord 𝓬𝓻 seeks the colonel. The path is blocked. The colonel is away. Report to me now. He hands over proof. The wolf and Lord 𝓲𝓼 are definitely allies. The soldier is stunned. 𝓬𝓻 actually faced the legendary Black Wolf. The rumors are true. Midnight fur and eyes like fresh, red blood. He's a monster. 𝓬𝓻 is now determined to hunt him down personally. 𝓬 prepares sweet treats. She can't wait for her husband's first bite. Love is blooming. 𝓬𝓼𝓵𝓭 is missing, hidden away for his rut leave. Senri turns beet red. What scandalous thoughts are filling your head, girl? Despite the medicine, 𝓬 insists he rests until the fever breaks. Fear haunts Senri. 𝓬 remembers the suffering in the red light district. The rut is a curse. Every beastman battles their own inner demon. Some endure in silence. As a horse, her nature is much calmer. She lacks the carnivore's hunger. For predators, the rut is pure agony. The cycle continues. Lord 𝓬𝓻's time of trial is fast approaching. Their wedding night was a ghost. He hasn't touched her since then. Dinner goes cold. Lord 𝓬𝓻 has locked himself away in total isolation. He looks deathly pale. 𝓬 fears the darkness has finally claimed him. The warnings return to her. Is this the beast's rut taking hold? He's too proud to ask for help. She must go to him. She finds him in bed. Her presence catches the Lord completely off guard. She offers a gentle excuse. He claims he's merely exhausted from work. He begs for rest. 𝓬 offers to bring him a sweet dinner. She turns away, but his grip is iron. She falls onto him. His lips burn her skin. Panic rises. Is the beast finally awake? Memories of their first night flood back. The room feels heavy with desire. He craves her warmth. He begs for her to stay and accept. Her heart races wildly. Married or not, the tension is absolutely electric. She feels like a blushing child. She confesses her love and yields. A night of passion follows. The two finally find peace in each other. She asks about his rut. He's stunned by her innocent, confused question. Senri's rumors misled her. She thought all wolves shared a single season. He is in rut, but his suppressants make the beast feel mild. His intensity wasn't instinct. It was pure, unfiltered love for his wife. She hides her blushing face. He can't help but tease her shyness. It wasn't the rut. Just seeing you makes me lose all control. He kisses her hair tenderly. His gaze is enough to melt anyone. One round wasn't enough. The next day, our heroine is glowing. She's a love-struck fool. Senri knows exactly what happened last night. The new pharmacy is booming. Her dream of saving others is real. A sudden knock shatters Sei's thoughts. Who would dare visit at this hour? Henry opens the door to a shocking guest. Why is Colonel Kagami standing there? An uninvited visitor arrives, none other than Kagami himself. He is here specifically for Sei. Sei is stunned but greets him politely. Kagami senses her shock and offers a cold apology. Demanding a private audience, he dismisses Henry. Left with no choice, she can only obey. As he enters, a cloying scent of perfume drifts past. What truly brings him here? She brushes off the fragrance as personal taste, unaware of the darkness behind his visit. Though he once assisted her, his deep-seated hatred for beastmen makes him a dangerous ally. He is Suaku's superior now, yet his presence sends a chilling shiver down her spine. Distracted by the tea, Sei doesn't realize he is looming behind her until it is too late. I like this scent, he whispers. Sei freezes in terror before he mentions the tea. Relief washes over her as she serves him. He chuckles, admitting his fondness for sweet aromas. His smile feels like a mask. The conversation turns dark as he mentions the brothel incident. He presses for details about the Black Wolf. Those haunting, predatory eyes still flicker in her memory. The sheer terror of that wolf nearly stopped her heart. Kagami offers a hollow, mocking sympathy. He pities Madame Kokeno for being a puppet. Sei worries what cruel fate awaits the woman. Kagami assures her the punishment will be light, as she was merely a minor pawn. Her cooperation guarantees an early release. Sei finally lets out a breath of pure relief. He mocks her kindness toward beastmen. Why does he harbor such intense, irrational hatred for them? When questioned, he offers no reason. He simply despises their very existence with every fiber. He will stop at nothing to hunt the wolf. Then, his tone shifts to something personal. He demands the truth about Lord Jaru. He holds a secret that will shatter her world. He accuses Jaru of conspiring with the wolf and murdering her parents. Despair instantly consumes her. The wolf has vanished for days. Is he avoiding her? Is she just a useless burden? The thought of being discarded is unbearable. Without him, her fragile world would completely crumble. She vows to do anything to keep him. Meanwhile, Kagami prepares to drop another bombshell. She denies Jaru's guilt, but Kagami's next revelation is even more bone-chilling than the first. Every victim of the Black Wolf was tied to her family legacy, the Fujigamen Company. Suspicion grows. Kagami demands a full account of everything following her grandparents' tragic deaths. He sees her trembling in shock, but coldly orders her to stay focused on the truth. Steeling herself, she recounts the company's history, a legacy passed from her grandparents to her father. Jaru's bitter resentment was no secret. Kagami is certain he had every motive for murder. Inheritance is a bloody business. Sei protests, recalling her own narrow escape from the inferno. Does she truly believe her uncle spared her? Her innocence only makes Kagami laugh mockingly. Memories of the fire resurface. Her father saved her, then ran back into the flames. Neither parent returned from the smoke. 11 years have passed, yet the memory remains vivid. So many lives were lost. How could her own flesh and blood be such a monster? The fire's cause was never found. Arson was always possible. Then, a chilling memory strikes her. Those haunting words echo in her mind. You were supposed to die in that fire. Her heart shatters. Kagami, relishing her agony, promises to investigate further before departing happily. The next day, Suaku confronts Kagami. He is furious that Sei was subjected to such trauma. Kagami dropped those bombshells without proof. Yet he remains dangerously confident in his theory. Enraged, Suaku snaps and lunges at him. He should have been told before his wife. Kagami brushes him off like a nuisance, ordering Suaku to focus on finding Lord Jaru. Suddenly, Suaku's grip falters as if he has seen a ghost. Kagami only sees coward's fear. He reminds the man of the treasonous strike, yet grants Suaku calculated mercy. Leaving the capital, he thrusts the investigation upon Suhaku, demanding swift, undeniable results. Meanwhile, cold sweat drapes our male lead as a world-shattering secret takes root. Beneath the colonel's heavy perfume, the primal musk of a beast lingers unthinkable for a human. But why does the colonel reek of wild blood? Worse, that scent is terrifyingly familiar. It's the Black Wolf. As the colonel departs, his eyes flash with predatory crimson. There's no time for shock. Suaku bolts after him, chasing shadows around the corner. But the man has vanished into thin air, leaving only a gaping window. Kagami took the plunge. Only a monstrous beastman could survive a lethal drop like that. Exposing him is suicide. Kagami is a military titan, revered by all as human. Without ironclad proof, Suaku's accusations will only lead to his own swift destruction. He needs evidence, fast, but fate strikes again as Senri delivers a crushing blow. His precious wife has collapsed. Suaku flies home, finding her pale and fragile. Fear grips him as she confesses her morning dizzy spells turned into total darkness. The trauma is resurfacing. That black wolf forced her to relive her parents' slaughter. Fearing she's a burden, she urges him back to his important duties. But the Lord won't budge. He's staying by Sei's side to soothe her spirit. She yearns for warmth. Shifting into his beast form, he anchors her in a protective embrace. Tears fall as memories of Kagami and her parents' bloody demise tear through her. She feels like a mere spectator in this cruel game of fate. While her husband hunts her traitorous uncle, she feels like a useless weight. He hushes her, reminding her that as spouses, they share every heavy burden. Touched, her sobs are cut short by his endearing attempts to wipe her tears. His sweetness brings a laugh, and a tender kiss follows. Seeing her smile, his resolve hardens. To keep her safe, Kagami must be destroyed. The clock is ticking. The colonel departs in 3 days. The monster must be stopped. Suaku must drag the black wolf into the light before the 3-day deadline. But the trail is cold. Investigations reveal Kagami's mother died and his history is shrouded. With a missing father and a grandfather's shadow, his past is a fortress. How could a noble heir be a beast? Kagami surely erased every footprint of his. Traditional investigation is a dead end. Suaku is chasing ghosts and wasting time. Desperate, he enters his medical lab to brew a deadly, truth-revealing trap. He begins concocting a risky serum, a gamble that could backfire or save them. An unexpected guest arrives, Lord Teo, seeking the village's vital supply of beast suppressants. Suaku had actually invited him, but recent chaos had wiped his memory clean. He offers a tired apology, which Teo brushes off with an understanding nod. Teo meant to slip out, but hearing of Suaku's return, he stayed to visit. As Tatamasa secures the medicine, a shadow of ancient regret flickers in Teo's eyes. He speaks of a fallen man-eater, sparking Suaku's curiosity about the old village tale. Long ago, Teo spoke of a beastman who defied all odds for a human's love. The village's rejection twisted that love, ending with the beast devouring his own bride. Uncle Teo just handed him the key. The tragic bride was from a prestigious military family. A chilling realization strikes this story as far too familiar. He presses for details. Teo describes the killer, coal-black fur and eyes like burning rubies. The final piece falls. Teo confirms the beastman left a child with his human wife. Lord Suhaku uncovers the chilling truth. Kagami's father, a monstrous beastman, ruthlessly devoured his own wife. This confirms it. Kagami is the Black Wolf. Our lead rejoices, while the arrogant colonel remains blissfully unaware. Armed with this lethal evidence, Suaku is finally ready to dismantle Rinu's fragile facade. Trapped in the wolf's den, Chio spirals into madness, longing for her captor. Suddenly, the heavy doors creak open. Hoping it's him, Chio rushes forward, only to freeze in absolute paralyzing horror. The Black Wolf returns with a guest, the very man who sold her, Chio's own father. Forget a touching reunion. Jiru's eyes burn with fury as he demands why Chio dared sell his precious company. This cold father values profit over blood, interrogating Chio like a common criminal for his lost fortune. Panicked, the girl shifts the blame to her mother, desperately trying to shield herself from his wrath. Jiru's rage doesn't flicker. Sensing danger, Chio drops to her knees, pleading for mercy like a servant. The Black Wolf intervenes, commanding Lord Jiru to stop. Instantly, the girl falls under his dark spell once more. Her eyes overflow with misplaced adoration, blind to the fact she's just a pawn in his grand game. When she questions her father's presence, the wolf shuts her down with a cold, piercing silence. Dismissing her like a nuisance, he earns Jiru's sinister respect for his absolute mastery of manipulation. Who could have guessed the prestigious colonel who arrested him was actually the legendary Black Wolf? The mask finally slips. The Black Wolf's human identity is confirmed. It was the colonel all along. The arrest was a sham. He handed Jiru a weapon and sabotaged the cuffs, orchestrating a perfect escape. Recognizing the colonel's ruthless efficiency, Lord Jiru proposes one final, bloody task for his dark ally. His goal? Reclaim the company and assassinate Sei. Unbeknownst to them, Chio hears every murderous word. Despair consumes her. Why target her cousin? She cares little for Samor, yet the cruelty stings. Obsessed with the wolf's love, our heroine is oblivious to the death warrant hanging over her head. Tadamasa breaks her trance, reading the anxiety for Lord 𝓢𝓪𝓭 written across her trembling face. Her fears are justified, for the fated day of reckoning has finally dawned upon the capital. As Kagami prepares his departure, Lord 𝓢𝓭 appears, halting 𝓲𝓼 before the eyes of his gathered troops. 𝓢𝓭 demands the colonel's immediate discharge, branding him with the mark of the criminal Black Wolf. Lord 𝓢𝓭 blocks the exit, publicly denouncing the decorated officer as a bloodthirsty beast. Shockwaves ripple through the ranks. Kagami's loyal assistant fiercely denies the claim, desperate to protect his superior. Kagami remains unfazed, his eyes full of disdain for beastmen as he smugly demands concrete proof. 𝓲𝓼 expects a bluff, but our lead is 5 steps ahead, presenting damning scrolls to the soldiers. Silence falls as they read the report. The dark, forbidden secret of Kagami's bloodline is finally revealed. Investigation reveals Kyoko, a noble human girl, abandoned her life to flee with a forbidden beastman lover. The noble Kagamis simply could not endure such a crushing weight of public disgrace. They dragged Kyoko back, but she already carried a hybrid child. The family buried the secret deep. Though a half-breed, 𝓲𝓼 was groomed as a pure human. Finally, his burning hatred for beastmen makes sense. His father hailed from our lead's village. Betrayed by love, the man's heart curdled into pure hatred. He slaughtered Kyoko before 𝓲𝓼's eyes. Despite the horror, Kagami's assistant still clings to his master's innocence. When humans dismiss the scrolls, 𝓢𝓭 speaks the absolute truth. 𝓲𝓼 is the monstrous Black Wolf. Guided by his primal instincts, he caught the unmistakable scent of the Black Wolf on Kagami. Even heavy perfume couldn't mask the beast. Senri and the Beastmen stand united behind 𝓢𝓭's accusation. Rinu's absences align perfectly with the Black Wolf's sightings. The timeline is a map of his crimes. Blinded by prejudice, the humans scream conspiracy, accusing the Beastmen of framing their beloved hero. As the crowd turns on the non-humans, Rinnu lets out a chilling, arrogant laugh. Mocking their efforts, he crushes the evidence underfoot, dismissing the truth as a pathetic lie. Closing the distance, he sneers at 𝓢𝓭, disappointed that the Lord's proof was so utterly underwhelming. Be careful what you wish for. Branding them all traitors, he vows to leave no one alive. Trapped, the arrogant Colonel Kagami has walked straight into 𝓢𝓭's snare. The Lord smirks at his prey. The man's pride was his downfall. 𝓢𝓭 reveals a vial of blood, taking us back one day. 𝓢𝓭 never wanted to use Sei, but her blood was the only bait to expose the wolf. A feast for the beast! 𝓢𝓭 drenches the colonel in crimson, forcing the monster to show itself. Kagami laughs, unaware his end is near. He boasts of his hunger for human lives. But the scent changes everything. The colonel freezes as a familiar, intoxicating aroma hits his senses. It's Sei's blood. Despair replaces pride as the beast within begins to tear through his skin. Horror grips the soldiers. They watch in shock as their hero transforms into a mindless monster. The truth is out. 𝓢𝓭 reveals the blood was laced with a lethal transformation stimulant. An eye for an eye, 𝓢𝓭 refined the wolf's own drug to trigger this ultimate betrayal. Desperate, Kagami looks to the other beastmen, but they remain calm under 𝓢𝓭's secret protection. 𝓢𝓭 stands firm. The scent doesn't affect him. He has finally cornered the capital's shadow. The wolf is exposed. The arrest should be easy, but a cornered beast is most dangerous. Betrayal cuts deep. Instead of remorse, Kagami spits insults at the boy who trusted him. Madness takes hold. Kagami pulls his weapon, firing blindly into the crowd of innocent bystanders. He kills without mercy, human or beast. He even exiled the doctors to ensure total slaughter. Chaos erupts. 𝓢𝓭 rushes into the bloodbath, choosing to save lives over the chase. He commands the capture of the weakened wolf. But fate has one final, cruel twist. A getaway car roars through the crowd, scattering soldiers as it nears the monster. It stops for Kagami. For a moment, the colonel feels the weight of his shattered pride. With a mocking salute, he vanishes. The driver is none other than the treacherous Lord Jaru. This isn't over. The villain escapes, leaving 𝓢𝓭 with a devastating choice to make. Pursue the wolf or save the dying. 𝓢𝓭 chooses mercy, prioritizing the wounded soldiers. Even in carnage, prejudice remains. The humans recoil from the beastmen trying to save them. Filthy beasts, they cry, blaming the non-humans for the very blood they are losing. They claim they were deceived, blind to the fact that their own hero was the monster. 𝓢𝓭's heart aches. He should walk away, but his sense of justice is too strong. Enough, he roars. This is a battlefield. Race means nothing when lives are on the line. As the sole doctor, 𝓢𝓪𝓭 vows to save everyone. Man and beast must unite to survive. Time is the enemy. The beastmen move with purpose, proving their worth through selfless action. Far away, Kagami discards his blood-soaked coat. 𝓢𝓼 watches him with icy, mocking contempt. "You played at being human, but you're just a dog on a leash," 𝓢𝓼 sneers. Kagami laughs it off. He had anticipated the fall and prepared his secret escape route. 𝓢𝓼 is furious. The exposure of his puppet is a massive blow to his dark plans. With Kagami's career dead, 𝓢𝓼 asserts total dominance. The wolf is now his personal slave. Kagami seethes but obeys. 𝓢𝓼 leaves him with a warning. Stay away from his daughter. Back at the manor, Kagami's thirst takes over. He fixates on Sei's blood with feral obsession. His eyes burn with sickening desire. Luckily, Chiyo interrupts before his madness can fully erupt. But as he looks at her, he only sees the shadow of the girl he desires. Chiyo is a ghost in her own bed. Kagami claims her, his touch cold and possessive. He whispers lies of devotion, twisting her yearning for love into a weapon of hate. To earn his heart, Chiyo resolves to kill Sei. The family bond is shattered by jealousy. Lord 𝓢𝓭 finally returns home. The long investigation has left him battle-worn and weary. Tatamasa greets him with praise, but our hero's heart remains heavy with the coming war. The soldiers live, but the wolf still lurks. 𝓢𝓭's assistant urges him to rest. Unmasking the Black Wolf without any casualties is a legendary feat. He truly deserves a long-awaited rest. 𝓢𝓭 asks of his wife, and Tatamasa wears a suspiciously wide grin. He reveals her health has plummeted since she fainted. His complaints about her health are sharp, yet that unsettling smile remains. He insists the Lord must see her immediately. Our male lead senses something foul behind that grin. It looks as if a dark scheme is finally taking shape. The assistant merely laughs, shoving him toward the exit. He playfully demands that the Lord go visit his wife at once. Deep within the manor, our heroine waits in solitude. Her heart aches with longing during his long, painful absence. Gently, she cradles her womb, whispering a secret meant only for him. We can all guess the miracle she carries. Clueless of the surprise, Lord 𝓢𝓭 reaches the bridge and spots Sei. Their eyes meet, sparking pure joy after so long. Sei rushes into his embrace as he pulls her close. Though he whispers his love, her frail frame worries him deeply. In the middle of their warm embrace, a strange sensation washes over him. Something feels fundamentally different as he holds her. Even her very essence seems transformed, leaving him utterly baffled. With a playful glint, Sei dares him to guess why. A realization strikes him like lightning, leaving him paralyzed in shock. The truth feels almost too miraculous to be real. The miracle is true, our heroine is carrying his child. Her sickness finally made sense once her monthly cycle ceased. Talk about an overreaction. Overflowing with joy, 𝓢𝓭 sweeps her off her feet and pulls her into a jubilant hug. He can hardly believe they are expecting, but Sei softly confirms the truth. Pure bliss radiates from the fated pair. Panic suddenly grips him as he realizes he is holding her roughly. She reassures him that the baby is perfectly stable. Haunted by her past childless marriage, she feared a miracle was impossible, especially since their two races are worlds apart. Even now, the reality feels like a shimmering dream. The mighty 𝓢𝓭 admits he is equally stunned by this fate. Her presence was enough, yet he secretly yearned for this blessing. He stayed silent, fearing the topic would cause her pain. They seal the promise with a kiss of gratitude. He knows the coming months will be a sweet, anxious torture. Our heroine's heart overflows with a sense of completion. Building a family with the man she loves is simply perfect. She vows to protect this tiny life at all costs. Meanwhile, 15 days have passed since the Black Wolf was exposed. Shockwaves of the scandal ripple through the imperial military. Marshal Kagami shouldered the shame of his grandson's sins and resigned. Yet, the shadows have swallowed the Black Wolf completely. Their whereabouts remain a mystery. Seeking answers, Lord 𝓢𝓭 visits the recovered Captain Seki at the hospital. Seki had braced for death after that devastating stomach wound. 𝓢𝓭 credits luck, but the captain knows better than that. It was the Lord's medical genius that snatched him from the abyss. But, as they smile, Seki's expression darkens once more. The sting of Renu's treachery still burns deep in his soul. To think the monster he hunted was his own boss. Consumed by shame, he feels utterly powerless against such deceit. However, 𝓢𝓭 commands him to cast aside his guilt. A reckless charge would have only led to an execution for treason. Yet, even our male lead carries his own regrets. He over-leveraged the beastman's unique powers, leading to a disastrous escape. Blood was spilled because of his tactical oversight. With his medical duties fulfilled, 𝓢𝓭 approaches the captain with a life-changing proposition. He now leads the hunt for the fugitives 𝓢𝓸𝓵𝓭. He knows these men are predators of the highest order. Success requires humans and beastmen to fight as one. Suaku asks Seki to lead them, moving the captain to tears. With a vow of loyalty, Seki agrees to the pact. Meanwhile, Sai shares her joyous news with a delighted Taruko. While Taruko worries for her health, Sai reveals a hilarious new struggle. Her appetite has become absolutely monstrous. She is possessed by a desperate craving for Taruko's signature sweets. Her friend teases her, warning against overindulging. One more bite and she will be rolling home. But as she rejoins her guards, a sudden chill freezes them. A cold dread settles in Sai's chest as she scans their horrified faces. They offer hollow reassurances, but she spots her aunt nearby. Yoshi is shamelessly parading with a man buying her gifts. A wedding is already in the works, much to the guards' disbelief. They doubt such a shallow union will survive long. But the true horror lies in Yoshi's heartless indifference toward her own daughter. Fuming with righteous indignation, Sai steps forward to confront her. Yoshi, caught in her lies, feigns total ignorance. There is no escape from Sai's piercing gaze today. She demands to know how a woman can simply abandon her family. She brings up Chiyo's perilous situation, but Yoshi remains willfully blind. The shadows are ignored for the sake of gold. Intent on a fresh start, she coldly warns her niece to mind her own business. She tries to blame the girl for her ruin, but Sei won't be a scapegoat. She reminds her aunt who truly sold the company. That payout was enough for a comfortable life. Yet the woman refuses to live properly or change her wicked ways. Sei is disgusted by her aunt's blatant ego. This woman is even capable of abandoning her own flesh and blood. Our heroine brands her a monster, but the mother feels no guilt. She has no love for a daughter who ran away. She warns Sei to stay away, severing all family ties. She only took the girl in as a duty after the fire. Her hideous true face is finally exposed, shocking her husband. Yoshi's life was a web of lies hiding her previous family. She played the part of a struggling orphan. Panic rises as she makes excuses, but her husband is finally done with her. He orders her to stay away, but she desperately refuses to let go of him. Sobbing on the floor, she begs for mercy. Sei is revolted by the pathetic sight and leaves the hopeless woman behind. On the journey home, Senri acknowledges Sei's kindness. However, he wants her to erase those toxic relatives from her heart. Tatamasa notes that Chiyo's affairs still involve them, though he stands firmly by the girl's side in this conflict. He urges our heroine to prioritize her pregnancy. Suddenly, Sei is struck by a vivid, painful memory from the past. Long ago, Sei showed Chiyo her puppy, Maru. The girl longed for such a pet, but her father responded with violence. A dog-hating mother offered no help. Heartbroken, Chiyo returned to Sei's home looking utterly miserable and defeated. Sei's father tried to intervene, but it only fueled Chiyo's resentment. She was consumed by a burning jealousy over Sei's perfect life. Why did her cousin have everything? Now, Sei realizes that moment birthed Chiyo's deep, poisonous hatred for her. With a monster for a father and a selfish mother, it was inevitable the girl would grow into a vile soul. Our heroine is frustrated. She tries to forget those people, yet their shadows continue to haunt her and disturb her peace. Her gloom is interrupted by the maids, who announce that the long-awaited visitors from the village have finally arrived. The staff treats Sei like a fragile treasure, fussing over her health. One maid even offers to carry her inside. Knowing the hardships of pregnancy, they offer their support. Overwhelmed by their warmth, our heroine begins to cry. She blames her hormones, but we know she's always been a tender soul. The couple waits as the guests finally appear. Sei is thrilled to see her mother-in-law, who pulls her into a warm and loving maternal embrace. Ritsuko is overjoyed about the pregnancy news. Hearing herself called family makes the girl break down in happy tears again. The woman comforts her, promising safety. Lord Suaku also appears and welcomes her with a warm, fatherly hug. Sia finally feels the warmth of a real family. But in the shadows, malice still brews. Follow for the next chapter. Until next time, farewell.